Did she say what kind of animal it was that attacked her?
So yeah, they're saying it's some type of animal attack. Statistically, there's been more animal attacks, mysterious deaths, people gone missing.
In other news, local authorities remain perplexed by the animal attacks.
What attacked you in the woods?
An animal. What else could it have been?
Welcome to It Was an Animal Attack, home of the supernatural drama series. I'm Fadzai.
And I'm Sandile.
And today we'll be continuing with part 3 of Bonnie Bennett's episode. Ooh. I am feeling 100% healthy, so my voice is not sexy this time. Apologies.
I disagree.
Oh, thank you. I only have 2 notes of missed things from last time that I just thought were worth mentioning. They're both from the final episode of season 4. The first is that during her graduation, when Bonnie goes up, there's this like cute moment where her father says that he's especially proud of her and like asks the onlookers to like indulge him for a moment. And then she's like, thank you, Dad, for everything. And I'm like, she's not saying it, but I like to believe part of that is also like her little expression arc where she's like, yeah, you were right about Shane and you tried to help me and yada, yada, yada. Also, I died last night, so I can see that clearly I was in the wrong.
Fully a ghost right now.
And then the second is just Silas being so coy, playing it so close to the chest, holding his secrets when he reveals to Stefan that, surprise, I actually am not stone anymore because the witch who cast my spell, it was bound to her life. And then Stefan's like, Bonnie's not dead. And then Silas is like, it doesn't matter, does it? And it's like, well, I mean, I think you could explain to Stefan that yes, Bonnie is dead. I think
it matters a little bit.
But Silas is like, no, this is not Bonnie's moment. This is my reveal.
Oh, God. And that's crazy because that means even if Stefan potentially assumed correctly from his perspective, he doesn't come back in full sound body and mind to the group until after everybody already knows. So, yeah.
Yeah, season 5, my least favorite season.
We had to get here.
As we know. This first arc has a slight retcon. I think it's like a soft retcon. It's when something is like implied with the words that are used and the parameters that seem to be set, but it's not given in enough detail that when you add something on later that feels contradictory, that you could be like, it's directly in opposition to something you said before. It's like, you could add on, I guess, sort of. It's like some of the stuff in Korra versus the stuff in The Last Airbender, where it's like, I guess it can coexist, but it does feel like that's not what we were implying.
I feel very strongly about the retcons in Korra, so I'm not sure what you're about to throw at me.
Just that Silas's whole thing at the end of season 4 is, Bonnie, I want you to drop the veil. That's what they keep saying. We're gonna drop the veil to the other side. A consequence of that is that all the ghosts that exist there will just flood back into the material world. But once the veil is dropped, I guess the other side doesn't exist, so I can die and go be with my as yet unnamed true love. And then suddenly in this season, the mechanics are, no, the veil couldn't just be dropped. We actually need to destroy the other side through this other specific thing that's holding it together. Lowering the veil just let the ghosts through, and presumably if Silas had died while the veil was up, he would have still been a ghost. He would have just been a ghost with the benefit of being like physical. He would not have been able to go into the sweet hereafter. So I was like, I mean, you can say that maybe Silas was eventually going to go and find this anchor and destroy it, but they don't mention that in season 4. And he's just like, Bonnie, this little triangle is not enough. I need you to lower the veil completely so that I can die.
Yeah.
And go to be with my love.
And it's not that Silas didn't know about the anchor, because certainly when we get to season 5, he's clearly aware it exists. He's trying to find it.
Yes.
Is it
no idea what it is?
Is it that maybe through expression he was looking to bypass that, and now that Bonnie is dead, this is his only other alternative? It was like, well, this normal way to do it, I could never do it because Ketsia has hidden it so well that I have no hope. But now that I've managed to psychically trick this man Atticus Shane to go do expression stuff and sort this out for me, that's an avenue I could do it that bypasses the regular way to do it. I don't know.
Perhaps.
But again, that works.
That's good enough for me. Yeah, if we're saying Bonnie is, the vessel for all this magic, and now she's dead, and the expression triangle is gone, and the expression magic is gone, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
that's
it's
good
like,
enough for me. Okay.
Now
you win this round, Julie.
But Silas being back. Oh, Silas was always back physically, I suppose. It's just that now he's juiced up, which is what has been holding him back for 2,000 years, to be fair.
Yeah, he used to get little trickles of blood on the island when people would come by to do, like, speak to their loved ones. And then he'd be like, a little bit of psychic magic. I can lie to you that your wife, Mrs. Professor Shane,
Pretty
is
good
here
gambit.
giving you instructions.
Not Mrs. Professor Shane.
Bonnie is fully dead. It's Elena's summer of love. Bonnie's been lying to all her friends, using Jeremy to just send texts and emails to people that, oh yes, I'm traveling the world with my mom.
Tough.
It's so fun. I have to assume that part of this lie, because Bonnie's dad is still like very present at this point, I have to assume that either he's like, yeah, I believe this lie so well, I'm not going to call Abby at any point and be like, oh, hey, could you just like tell Bonnie, by the way, to not forget her blah, blah, blah. And then Abby would be like, Bonnie? I'm not with Bonnie. Is that what she's been telling y'all?
Oh, she says she's with Abby for the summer. Is that what she says?
She says she's with Abby. That's
Okay.
what she's told everyone, except, I guess, Abby herself.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I guess for this storyline, her parents have to be negligent once more, right? It's like they were very briefly.
Gosh, but
super
Rudy was
present.
clearly in communication with Abby. He called her on his own during the
I
expression
agree.
arc. He was like, I've got her number. I know how to get her.
Right, for that arc in season 4. So, yeah.
She's told Jeremy to be like, yeah, tell Elena and Caroline I won't be joining them in Whitmore College. I'm extending my travels with my mom. And it's like, okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Sure. At what point would a normal friend be like, hey, is everything okay? Like, I know that, you and your mom are in a good place now, but this is college. We've been talking about this for ages. Like, how are you going to catch up if you missed the first? I guess Americans are all like, rah, rah, college fun. Your first year doesn't matter. And we have the money, certainly, to repeat a year. Yeah, I can't fathom that experience of college that's always shown on TV because I was just like, I have to pass everything now because I am on a scholarship. And, like, it's very different experiences.
They have all that mind control. At the end, in the
Right.
graduation episode, Caroline already says, yeah, we can go wherever we want, do whatever we want. We can all be in like a shared
Right.
triple dorm if we want to. And it's like, yeah, because you have mind control on your side. Also, Elena's stigmatized, so
Yeah.
I don't think she's worrying too much. In fact, it takes a message from Bonnie through Jeremy's fingers asking, oh, by the way, have you heard from Stefan? For Elena to start being like, oh yeah, Stefan.
I remember him.
Wonder how he's doing after I dumped his ass. I have a bad feeling. Bonnie has a funny line where she's like, I guess Elena has told her about Catherine's fate, and she's like, Catherine Pierce ingesting the cure and having to live as a human isn't poetic justice. I don't know what it is.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, Bonnie's absence is what leads to Hayley Kiyoko determinating her way into the dorm with Elena and Caroline, which is funny because Bonnie is just, I guess she can just teleport as a ghost, I suppose. She's fully with Elena and Caroline when they show up at Whitmore, standing unseen next to them. And
Because they're like,
she's
oh my
yes,
gosh,
we're all here together.
Here. And she's like, yeah, guys, we're here. And it's like, oh God.
It's so sad. So I'm like, was she still there when she saw Hayley come in and she's like,
Yeah,
well, I'm gonna go.
Do we have Bonnie commenting on Hayley Kiyoko at all?
No.
Are they ever in a shot?
She's just not in the scene anymore at that point. I guess at that
Wild.
point she teleported back to Jeremy.
Yeah, sure.
As she's able to do since he's a medium.
Sure. Why not? He's
He
thinking
can send her long distance, and then summon her back.
when he thinks of her and she thinks of him.
Jeremy gets a message because of Hayley Kiyoko's presence. What is her name in the show again? I've actually forgotten.
Shit. It's Hayley Kiyoko. Megan King. It's
Megan, there we
King.
go. Wow, you even know her surname. Impressive.
Listen, that's because I made
King.
such a big deal about her in the Caroline episode. It stuck.
But because of her presence, Caroline texts Bonnie's phone and is like, Bonnie, you need to get to college ASAP so we can fix this. And Jeremy's like, Bonnie, how long are we going to keep up this lie? What are we going to do when your dad learns that you're dead? Like, we should tell these people sooner rather than later. And Bonnie's like, my dad has barely responded to my postcards that I had you fake on my behalf.
Right.
If he was interested in communicating with me, he would.
Right.
And as for everyone else, they're all happy for the first time in years, and I must sacrifice my well-being to make sure that they don't mourn just yet. I have watched them from afar have the summer of their lives, and I just want to keep that going for as long as possible.
It's just so... Because on a meta level, obviously we understand that this is the result of just wild racism and negligence of this character. But even within the logic of the world, how does that make any goddamn sense? It's like, why would your friends, if they're all friends since they were like babies, why would it... Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, why
Yeah.
does this... I don't know.
I mean, the only thing that I could say in defense of this notion would be that she's in denial about
Okay.
her death.
Sure.
And she's like, with only one person being aware of it, I can avoid dealing with it for as long as possible.
Sure.
So, yeah, I guess it's that.
Okay.
Jeremy is like, well, all your friends are happy. I'm not happy because I know you're dead. And Bonnie's like, we're really lucky, actually, Jeremy, because most people don't get to speak to their dead best friends. And I was like, best friends? You kissed last season when you brought him back to life. What do you mean best friends?
I watched it happen.
You died and friend zoned me in death?
This is a lie. You're at least vibing. When
know-
he's texting on her behalf, she comes over his shoulder and rests her chin on it. Like, you can't. What? Okay. She again, denial. She's like, I can't get into the vibe of this relationship when I am a literal
Very
ghost.
strange. And I was thinking about how you calculated how little time they are actually boyfriend and girlfriend of the show. And I was like, did you factor in that at the start of season 5? She's like, no, we're best friends.
God.
We're not a couple yet. So I'm like, so I guess none of the season 4 romance counted. They actually weren't a
Frankly
couple.
silly to me. This is why I'm like, the idea of have they officially defined themselves as boyfriend girlfriend. I'm like, if we did that, it would be nonsensical. I am counting all the time in which they were romantically entangled, which counts since Masquerade until now. I will cut out between season 3 episode 10 and season 4 episode 10. That is the only section I will cut out of that entire run.
Which is fair and true, and I agree.
Thank you.
Also, Jeremy's like, well, Bonnie, I can't feel you. We can't touch each other, which is what most best friends can do. So, yeah. Then Silas breezes into town, psychically sifting through everyone's minds to find the info he's after. He encounters Jeremy. Jeremy senses that something's amiss, and he's like, hey, Damon, my spider senses are tingling the way they did when Silas was running around. And Damon's like, well, Silas was defeated by Bonnie in the penultimate episode of season 4. And then she's standing right next to Jeremy. Obviously, Damon can't see or hear her. She's like, oh shit, Jeremy, I died. I just realized my death means Silas is free.
Why? If she knew that would happen, why hasn't she thought about it in 3 months?
She's been dealing with a lot.
Yeah, sure. God, what a nightmare.
But also, I'm like, you're on the other side talking to your Grams,
Shouldn't
who's a
you know?
knowledgeable witch. Did Sheila not be like, oh, by the way, now that you're dead, Silas will be free?
He'll be walking around. What happened to witches talk, even on the other side? You know who makes the rules?
And she says she's been talking to witches on the other side, so I don't understand how this... I don't know who dropped the ball on this one. Someone's getting fired.
Witch stocks are down this season. This is crazy.
So then Jeremy's in this awkward position where he now knows for a fact that Silas is back, but can't tell Damon why he knows. And he's just like, Damon, trust me, I'm a hunter.
It's what
and
it's
when
about.
Stefan touched me, I sensed something about Silas. I think he's back. He's like, what did Stefan ask you about? And Damon's like, oh, he was just asking after Catherine. And then they're like, oh, Catherine Pierce, who ingested the cure. Later on, there's a conversation that Matt has with Mayor Hopkins, which is contradictory to what Bonnie has told us. Matt is like, when is Bonnie coming back to town? And Rudy is like, I'm not sure, but when you speak to her, tell her I said hi. And I was like,
What?
It seems like he cares. So why is Bonnie saying he's responded to my postcards twice? I'm like,
I have a different question.
Do you just not know how to be a dad unless she's in peril? I
have a different question. Matthew Donovan, child beyond the bounds of my family. When you see my daughter, tell her I said hi. Pick up the phone.
When you speak to her, I guess. When you text her.
Pick up the goddamn phone. You're a mayor. You're a pharmaceutical rep. It's 2011. You have a phone.
He's back to being a bum-ass dad again. Because the expression arc is over.
Yeah.
He's back to being who he was when he was an off-screen character.
Right. Except now he's here and it's insane.
It's this weird thing that the show does with Rudy where he has the energy of a responsible, intelligent parent, but because these teens and young adults need to be running around without parental supervision, and at this point they haven't orphaned all of them, he kind of just has to be like a sucky dad when the plot requires it.
You're right.
Because like we've said it, Liz can be busy with sheriff stuff, and that's why she's off screen. Tyler was often written out of the show himself, so we didn't always need to make Carol look like she was too busy to deal with him. But it's like Bonnie is often around, and when it's like, yeah, my dad is just not interested in what I'm up to, I'm like, why?
Why?
That's not who he seems to be when he's on screen.
And I mean, that's why this episode happens too, is because like, okay, now let's do away with that. So we don't have to deal with that anymore. Because I was thinking
Yep.
about it this week, and there's truly no explicit reason why Silas does what he does. It's just because he was there, right? It's just because he was on the dais at the time. That could have been anyone.
It's just because he was there. And it's the worst day for Bonnie because in the same episode, Catherine causes Jeremy to crash his car when he's
Right.
driving away with her. And as he's lying bleeding in the road, Bonnie is with him, but she's a ghost, so she can't do anything. And she's just like, hold on, Jeremy, hold on. And she's so helpless, waiting for Damon to arrive and heal him. And then at the end of the episode, Mayor Hopkins is like, hello, town. It's a block party. My daughter, who's not here, would tell me ABC. I love her so much. Gosh, love that daughter of mine. And it's like, okay, but why haven't you called her? And then Silas shows up and is like, guys, I'm testing the extent of my cerebro powers. Could you all shut up and hold still while I murder your mayor in front of you? And Bonnie's there in the crowd and she's a ghost and she's like, oh my gosh, runs up on stage to her dad and again can't help him and just has to kneel there at his side as he bleeds out. And it's like, no.
Silas slashes his throat open and drops him to the ground and leaves him to bleed out. There's once again something so gross to me about we've just slashed this black character of two total black characters in the show at the moment just to see something, right? Just so that the villain can like be like,
Just to see something. It's like a tweet. It's like,
I
let me
just wanna
slash
see
your throat.
something,
I'm
guys.
trying to see something real quick.
it sucks within the story, it sucks above the story. I hate this season.
I can't believe that's how he dies. Like, there's a lot of, like, very sad deaths in this show. Like, Mayor Lockwood 1.0 dies because of, like, a mishap with the device that no one could have foreseen. Mayor Lockwood 2.0 dies because Klaus is being vengeful and evil. And it's
Against a main character.
yeah. And then the third mayor dies because the villain was just like, I just want to see if I can do something.
And that's the
like, I have nothing against you.
That's the strange thing too, is that because he's psychic, he should know Rudy Hopkins is Bonnie's dad. Leave alone that he's psychic. He's aware of Bonnie's life. In the time that he was masquerading as Atticus Shane, he knows all the things. So it's like, this could have been a thing where it's like, well, I'll kill Mayor Hopkins because Bonnie, my enemy who wouldn't drop the veil for me and calcified me. And I'm very lucky that she died and I'm back, but I'm still a bit vengeful. But it truly isn't that. He just killed that man to see something.
Gosh.
Hate it.
Hate it. The next episode has Bonnie recounting her dad's death to Jeremy. It's really sad because she's devastated and Jeremy clearly wants to comfort her.
Yeah.
But Bonnie's like, well, you can't because I'm a
can't
ghost
touch
and we
me.
can't touch. And then she's like, the sucky part is my father's death is permanent because he's not supernatural, so he won't go to the other side. And it's like, damn.
Yep.
She tells Jeremy that, oh yeah, after Silas killed my dad, he mind controlled everyone else there to hunt for Catherine. So y'all should get on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still helping you guys out, you know? No powers, no life. But there's your...
As we discussed in the Matt episode, this is the episode we see Matt dying with the ring because Silas kills him and then he goes to the other side and meets Bonnie and it's like, oh, so that's how the ring works. And Bonnie explains to him the mechanics of having to find his body and wake up. And he's like, wait, you're dead?
Yeah.
Bonnie? And she's like, yeah, you're not going to remember any of this, but it's okay. I'm going to be fine. My father's death was like the only really bad part of this whole being a ghost experience.
But
and it's
other
like,
than that-
Bonnie, again, denial. Denial. How could that be the only bad part?
Denial. It's so bad. She's like, no,
It's
it's
so
good.
sad. But
I'm
it's
good.
nice that at least Matt is like, no, Bonnie, you don't have to pretend to be okay. There's nothing okay about your dad dying, and there's nothing okay about you dying. And she's like, well, I have to be okay with it because there's nothing I can do about it. And then Matt's like, I am so sorry, and hugs her that big, kind himbo
Matty
hug,
Blue.
and she breaks down. And I'm like, oh, Matt as the proxy for Jeremy.
Yeah. Truly. In this moment,
This is the
giving her
throuple I
hug
need.
that he couldn't give her.
Matt is like, I'm hugging my boyfriend's girlfriend because my boyfriend can't hug her right now.
Oh, that's love. Love is love. I'm beautiful in my way. God makes no mistake.
Eventually, Matt and Bonnie locate his body, and Matt's like, oh, I'm going to forget that you're dead. Can you and Jeremy please stop keeping this a secret? Because you won't be able to deal with your father's death if you haven't even dealt with your own. And it's like, there it is. She is in denial. The story is saying it to our faces.
Okay.
And Bonnie's just like, it was really good to see you, Matt. And doesn't respond to what he said.
So bad.
At the end of the episode, Is it the end of the episode?
I mean,
think
yeah,
so. Well,
what
the
else
last
is
scene
she
that
gonna
involves
do
Bonnie.
for Zai? She's a ghost.
Before Jeremy leaves, he's like, yeah, Matt, Catherine, just hang on a sec. I have to just step away a few feet. And Bonnie's like, listen, Jeremy, I'm not ready to be dead yet. Maybe I will be eventually, but not right now. And I don't know what I'm going to do about my father's death. And what's going to happen when Liz Forbes inevitably phones me to tell me that my father has died, because we have to lie to her. And Jeremy's like, it's okay. I'll take care of it. I will lie that you are so grief-stricken where you couldn't come to Mystic Falls and you're staying with family. And I was like, oh yes, the Hopkins family who we never meet, I guess.
In Chicago? Sure.
Wherever it is, in the pharmaceutical town.
In the town of Big Pharma. This is the Severance storyline I needed.
But Jeremy's just like, I'm here for you even if I can't touch you. And it's like, aw.
Bless.
Then she's absent from episode 3, Original
Nah.
Sin. So already...
We're back, baby. It's so over. We're so back.
Every time one of her family members dies or walks out on her, she has to go away for a few episodes.
Because why not?
In episode 4, that's the one where Bonnie comes to speak to Jeremy when he's working out all sexily. And he's like, oh, hey, sorry, I was just doing a quick workout. And she's like, no, it's fine. Don't stop on my account. It's not like I have Netflix here on the other side.
Best
and Jeremy's
friends.
like, oh, I was just... you know? And then Jeremy's like, I was just working up some adrenaline. And Bonnie says, and every girl on the other side thanks you for it. And I was like, firstly, kind of creepy. Secondly,
Yeah,
Bonnie, lesbians exist. So, and you will learn that in a few seasons. I'm sure not every girl on the other side is watching Jeremy. They then discuss how Jeremy doesn't want to keep lying to everyone on her behalf, and the rest of the Mystic Falls gang are waiting for Bonnie to show up and save the day by returning Stefan's missing memories that Ketsia has removed. And Bonnie's like, well, there's nothing that I can do to help Stefan, because I don't know any way to help him anyway. Jeremy's like, yeah, but the others don't know that because they don't know you're dead. They're waiting for you to show up and help them because that's what you do. And I was like, okay, script. Maybe they should learn to fix their own problems. And then Matt calls to ask Jeremy for help with his passenger saga. And when they speak, Matt's like, yeah, I'm having my own supernatural little side story here. I really need Bonnie's help. But she's like, not really been responding to me. Did I do something wrong? Like, is she upset with me? And Jeremy's like, I have to leave because I feel uncomfortable with all the lies.
Awful.
And it's that conversation that makes Jeremy go, okay, no, I can't do this anymore. And he goes back to Shea Salvatore and he's like, Damon, Bonnie's not coming. And Bonnie's there by him invisible again. She's like, Jeremy, don't. Jeremy's like, Bonnie didn't show up to her dad's funeral, Damon. No one's seen her in months. Don't you think it's a bit suspicious? And Damon's like, oh, I can see where this is going. Don't say it, Jeremy. Jeremy's like, yeah, Bonnie's dead. And I guess the secret is now out. Matt later on summons Jeremy to the Lockwood Manor and is like, look at my passenger home video. Listen to the Matt episode for more information on that. And then Jeremy's like, yeah, I don't have anything to say about that, but Bonnie's dead, Matt.
Wow. Straight up.
It's so funny how it just everyone's storylines have to be paused for a second because Jeremy's like, no, I have something to tell you. Elena goes to speak to Damon about the ongoing Stefan drama, and then she asks after Bonnie, and Damon's like, well,
yeah,
Bonnie's dead. And Elena is devastated that she's lost yet another loved one. And I'm like, okay, sweetie, it's not about you.
Right.
But yes, I understand. You have lost a lot of people.
It's sad. I mean, I'm not going to hop on it because it's the thing I was saying. I was like, this is crazy. Your friends will be devastated to learn this. They need to know the truth. It feels insane to just be like, oh, da-di-da-di-da. Anyway, it's fine.
Elena specifically feels quite guilty that Bonnie gave up her life so that she, Elena, could have her brother back. And Bonnie's just like standing there as a ghost watching Elena cry as Damon comforts her. And she's like, my friends are sad. This is what I was trying to avoid. But the Mystic Falls gang, sans Stefan, gather to have a funeral for Bonnie. There's this like tree stump that they're using as like a, I don't know, what would you call it? A headstone.
A memorial marker.
But it's cute because each of them brings a little trinket related to Bonnie to honor her, and they all lay their objects in the stump of the tree that they're using as their little makeshift memorial. Jeremy brings a photograph of Bonnie and her friends. Caroline brings Bonnie's cheerleader pom-poms. Matt brings the lifeguard whistle from when he and Bonnie were lifeguards together that one summer. And I was like, wow, a season 3 pull.
That's a proper call. soul. I like that.
Elena brings a cluster of feathers like the ones Bonnie floated in her bedroom the first time she revealed she was a witch.
There you go.
Which
That's
was really
sweet.
cute. I was like, did you rip open another pillow or have you just been holding on to those feathers since 2009?
She kept them in a little jar, like how people keep baby teeth and baby hair. She said this is from a special moment.
And then Damon brings one of Bonnie's family grimoires, possibly Emily Bennett's. I'm choosing to believe it's hers since Damon knew her when she was
I was
alive.
gonna say, what trinket could Damon bring to honor Bonnie? Oh, he brought her own book to her memorial.
He couldn't bring Emily's necklace that was destroyed in season 1.
Right. It's just like, what's the connection there? Quickly. A different person? Okay.
Tyler arrives late and therefore he only has like a generic white rose for her, but it's still cute.
Yeah, that's cute. But at least he understands. It's like, yeah, we were friends, but like there's not really a trinket I could bring that's like our deep personal connection.
I'm like, when last did they speak?
If
I
ever.
truly can't remember if they had a conversation in season 4.
Oh, you know what? Season 3, when she put Klaus in his body. That's the last meaningful conversation they had.
Oh, yes! Which we don't even see on screen. That happens fully off screen. I'm still not sure if Tyler was in on the plan or she was just like, I don't have time to ask for consent. I quickly have to put Klaus inside you so you and all our friends don't die.
I mean, he's never brought it up, but that could just as easily be the show's lack of interest in Tyler, so, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's the two characters they give the least amount of screen time to, but always have stuff happening in the background that's relevant.
Precisely.
But yeah, Bonnie dictates to Jeremy all the things she wants to say to her friends, and she's like, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I've been here all along watching over you. I watched every some of your lives, and, you know, I've seen you be happy. So go back to college, Elena, and live a happy, normal life as much as you can. And Caroline, I know your college plans aren't panning out the way you wanted to because, you know, I'm dead and Tyler wasn't there. But I also want you to go back and be good. And Matt, you didn't do anything wrong. I would have sent you 1,000 responses if I could have. And I'm like, I mean, you were making Jeremy type. I think you could have.
I'm not going to critique her techniques at this point. This is a very sad moment.
And then crazily, because I guess the denial is still flowing through her, she tells Jeremy that this is all she wanted, to know that everyone would be okay. And she's like, she'll also be okay.
Like,
and
what?
this seems to be enough for her. And I'm like, what?
They just...
Julie Black.
Julie Black. I swear to God.
She's like, as long as my white friends are okay,
I'm
moving
okay.
forward, it doesn't matter that I die.
Something we're gonna... I'm not gonna bring it up this session because I want it to be part of like our closing discussion about Bonnie, so I'll save it for now. But this is a moment I'm gonna mark down.
Putting a pin in it.
Putting a pin.
Episode 5 is the Monsters Ball, and this is when Damon comes up with the plan to trade a life for Bonnie's in order to resurrect her. He's like, okay, if nature needs a balance, and Silas wants to die so badly, because by this point Silas has taken the cure, let's just ask Silas, who is a witch, to use his own death to cast a spell to bring Bonnie back. And he tells this to Jeremy, wanting Jeremy to obviously pass the info on to Bonnie and then give him Bonnie's response. And Bonnie's like, yeah, it sounds possible, I guess, but why would we trust Silas? He's a ruthless villain who murdered my dad in cold blood. Also, the spell could still come with other consequences, as we've seen. Sometimes the mechanics, the price you have to pay in order to make the magic work isn't the only consequence. It's like, look at vampirism. It's like, yes, you will die and come back and have to feed blood to sustain your corpse body. But there's like also bloodlust and emotional switches and the sun burns you and vervain is like acid. So she's like, we don't know what consequences there would be and we've had enough of those. Which I was like, at least she's learned, I guess. In depth,
Well,
she's
yeah,
finally like,
because-
no, I'm not breaking any more rules.
Because when she brought back Jeremy both times, it had unintended consequences. Like, the first time, it kicked the door open that a 1,000-year-old witch then used to manipulate some ghosts and shit. And then the second time, she died.
Then Bonnie's like, I don't know. And then Jeremy, who's obviously speaking on Bonnie's behalf, is like, Bonnie says yes, let's do it.
Jeremy.
Later on, Bonnie and Jeremy have an argument because Bonnie's like, no, something bad is going to happen if we try to cheat death again. And Jeremy is like, well, nothing could be worse than seeing you and not being able to touch or feel you. Please let me bring you back to the world of the living. And I'm like, you know what? It's nice that he's like, you've brought me back twice, girl. Let me
do it
save
at
you
least
this
once.
time.
Where are the romantics? Where are the lovers and the yearners?
She's the superhero and Jeremy is the damsel who's always getting saved.
Thank
He's
you.
the Iris, the Lois, the
Yes.
Mary Jane. He's like, hey, I want to save you for once. But in episode 6, Silas, who's now mortal, is like, oh, we need to destroy the anchor which holds the other side together, because that's a thing now. And Ketsia tells Stefan Silas won't be able to destroy the anchor to the other side even if he finds it. And it's later revealed to be because Amara, Silas's true love, is herself the anchor. Damon, Jeremy, and Silas find the location of the anchor. It's a warehouse filled with crates. They go inside and search for it. They split up to look, and then Bonnie goes to Jeremy in private, and she's like, don't get your hopes up. I've seen how this show treats me in the last 4 seasons. Something's gonna go wrong. It always does. He's like, listen, please have faith that this can work. And then Bonnie's like, okay, fine. But I just want to make one thing clear. I would die 1,000 times over just to have you standing alive beside me. And I was like, Bonnie, not for a man, not for a white man.
A white man? No.
She's in love. Her best friend.
God.
Ketsia then lures Elena into a hostage situation, trapped in a house with her and Stefan that has been spelled by Silas. And she threatens to kill Elena if Damon doesn't kill Silas before sundown. So Damon tells Jeremy, we can't ask Silas to bring Bonnie back because Elena's life is now on the line, and that's always the most important stake in this show. Silas obviously would not have helped Bonnie until the other side was gone. Bonnie speaks to Jeremy and she's like, yeah, you know me well enough to know I would never risk or sacrifice Elena's life for my own. I'm dead, and I might just have to accept that. Just putting her own head on a chopping block. And we've said this before, Elena does the same thing all the time, but Elena gets to say it but never have to follow through. Bonnie has to follow through all the time. But eventually Amara is freed and immediately drinks the cure out of Silas. She runs off, but Damon managed to capture her, and Amara seems mentally unwell after all her years of petrification. She sees things that aren't there. She responds to voices no one else can hear. At the end of the episode, Damon, Elena, and Jeremy drown their sorrows over their failure to resurrect Bonnie. And Bonnie's like, Jeremy, tell them not to worry. And Elena's like, no, we're gonna keep trying, Bonnie. Don't worry. And then Damon's like, Amara's no longer immortal, which means the anchor to the other side is a vulnerable human. If she dies, it'll mean the destruction of the other side and all the ghosts trapped there, including Bonnie. Cool. It's only episode 6 and she can't catch a break.
She cannot.
In episode 7, Death and the Maiden, Jeremy comes to tell Bonnie that keeping Amara alive is going to be harder than they anticipated because she's very suicidal. And Bonnie's like, I wonder what it will feel like being on the other side when it disappears.
Will it hurt?
I really hope it doesn't hurt.
She's already resigned to the fact.
She's like, I'm not even going for the bronze. I gave up.
Fight to live.
I forgot the Alamo. Jeremy's like, no, this isn't goodbye. And he's like, listen, I have 3 things to tell you. I think the first thing is that this is not a goodbye. The second thing is thank you so much for bringing me back to life. And the third thing, Bonnie's like, don't say it. Save it for next time, because that means there'll be a next time.
Oh.
Whenever characters say this, I'm always like, that's not how that works.
I mean, this is the foundation of manifesting. If you say it, then it will be true. I'm choosing to believe that this will happen.
Silas decides not to bring Bonnie back to life after all, simply to spite Damon.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that was why.
Oh,
it's just to spite Damon.
Because I don't like you, and I like to hear the disappointment in your voice and see it in your face.
He's like, there's nothing that would bring me more joy than you having to tell Elena you're not bringing her friend back to life after all because something fated doppelgangers.
Right, exactly. There is something... I hate the fatal doppelganger stuff in essence because it makes no sense by the end of the season, but this is a funny gag. I like that Silas is just like, I don't like you.
Doesn't like Damon by proxy, decides he can't stomach looking at Elena.
Right. It's like, damn, fair enough. The biggest Elena anti this season, and actually, maybe he made some points.
Maybe he and Caroline should start a club. Who knows? Jeremy brings Amara some food while she's locked up and on suicide watch, and she tells Jeremy, hey, I remember you dying and going to the other side. How did you come back? And Jeremy's like, yeah, I'm fully alive now. And she's like, yeah, I wasn't sure, so that's why I'm asking, because I can't really discern the difference between the living and the dead. And then Bonnie's like, that's why you're always talking to yourself as far as these people can see. You're talking to ghosts. You exist in both worlds. And Amara's like, yes, duh, Bonnie, who I can see and hear.
Right. I've been
and Jeremy's like, wait, you can see that?
Of course I can see you. I have eyes.
I am the anchor. I walk on both sides of the veil. And Bonnie's like, oh my gosh, I have an idea.
Truly, I wanted to say earlier, but I'd forgotten the order of events. The idea of Damon making this proclamation, this is how we're going to save Bonnie. And at the end of it, Bonnie has to figure out a way to save herself. You hate to see it, but it always happens.
It makes sense. Then you know what? I prefer it. I like that she comes with the idea on her own.
Yeah.
So Jeremy speaks to Elena and Damon and is like, yeah, Bonnie theorizes that she can replace Amara as the anchor, thereby allowing her to exist in the world of the living even though she's a ghost who belongs on the other side. Because it should work both ways. If the living can be on the other side as the anchor, then the dead on the other side should be able to be in the physical world as the anchor. This will work because Ketsia wants the other side to remain intact so that when Amara dies, she goes off to,
Peace.
the afterlife where humans go. And then Silas dies and is stuck on the still existing other side. Ketsia does the spell using Amara and her two doppelgangers, Catherine and Elena, as a power source. She uses Bonnie's grimoire as a talisman for Bonnie, which is really cool. She's like, listen, Bonnie didn't make any necklaces or trinkets when she was alive, so I guess this grimoire is her witch's talisman.
Ketsia frowning down, being like, a witch of her salt would have at least 3 by now, but I guess I'll work with what I've got. And it's like, yes, Ketsia, why doesn't Bonnie have any talismans?
Pin in Ketsia, I'm gonna get to her in a moment. Silas shows up, interrupts the spell, the doppelgangers scatter, Silas attacks Ketsia, Stefan snatches Amara and calls Silas to come face him or risk losing her. Silas finds Amara, but then Stefan intercepts him and they scuffle. Stefan gets the upper hand and kills him, and Silas dies, and Amara kills herself. As she starts to slip away, Ketsia already has the blood of the 3 lookalikes, so she's performing the spell in Amara's absence. Bonnie comes to Jeremy and she's like, hi Jeremy, I've come to say goodbye because I know Amara's dying. Tell me what you wanted to say to me before. And Jeremy confesses his love for her because I guess that wasn't clear to everyone with eyes.
Sorry, we bought the best friend vibe for 6 episodes. I understood what was happening. Wait, guess when you two didn't.
And she's like, I love you too, Jeremy. And Jeremy's like, I'm not ready to let you go. And reaches out to touch her face. And then realizes, hey, wait, I can feel you. And then Elena and Caroline come in and they're like, wait, we can see you. And Bonnie's like, oh my gosh, I'm back. And it's like, yay, Ketsia managed to finish the spell just in time. Later on, Bonnie's like standing by the fireplace and enjoying the heat. And she's like, oh, I've missed this warmth. It never felt warm on the other side. And I'm like, oh no, that sounds terrible. No one had said that before. You're always cold. All Anna said was, I'm all alone here, Jeremy. She didn't say, I'm freezing and I can't get warm.
She was sparing his feelings.
Jeremy's like, well, I've missed being able to touch you and hold your hand, and I am never letting you go again. And they kiss for, I guess, the first time since she brought him back to life at the end of season 4. So that's really sweet.
God, the suffering.
Then Ketsia kills herself with the glass shards. Yeah. Unlike Silas, we will never see Ketsia again. This is her farewell. This is the last we see of her, even though the other side is a big part of this season, and she's there.
Right. Just hanging out.
When she dies, she appears to Bonnie, and she's like, hey, so fine print. I know you didn't read the terms and conditions. When a supernatural being dies, they will have to pass through you. You are not just the anchor, you are also a gateway to the other side. Their spirit will pass through you and you will feel the pain of their death. It's gonna hurt like a bitch. Sorry. She touches Bonnie and Bonnie like keels over in pain and screams. Weirdly, this is the only interaction that Ketsia has with her descendant the whole series.
Of 2,000 years.
Her heir, the heir of Slytherin, I guess.
Never
the chosen one. Her expression baby.
And the
Bonnie
crazy
looks
thing
for
is,
her at the end of season 4 and can't find her because she hasn't been cast yet. She shows up in season 5, having resurrected herself while Bonnie was dying, I guess. Makes no attempt to speak to Bonnie, to bring her back, to try and get in like league with her because she knows Bonnie hates Silas too. She's like, no. Even when they say, hey, can you make Bonnie the anchor? Ketsia's like, yeah, cool. I'll use her grimoire as a talisman. No interest in speaking to Bonnie, conjuring her, which I'm sure she could do because they're family.
Right.
Nope.
You've got the blood. And certainly now that she's on the other side, Bonnie should be able to see her at some point. At least when because it's not... Yes, because Amara says she sees spirits all the time. Is she just speaking about the spirits who are coming to her as they die, or can she see them on the other side actively?
No, she can see them on the other side. That's why she sees Bonnie when Jeremy is speaking to her, and she's like, your friend behind you there. And Jeremy's like, wait, you can see her?
And that's why Bonnie can see Grams now that she's the anchor. So this is insane, actually, that she never speaks to Ketsia even after her death.
I guess Ketsia is like, I've got no interest. I have nothing to say to you.
All right, sure. Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Moving on, I guess.
Episode 8, Dead Man on Campus, which I guess is in part a reference to Bonnie, because she's technically still dead. It's just that as a ghost who is an anchor, she can be among the living as well. What's weird is that we don't see her at least demonstrate some cool ghostly powers. Like, at the very least, she should have, like, an inability to be harmed since she's already dead.
Well, now that she's the anchor, she's corporeal.
Yeah, but I'm like, but you're dead. Do you have a pulse? An immune system? Is this body mortal? Because as we'll see later on at the end of the season, she is technically still a ghost bound to the other side. She just happens to be able to walk in the material world. And it's like, okay, there should have been some upgrade, especially since now she has no magic, which I didn't realize was going to be the case until this episode when I first watched it.
No, that one's insane
very disappointed.
to me, because that doesn't make any sense, because even as a ghost, she should still be a witch, but we don't see her use any magic. But then, like, what magic are you doing on the other side, and what does that affect? But certainly I would think she would come back with her powers. Because what? Yeah,
because witches can do magic from the other side if, I guess, if they've died violently, which absolutely Bonnie did. She died overusing magic.
That spot in that cavern under Mystic Falls should have so much power.
You know, she was doing 3 magic styles when she died.
Right.
And also, if a witch leaves behind like a talisman, they can do magic on the other side, which is how Emily was doing it with her necklace. Esther was doing it with her necklace. So I'm like, so Bonnie now as the anchor who is existing in this world, her anchorship should be the talisman.
She should be her own
able
talisman.
to do magic.
Yes.
The show just loves depowering her. We are in yet another era of Bonnie depowerment. And now she's technically even more vulnerable than she was when she was a ghost.
Wild.
And here's the thing. I get that it's like, oh, magic, there must be a price. Of course, Ketsia wanted Amara to suffer, yada, yada, yada. But the fact that Bonnie now has to experience all this torture every day when supernaturals die, I'm like, this plot point is so sinister, so nasty. I must watch this woman, this POC, this black woman suffer on screen. Constantly. In physical pain. Pain that sometimes doesn't even make sense considering the way the person died. Because I'm like, I don't know what it feels like to die from a certain injury, what happens to the rest of your body and your nervous system, because I've never died. But why is someone dying from a snapped neck, a stake, exsanguination through slitting their wrists gonna make her feel like she is burning up inside? She's doubling over. She's hunched over in pain, groaning, and I'm like, what? Why does every death feel like she's getting her sternum ripped out? It doesn't make sense.
And why does it last that? Surely the instant of death does not last that long, right? Like, surely you feel the moment of death. Why is she on the ground for like 30 seconds?
It's so cruel.
It's
so wrong.
They said, if you want to be in this goddamn show, then you'll suffer to do it. We won't let you exist just as a character. If y'all want your girl so damn bad, here she is then.
The episode title is also, I guess, a reference to Jesse.
Oh, no.
The newly turned vampire, who's another black character who's going through a lot this episode. He was turned into a vampire by Dr. Eddie Thorne. I mean Wes Maxfield. Anyway, Bonnie's happy to be alive. She's got a new hairdo. It's still not, a black hairstyle, as Kat Graham was asking for.
We've got to... I forgot when it happened. We've got to get into this asymmetrical bob. I don't know what's happening, but I don't like it.
She sends a video to her mom, and she's like, hey, Mom, I'm in my new dorm. I've got my new do. And I was like, oh, okay.
All right.
Later on, Jeremy's like, oh, the new hair is hot. And I'm like, Jeremy, I want your girlfriend to have braids. I want her to have a fro. I want her to at least have curls.
Something.
Give me some flavor. You're dating a POC, Jeremy.
You should understand this. Short and quick. And I'll tell you, there's exactly one hairstyle in Bonnie's entire run on the show where I go, that is a good hairstyle.
Which one is it?
Oh, I'm not going to say it. We haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I can tell you it hasn't appeared yet.
Okay. I'm going to wait because I actually had a thought about a hairstyle, but maybe that's the one you like, so I'm not going to say anything until we get there. I'm going to wait.
Because, let's think back. What are they? She had the, middle part all to the side long hair in season 1. That was just a badly fixed wig. You could see her natural hairline in the center. It's the big thing that everybody talks about.
It was very straight.
Yes, pin straight.
And then after a while, it becomes a bit wavier in season 2.
I was glad to see waves. I was like, the more texture there is, the better, certainly.
And then season 3, we get the bangs. And again, it's straight and shorter.
I like the
And then I think she keeps that all through season 3.
The season 4 bangs I don't like. They're different from the season 3 bangs. They're longer, I
Yeah,
think.
they're like more, they're like longer. There isn't a bit of like a part in between them. They're very solid.
They're just there. It's a very bang forward hairstyle and not in a good way. And her hair is straight again. It's maybe her worst hairstyle. Is season 4. This season 5 one, slightly better. Still weird. I'm like, at least there's something happening. Like the choice to be like, hey, asymmetrical Bob, there's a bit of character to it, but it's not a character I want to see for more than 2 episodes, you know? Like, it just does not fit her.
Yeah, I did not enjoy the book. But yeah, she tells her mom she's finished with her whirlwind summer tour. And I'm like, so you told Abby you were traveling the world with someone else and told everyone else you were traveling the world with her.
She phone tricked her parents.
This is giving Disney Channel TV show where like a middle school character is like, okay, we're gonna say I'm sleeping over at your house, and then tells the other person, okay, I'm sleeping over at their house, and thinks, yeah, my 2 friends who I'm lying to will never speak to each other, and be like, hey, she blew us both off. What's going on?
Oh, it's so good. It's so bad, but it's so good.
Gosh. But yeah, she's like, yeah, it's where Grams used to teach. I'm at Whitmore now. Really cool. I'm in this dorm. It's amazing. And then Caroline and Elena come in and they're like, we're going to have a big party in honor of your triumphant return. And Bonnie's like, I don't
what I'm
really need a
looking
party.
for.
And Elena's like, no, we're going to be functional vampires in college and a former witch anchor thing. They also ask, are you going to tell your mom that you're not a witch anymore? And I was like, yeah, that would have been an interesting thing to explore given that her mother also was sapped of her power. But nope, the story is not interested in that. We will not see Abby this season.
Or almost ever again.
We'll see her when you least expect it in an era that I hate, as
Where
you
you
know.
have to be like, huh? Why? Okay.
But then Bonnie gets a text from Jeremy asking her to meet up, and she's like, girls, I'm gonna go register for classes. But they see through her flimsy excuse, and they're like, register for classes, okay.
Is that what the kids call it these days?
Say hi to classes for us.
Listen, they have time to make up for it.
Yeah, and they're making out on a bench on campus. I guess Jeremy drove to come visit her. I'm like, don't you have school?
No.
You're in grade 12. You drove to this college campus to visit your college girlfriend. You're just showing off now. You're like, hey guys, my girlfriend's a freshman in college, so.
Yeah, I guess he'd be a senior now, right?
Yeah, he's a senior.
Wow, that's kind of funny.
Jeremy's bemused that Bonnie felt the need to lie about where she was going. And she's like, yeah, I know we have Elena's blessing, which she got back in season 2.
So long ago.
But I don't want to rub her face in it on our first day as dorm mates by hooking up with you in our shared room.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
And then Jeremy's like, okay, we can go back to my place. And Bonnie's like, you live at Chez Salvatore now because Elena burned your house down. You know, with Damon. And also Catherine's there. Yeah, that's great. Let's hook up with Damon. Maybe Catherine can watch.
This is nice. We're having fun.
Then Bonnie's distracted by the spirit of a recently deceased supernatural woman standing in the distance. And she's like, excuse me, I have to go actually register for classes. Bye. The woman catches up to her and touches her. And she has her whole pain of the death thing. Just there on campus. And I'm like, what if someone walked past you? Would they think you were like tripping or having like menstrual cramps?
Labor
or like, this is
pains.
such a strange thing to just walk past.
Just looking at you
Like,
like,
oh,
is
no.
she pregnant? She's pretty slim. It's not unheard of, but...
But eventually she goes to the party that night and she speaks to Jesse. She's like, yeah, my mom is a vampire and she's surviving fine, so I think you'll be great. I'm like, that doesn't mean she's thriving. She's surviving fine. She obviously didn't get the Elena memo that in season 5, suddenly vampirism is fun and cool and great. But then later on, when we speak about her in another season, it's like, yes, she's completely adjusted to being a vampire off screen and everything's hunky-dory.
Yeah.
But during this convo, Jesse's like, hey, your eyes keep wandering the room. Are you scared I'm gonna like vamp out and eat all these people? And Bonnie's like, no, actually, I'm looking for someone. And he's like, your boyfriend? And she's like, I don't really know what he is. He's my bestie's younger brother. He's still in high school, and I think I'm madly in love with him. And I'm like, what do you mean you're not boyfriend and girlfriend yet?
What else would you call that, Bonnie? This is silly. This is silly. Why won't they let these two be boyfriend-girlfriend? I don't get it. What's all this rigmarole and nonsense?
It's insane.
Also, why do we feel the need to dance around it when that's not been a thing for any of the other characters? For the other characters, we kiss and there's a swelling moment and it's understood that they are now together going forward.
Exactly.
Right? Like...
Caroline and Tyler sleep together after the tension reaches a fever pitch in the season 3 premiere. And then it's like, yeah, they're boyfriend and girlfriend now.
Right. I just don't understand.
I don't know. When it's a black girl, then I
Right.
guess we need to like sign a contract officially stating that we are now in a monogamous romantic partnership.
And it's like, for whomst?
So later on, the dead woman who passed through Bonnie shows up at the party, I guess. She's just hanging around as a ghost now. And they have a pleasant convo. Bonnie learns that she's a witch. And Bonnie's like, yeah, I'm the anchor, so I felt the pain of your death. And the woman's like, yeah, but I'm okay now because the pain is gone. Bonnie's like, yay, great for you. There's no pain on the other side. Doesn't really like go into detail about how for herself there's going to be endless pain. And I guess the weird thing is the show will now treat Bonnie like she's mortal. But when Damon went to Ketsia and said, oh, Bonnie's had this idea that she could be the new anchor, he's like, she's a ghost and is therefore not human. Would that make her a suitable candidate to replace this immortal? And Ketsia's like, yeah. So I'm like, so the fact that she's already dead is very important for this thing. Because obviously if she was human, she'd eventually die of natural causes. So I'm like,
Yes,
so
she'd
surely
grow
she
old
should
and
be
die.
like not mortal. Why does the story treat her like she's just human now?
Because she can't not be in danger. They're not going to do that.
Give her some cool kitty pride powers.
No, that's the
don't
thing.
know.
They'll never give her powers on purpose for herself.
At least be like, okay, if you snap her neck, she'll come back like all the people when the veil was dropped. And it was like, oh, we're all basically immortal now. Like, come on.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But then Jeremy shows up. I wrote Jesse by mistake because I was like, this is crazy. Jesse did what? But no.
I was going to say I like that she and Jesse speak at that moment. I forgot about that conversation because I need my black people to link up even a little bit in the show. And that she has that kind of experience from her own loved ones to share with
Our
them.
green-eyed light skins having one convo together. Yeah, Jeremy shows up and he's like, hey, Bonnie, you doing anything right now? And she's like, no, just hanging around. He's like, cool, come with me. She's like, why? And he's like, so we can register for classes. And based on something Jeremy says in a later episode, I gather that he got them a hotel room.
He really did.
It's so sweet. I'm like, I don't know where you got money with your grade 12 ass.
Trust
I guess he
fund.
was working at the Grill at a certain point.
You know they had a fund that's waiting for them.
He's lost like 4 parental.
Right. He's set for life, though, the trauma that comes with. It's not the easiest route.
But yeah, he gets them a hotel room. It's really cute. Bonnie's like lighting some candles to make it all romantic. And then she's like, you know what? I'll admit it. I missed the convenience of my magic because lighting candles was my thing, you know? Jeremy comes in and he's like, step away from the candles, Bonnie Bennett. And they embrace and he picks her up and they start making out and he takes her to the bed. And then Jesse's spirit shows up because Elena's just staked it. And Bonnie sees him and she's like, oh no, you must have just died. And Jessie passes through her and she screams in pain, making Jeremy very concerned. And he's like, okay, what is going on? And she's like, oh, okay, I didn't tell you or anyone else, but as the anchor, I feel the death of every supernatural who goes to the other side. Jeremy is, of course, horrified by this. And Bonnie's like, no, Jeremy, kiss me. And then he does. And she's like, you see? Now, we knew there'd be consequences to bringing me back, but any pain that I have to suffer, any price I have to pay is worth it to be able to touch you and kiss you again. No! And she pulls him onto the... It's giving Little Mermaid. It's giving, I will give you legs after I cut your tongue out, but every time you step on land, it'll feel like glass and knives are being shoved through the soles of your feet. Also, you won't be able to talk.
But like, this is giving the Little Mermaid that exists in people's mind and memory when they critique the Little Mermaid and not what the Little Mermaid was actually about, right? Because Prince Eric, yes, handsome prince, incidental, symbolic in some respects. Ariel was fascinated with the human world before she met that man.
Yeah, the Disney version. I was talking about the Hans Christian Andersen version.
Sure. Because in this, Bonnie is going, yes, I cut off my tail and got legs and got rid of my voice so I could be with you, Eric, and I do it all over again. And it's like, that's not what it's meant to be. If it was like in the pursuit of life, being with my friends and family again, it's just, and again, I'm saying this as someone who's a big bury me head at this point in my life. I'm just like, girl, there's a larger issue at play here.
I guess in this moment, she's just naming one of the things that she's gotten by coming back.
Sure.
And also she's trying to get her groove on. She needs to, get this boy back in the mindset. And she's like, hey, look how we can kiss and touch. Isn't that
don't worry
great?
about me experiencing the death of that young man I knew. We were being sexy, right? Get back to sexy times. Oh, horrifying. And this
So
is
yeah,
the
she pulls him
first-
back onto the bed and they continue kissing. And this is the first time Jeremy and Bonnie make love. It is the first sex scene Bonnie gets in the show.
Ever.
It might also be her last. I don't care enough about certain later developments to remember the exact details of season 7 and 8. But it's the first and only sex scene she and Jeremy get. Jeremy's already had a sex scene with Anna in season 1. You know, as much as the PG-13 show will allow, obviously.
Yeah. And it's implied
like,
that he and Vicky have slept together many a time, yeah.
Great. During her first intimate scene, she screams in pain
Because
as a
she's
dead black
experiencing
man passes
a
through
dead
her.
black man's death. Cool. Feeling good and feeling fine.
The memes. She's hooking up with a white boy and then a black man's ghost shows up to be like, let me ruin this for you.
Did you forget to ask somebody?
like,
I
sister.
consent. Did you forget to ask?
There's someone you forgot to ask. Oh, please make that meme for the promo.
Gonna get into Photoshop real quick. Give me 2 weeks.
Bonnie is not in episode 9, The Cell.
Well.
She's also not in episode 10, 50 Shades of Grayson.
Because what does she do for the story, right? If she doesn't have powers, why would we care about her at all, I guess?
Exactly. And that's the thing with season 5. There will be so many times that the story just like casts her aside because she's now not our magical fix-it thing. But also it's like, instead of being the fix-it, she's now a plot device. She used to be the plot device sometimes, but at least also got to be like the character who fixes things. It's like, oh, you are the descendant, you are the Bennett witch, whatever, which is very plot devicey. But now it's like, now you're just the plot device. You're just the anchor.
You're literally an object.
You are the moonstone.
Oh.
You are the white oak stake.
God.
During Bonnie's absence, Damon and Elena break up. So yeah. Bonnie and Caroline bring Elena breakfast in bed to cheer her up. And then Caroline gets a call from Stefan, who tells her Catherine Pierce is on her deathbed, which is what that episode is about. 500 Years of Solitude, episode 11. So Bonnie, Elena, and Caroline go over to Chez Salvatore, where Damon, Matt, and Jeremy are drinking to Catherine's impending demise. And the girls quickly join Damon's drinking game of naming an awful thing Catherine Pierce has done to you and then taking a shot. And Bonnie says, my Grams died trying to close a tomb she wasn't in.
Well.
And I'm like, yep, that'll do it.
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, there's certainly other people we could blame for that, and we have.
And they're sitting in the room right now. But yeah.
Stefan then comes downstairs to tell them off because he's overdosing on compassion today. And then Damon scoffs and is like, well, Stefan, is your newfound sympathy because you and Catherine recently slept together? This stuns Bonnie. She's like, what?
Walk off a cliff and die.
It also stuns Elena and everyone else besides Caroline, who already knew but forgot to tell her besties in the midst of all the recent drama. Then Matt goes off to get more booze and Nadia shows up to snatch him. And then she shows up to the rest of the gang and she's like, I've buried Matt alive without his Gilbert ring. If you want him to live, you need to help me with my plan to save my mother, Catherine.
Damn.
So Stefan and Elena leave with her, and Bonnie, Jeremy, and Caroline go to search for Matt. As they wander around the Salvatore property, Caroline's like, is no one going to comment on Stefan and Catherine's recent hookup? And Jeremy's like, hey, we've all slept with our fair share of bad choices.
Thank you.
And before I get to Bonnie's immediate response, I wonder who he means. Because, walk with me, as far as the show's lore is concerned, Jeremy lost his virginity to Vicky in the summer before season 1 began. Then he was single after she died, and then he slept with Anna, and then she died, and he was single until he got involved with Bonnie. So any other sex Jeremy has had at this point would have had to have been when he was in Denver, I guess. Unless he's now retroactively calling Vicky a bad choice because, you know, they compelled away all his traumatic memories of her or reshaped his mind in season 1 and that was never undone.
Back,
I
right?
don't know.
In the times that he has died and then been turned into a supernatural creature.
I don't know the mechanics.
Nobody's concerned about that. I assumed he was talking about Anna because I assumed this was in the context of quite most of the Mystic Falls gang have slept with a villain on this show, certainly. For Jeremy, that would be Anna.
I guess, but...
He and Anna were getting together in
with...
the time that she was like an active villain. He didn't know, and then slightly after that, they then got together
He didn't
again.
know, whereas Stefan is like sleeping with his main op, Catherine.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like, I don't think this is about Anna.
I assumed it was. I don't see who else it could be.
Did they forget that when he cheated on Bonnie, he kissed Anna? He didn't sleep with her during the ghost arc.
I guess it's the thought that counts, right? He's like, even if it was just a kiss, it's just as bad. But yeah, I just assumed it was Anna. And certainly, Elena with Damon actively currently, certainly, Caroline is seconds away from banging Klaus in the woods. So it's like, this means nothing. Jeremy's correct.
Bonnie looks affronted and she's like, no offense taken. Very sarcastically. And Jeremy's like, hey, I obviously didn't mean you. And I was like, yeah, Bonnie, why are you now trying to look for reasons to be offended? Come on now.
She's making a
She
gag.
looked genuinely taken aback. She was like, and I was like, okay. It's giving disingenuous read of a tweet. Bad faith argument.
I think that's just Bonnie's humor.
Caroline realizes that Jeremy and Bonnie have finally slept together. She is giddy with excitement. And she asks why Bonnie didn't tell her. And Bonnie's like, I didn't realize I was obligated to.
Right.
Excuse you. And Caroline says, no, you're my best friend. Of course you're obligated to. Does Elena know? And Jeremy and Bonnie meet like, no. Caroline's like, oh, scandalous sex. Even juicier. And she's like, oh, I'm the only one not having scandalous sex right now. Which the episode then pays off by having her finally hook up with Klaus. Anyway, Jeremy becomes uncomfortable and he's like, to quote my man, Fred Jones of Mystery Incorporated, let's split up and look for Matt separately. At the end of the day, Caroline comes back from her secret scandalous sex with Klaus and she finds Bonnie, Jeremy, and Matt seated in the Salvatore living room. And Jeremy's like, yeah, we're all waiting for Catherine to die. Matt says, hey, as the anchor, will you feel Catherine passing through you to the other side? And Bonnie's like, yeah, I should, because I know she's human now with the cure, but she is a doppelganger and apparently a traveler, as we've now recently learned. And then Matt's like, ooh, who else can you see on the other side? And Bonnie's like, I see the witches, my grams. I do see Vicky. I know that's who you really want to know about, Matt. And then Vicky herself is like there,
which was
unseen.
a surprise.
I wonder if Jeremy can see her.
Yeah. Well, he has to be thinking about her.
I guess Jeremy let her go. He's like, I don't see her. I'm sorry. Or I guess Jeremy's like, if he did see Vicky, he's like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to get myself in trouble. Don't say
Sweating
anything.
profusely in that room.
But Vicky's like, yeah, Bonnie, tell Matt that I love him and I'm watching over him and he needs to stop hanging around Rebecca.
Yeah.
And then Tyler arrives and he's like, hi, guys. I failed to get revenge on Klaus in the spin-off show. Rebecca sent me back as a parting gift to Matt.
I've been sent back like a healed dog.
And then the Salvatore brothers join the group. Alaris Ghost shows up. It's a big reunion. Everybody's in the room except, I guess, Lexi. And then Bonnie turns and sees Catherine's spirit materializing in the room. She's like, oh, Catherine's died. And Catherine's like, what? No, it's too soon.
Ready.
Not yet. And she wills herself back to life. Elena's upstairs and they have their heart-to-heart. And then Catherine passengers herself into Elena's body with the intent of permanently stealing her life. And Catherine's body dies after that, or as she's doing that, which I must assume everyone in attendance is soon made aware of.
Yes.
But strangely, despite the obvious absence of her spirit passing through Bonnie to go to the other side, neither Bonnie nor anyone else realizes that something is amiss. And I'm like, huh? What? This makes no sense. I had forgotten about this plot point and I'm like, this is a huge plot hole. Matt just brought it up. He just said, won't you feel it? And Bonnie was like, yeah, I should.
You just saw her on her way to you. The season is bad.
It is. Bonnie's not in the next episode of The Devil Inside. Episode 13, Total Eclipse of the Heart. Bonnie, Caroline, and Elena, who's actually Catherine, in class at college. And Bonnie sits down near a moody-looking blonde girl.
Right, it's episode 13.
And there's an empty seat between them. So Bonnie's like, hey, do you mind sharing so I can also put my stuff down? And the girl dryly knocks her own bag off the chair and onto the floor without saying anything. And Bonnie's like,
okay,
thanks, I guess. I appreciate it.
You could have said no. I don't.
In the background, Caroline is excitedly telling Elena that they're all going to go to Whitmore's Bitter Ball since she and Elena are newly single and just coming out of bad breakups. Catherine Elena points out that Bonnie's not single.
I was going to say.
Like, Bonnie will be our wing woman.
Oh, okay. Well, here for the vibes, here for the drink.
And I'm like, okay, so Bonnie's not single, so we're acknowledging she's in a relationship. No more of this. I don't know what we are nonsense.
It's about damn time.
But as Caroline prattles on, Bonnie looks at the blonde girl and notices she's absent-mindedly using her finger to spin her pen around on the surface of the desk. And as Bonnie watches, the girl takes her finger away, but the pen continues to rotate under her apparent telekinetic power. Ooh. And Bonnie's like, Then the girl notices Bonnie looking at her and she's like, oh, and she quickly stops what she's doing. Caroline gets Bonnie's attention back and she's like, hey, Bonnie, are you down for the bitter ball? And Bonnie's like, yeah, I'm in. And she looks back at the girl curiously and she's like, now what is this about? Later on, Bonnie invites Jeremy to the bitter ball and Jeremy's like, I'm not really keen, since you are saying it's best that we arrive separately. Like, couldn't we just get ourselves another hotel room instead? And I'm like, okay, Jeremy, put it away.
I mean, that's a 17, 18-year-old boy. That's the only thing on his mind right now. And frankly, once again, they've been apart for so long and she's been dead. I feel like
I understand.
As much as Caroline and Tyler would often just fully disappear and go sexcapade elsewhere, I think they should be allowed to do so too.
It's true. And frankly, I hate that the show doesn't give them more sex scenes. It's very unfair that the only one we get is so awkward and traumatizing because someone dies and shows up.
Terrible.
Bonnie's like, no, that would upset Caroline. We can't abscond. And Jeremy's like, okay, but, we're happy. We should get to act like it. It's like, yes, I'm very happy. And they kiss. Then Damon shows up. Damon is in a bad boy era now. It's the Augustine era, blah, blah, blah. And Damon is with Enzo, his new best friend. Yay. Damon's like, hey, I'm here to kidnap Jeremy. Bonnie tries to deter him, but since she's no longer a witch with magical powers,
which he points out,
Damon just sneers and says, you don't have your magic wand to back you up anymore. And then he's like, I'm threatening Jeremy because I need a witch to do a locator spell to find Dr. Wes Maxfield. And Bonnie's like, well, you just acknowledged my lack of magic, so how can I help you? And then insane, Damon says, your Grams taught occult studies. You should be able to find another witch somehow.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
She taught occult studies on this campus. And I'm like, she taught occult studies to people who either don't believe in magic or aren't magic practitioners.
It's a study. Does he think occult studies at Whitmore is a class where witches are learning to use their powers?
He did, maybe.
I understand that Damon is pretty stupid, but this, even by his standards, is crazy.
This is like, what?
Also,
what does that mean?
Let's presume that that's what that means. How is Bonnie supposed to find somebody who's going to reveal that?
I don't know.
She doesn't have magic. She can't sense other witches. What is she supposed to do here? And the answer is Damon doesn't care.
That's like saying your grandmother taught a class on like ancient Egypt. So I guess you should know someone who's Egyptian. Go find them. It's like, I don't think that's what that means. Like, what?
Your grandmother taught theoretical physics, so you should be able to locate a quark pretty easily. Like, what? What are you talking about, you idiot?
That's the perfect example, because it's like, yeah, occult studies, which I'm assuming is very theoretical and probably flavored with things that maybe aren't true.
Yeah.
Because Sheila's not going to give the game away to all these normies.
God, no.
Okay.
So wild. And I just really have to stress the ridiculousness of this scenario. Truly the energy of like, I don't care how you do it, get it done. The fact that they've kidnapped Jeremy and are going to be brutally torturing him this episode. And that this is Damon Salvatore, Bonnie's best friend retroactively, and Enzo St. John, the love of her life. This is always the episode I go back to be like, wow, humble beginnings.
Spoiler.
Spoilers!
I mean, if you've been with us this long, we've probably mentioned it many times. But yeah, I have to stress that the reason that all of this is happening is because we are in the Augustine arc and Enzo is back. I don't want to shift too much of the blame from Damon's toxic behavior, but his enabler in this situation is very much Enzo. And Enzo himself shows up in the scene. He and Damon, together are more of a problem than each of them are separate. Because he shows up, is like, hey, Damon, your threatening is taking too long, grabs Jeremy's head, and is like, I'm going to crush it between my hands with my super vampire strength. And then Bonnie has to be like, okay, I'll help you. Probably in that moment thinking, I don't really have a plan, but I guess thank God I saw a witch today earlier, so I'm going to go have to ask her for her help.
So contrived. I hate this.
Bonnie takes Damon to the bitter ball to find the blonde girl from earlier. She tells Damon that I guess off screen, she's learned that the girl's name is Liv Parker and she might be here because she sometimes works as a bartender. Bonnie eventually finds Liv and she cuts right to the chase. She's like, listen, under normal circumstances, I'd be a bit more delicate. I'd get to know you, be your friend, but I'm on a time crunch. And she introduces herself. She's like, hey, we have sociology together. My grandmother, Sheila Bennett, she used to teach occult studies here. And Liv is like, never heard of it.
Oh.
Or her. So, bye.
Later.
I love Liv's attitude, actually.
Hell yeah.
As an outsider to this friend group and all this drama, I love that she's like, I don't have any F's to give.
No,
why is this
and
my
I
problem?
don't care.
Bonnie's like, listen, I know you're a witch. I saw you spinning your pen in class. Which I'm like, I mean, it could have still been spinning with the leftover momentum, Bonnie. Maybe you don't know what you saw. And Liv tries to deny this. She's like, if you're into the whole witch thing, I would try the Campus Coven Club. And then Bonnie's like, okay, listen, I used to be a witch myself. I need your help. And Liv says, okay, listen, I couldn't help you even if I wanted to, because I don't don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm just some freak. Okay. And then she leaves. Or she tries to leave, but Caroline shows up in front of her with a vampire face and she's like, okay, you're going to help my friend Bonnie. Do I need to say it slower?
Wild.
Liv voices her shock at the existence of vampires. So Bonnie's like, forget about all that. Focus on doing the locator spell. And Bonnie coaches her through the spell. It doesn't quite work. Her powers flare up. They make the candles like burn brighter and flames shoot up and things break. A chandelier falls off and she's like, I'm losing my cool. I can't do this. I've done terrible, horrible things like setting buildings on fire and hurting people with my lack of control over my powers.
Damn.
Then Enzo calls and tells Damon, let the girls know that Jeremy will be dead very soon because I'm running out of patience. So desperate to save Jeremy, Bonnie's like, listen, I also had my fair share of uncontrolled magical outbursts. I can teach you how to use your powers properly. And then she shows Liv a picture of Jeremy on her phone and she's like, you see this boy? And Liv's like, oh, he's cute. And she's like, yeah, his life is literally in your hands.
Oh.
So Liv's like, okay, I'll help. And they're successful, and then Damon goes. And then Bonnie's not in episode 14, no exit. And then episode 15, Gone Girl, Nadia is dying from Tyler's hybrid bite, and the Mystic Falls gang finally know that Catherine is possessing Elena. Caroline, Matt, and Tyler speak on the phone with Jeremy and Bonnie, and they discuss the Catalina situation and how well Catherine has been fooling them. And they're like, cool, we'll lure her into an ambush by inviting her to something that she wouldn't be able to say no to without it looking suspicious on her part. I know, we'll throw a surprise party for Bonnie's birthday. And Bonnie's like, well, my birthday isn't until like next week. And also, I wouldn't want a party. I want a spa day. It's exhausting being the anchor. I love that we're in season 5. This is the first time Bonnie's birthday is mentioned. And we still won't get to see it on screen.
Won't see
it's
her
next
birthday.
week. But at least now we know, we now roundabout where it happens.
I'll tell you because you brought this up last session and I was like, I know when they first mentioned it. This is earlier than I thought at the very least. So that's something.
The Mystic Falls gang fails to get Catherine to come. So Damon's like, okay, let's just find her with a locator spell. And I'm like, I don't know why that wasn't your first move, but sure. So Bonnie and Jeremy have to go to Liv Parker to ask for her assistance again. And Bonnie's like, cool. I'm going to teach you how to do it, and then you'll do it. This is Jeremy, Elena's biological cousin, but basically brother. You can track Elena's body that Catherine's possessing through their blood connection. So Liv is just blatantly flirty with Jeremy the whole time.
So weird.
She's like sensually...
Yeah, holding his hand.
She's like, oh, it's you. I remember you. And Bonnie's like, okay. She
Back up.
sensually touches Jeremy's palm when she's like trying to link for the spell. And Bonnie's like, that's not how I taught you.
That's funny.
And then Liv is like, okay, it would work better if I knew what Elena looked like because I haven't met her. What does she look like? Are her eyes as pretty as yours, Jeremy? And Bonnie's like, is this really necessary?
This is what's because I do find it funny. But what is this?
I don't know. I guess Liv didn't say this is my boyfriend, Jeremy, when she introduced the concept of Jeremy last
Bonnie, you mean?
Sorry, Bonnie. Bonnie wasn't like, this is my boyfriend, Jeremy. She just said, this is Jeremy. His life is in your hands.
But clearly
so maybe Liv
Bonnie's
doesn't know
like,
he's not a free agent.
Girl, what the... Like, okay, internally that makes sense for Liv to be like, hey, nobody's laid a claim. Externally, what is this blood beat?
It's the CW. They were trying something.
Sure. Okay.
As they do.
So quick after finally getting these two back together, they're like, hey, would you like to see the potential of another love triangle? This time it's not with a ghost, it's with another witch. And in the time that Bonnie doesn't have her powers, this actual witch could pull Jeremy away. It's like, okay, I hate that, actually.
Gosh, I guess it ends up creating drama in the story,
It
but not
does.
because Jeremy's actually doing anything.
Right. And it's like, okay. I guess...
As we'll see going forward.
No, I don't
Yeah.
guess, because I was going to be like, I guess if we are treating this as a continuation of the last hitch that they had in their relationship, which was when Jeremy actually, I'm sure you'll discuss the concern and the doubts that Bonnie starts to have going forward about Jeremy concerning Liv are certainly founded because Jeremy has cheated on her in the past. It's just that Jeremy genuinely isn't doing anything this time. It would make sense as a continuation of that storyline. But that was so long ago, and both of them have died since, and were not together for half a year. So it feels so removed from that. I don't know.
I don't know. Liv is just causing trouble, I guess.
I guess.
She's a troublemaker, as we will learn.
Fair enough.
But ultimately, she is able to find Catalina. However, Catherine leaves to find Wes, so it's Nadia whom the Mystic Falls gang actually locates and takes captive. And Stefan's like, hey, Catherine, phone call. I've got your dying daughter. You don't have much time. Come see her before she passes away. As Nadia wastes away, Matt comforts her and he forgives her for all the trouble she's caused. And she's like, I don't want to die. And Bonnie comes over and she's like, I'm the anchor. And Nadia's like, oh, what will happen when I die? And Bonnie's like, I'll just take your hand and you will simply pass over to the other side. And Nadia's like, will it hurt? And Bonnie's like, you won't feel any pain. And I love that she says that. She's like, you won't feel any pain.
I will. Oh, and I was just about to say something nice about like the psychopomp aspect of this, but there isn't anything nice about this. The fact that the comfort she gives to the dying comes at the expense of her own like comfort and self just frustrates me to no end.
And this confirms that even if Nadia's moment of death is not painful for her, it's still painful for Bonnie. So it's like, so no matter how you die,
that sucks.
But yeah, Catherine shows up to see, asking to see her daughter, and she's with Nadia when she dies, and Nadia's spirit passes through Bonnie. It's awkward because it's like this like really somber moment, but we still have to like cut away to Bonnie going, ah! She even holds her hand over her mouth like oops.
Sorry, I need to
that
silence
I can't
myself.
help. Like it slipped out. I'm so sorry about my anguish.
Oh, God.
Then Catherine obviously attempts to flee, but Damon stops her, and she says her final goodbyes to everyone. Most of them catty, some of them flirty, but she tells Bonnie, there's no need for goodbyes, because I'll see you on the flip side. And I was like, I don't like how you didn't get like a final like goodbye that was specific to the relationship you guys have had.
Right, because certainly that's the
because she
most
and Bonnie
recent
had
beef
beef.
prior to this season, yeah.
Stefan is eventually the one who expels Catherine's soul from Elena's body with the traveler's knife, and later on, Bonnie goes to a church, probably the same one Catherine and Nadia had been hiding in.
Sure.
And she lights a candle for her dad, which is really nice. She's like, I miss you so much. And I'm like, oh, I wish that your relationship wasn't marred by all these weird actions that he takes.
Yeah.
Catherine's spirit appears before Bonnie, and she gloats about how, tee-hee, I infected Elena's body with Dr. West's werewolf venom-infused version of the Ripper virus before I surrendered myself to you. And after dropping this bomb, she tells Bonnie that she's ready to pass on. So even their actual, like, extended final goodbye is not about their relationship.
Bonnie.
It's about Elena.
Yeah. You gotta applaud the
And I'm like,
consistency,
come
I guess,
on.
you know? It's really impressive to just continually, every single time. Like, at some point, you have to accidentally stumble into a correct scene. But no, every time.
But as we know, she touches Bonnie and nothing happens, and she's confused, and Bonnie is just as stunned, and Catherine's like, let me pass through. Why can't I pass through? And Bonnie's like, hey, I don't control it. I don't know why. And then a gust of wind blows through the church and sucks Catherine out through the doors, and she's yanked up into the dark night sky and disappears with a final scream, because as we've said, hell is in the sky.
It is a skylight. It is a sunroof door. And you're going up, baby.
The name of my band, Hell is in the Sky. Hell is above us.
Hell is above us. And the devils are black psychics from ancient Greece.
Oh no! In episode 16, while you were sleeping, Bonnie is still tutoring Liv with magic. Liv magically sealed Elena in her dorm room to keep her from endangering people with her envenomated Ripper virus. And Liv is like, I'm so excited! I did a big spell, Bonnie! Oh my gosh, this is progress! And Bonnie's like, okay. Cast a spell to ignite some of the salt on the paper. This is my transmutation into flames. It's my favorite thing. And then Liv tries several times but fails. And Bonnie's like, you see? Don't get too excited. Then Elena meets Luke for the first time. Another Whitmore student who seemingly befriended her while she was possessed. Her Ripper virus cravings overwhelm her. And so she force feeds Luke her blood and almost snaps his neck to turn him into a vampire that she can eat. Luke, who she's used compulsion on, just stands there and lets this happen. Which we'll later learn was all being faked, which is crazy. Her hands were on his head and neck, ready to snap, and then she saw the bite marks and was like, oh no, Catherine's been feeding on you while she was possessing me. Please leave and go find Bonnie so that she can get her newbie witch to release me from this place, because I'm not doing okay. Bonnie and Liv show up. By then, Elena is delirious and panicking, and Bonnie tries to calm her down, and she's like, Elena, you're not yourself. You're sick. It's the werewolf venom. And Elena's like, well, I wasn't myself during the weeks of possession, and no one noticed. And I'm like, damn. Elena's like, Liv, you need to release me right now. And Bonnie says, no, Elena, you're too dangerous to let out. And Elena gets angry and attacks Liv, hurling a projectile into her abdomen and mortally wounding her. And Elena's like, okay, cool. Now, Liv, you have to release me so I can heal you with my blood. Later on, we see Liv is all healed up and she's surprisingly positive about the whole ordeal. Bonnie's like, listen, I'm sorry about all of this. If you don't want to be involved in this group's drama, I'll understand. I get it. Magic isn't for everyone. And then Liv is like, no, I want this. Like, please, let's keep this up. And then Bonnie's like, cool, then I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for levitation lessons. And then Liv is like, cool, see you, bye. Then she goes into her room and finds Luke waiting for her. And it's revealed Luke is her twin brother and also a witch. Additionally, we see Liv is not a novice, and she's been deceiving Bonnie and the rest of the Mystic Falls gang, and the two of them seem to be up to something.
So
it's crazy.
Wild. Maybe the only good thing about this season, when you boil it all down to its base parts, it's this and it's the sparks of Steriline for me, where I'm like, all right, this is fun.
Episode 17, Rescue Me. Bonnie is studying in a common area, and she notices Luke, who is also studying nearby, and he keeps looking at her. So she goes over and she's like, hey,
can I help you
with something? He's like, no, I'm just doing my STEM work here. Their mild conversation is interrupted when the spirit of a witch named Hazel appears before Bonnie. Hazel was recently killed by Enzo, who is with Caroline running around doing errands for the travelers. Before she passes through Bonnie, she tells Bonnie to let Luke know that she failed to conceal the doppelganger Tom Avery. And Bonnie's like, wait, what? And then Luke reveals that, yeah, me and Liv are twins, and I'm also a witch. And Bonnie's like, okay. And then Jeremy calls to let Bonnie know that, yeah, Liv is up to something because I heard her say Elena's important to the travelers. She's a liar, Bonnie. And while Bonnie's on this phone call, Luke disappears. He's gone when she turns around. He's like, oh no.
Invisigrade.
Bonnie's like, why are you hanging around Liv anyway, Jeremy? I'm getting a bit worried about that. And Jeremy's like, no, it's not important. I'm in my own half of the plot with Matt and Tyler, and we're doing stuff here. But that night, the travelers cast the spell to burn a large number of themselves to death, and they overwhelm Bonnie as they pass through to the other side. And part of the spell also allows the ghost of a certain someone from the other side to come back through Bonnie and reconstitute as a living physical being in the material world. And you know what my headcanon is? My headcanon is it only worked because transmutation is Bonnie's thing. And she happens to be the anchor.
Through her, the essence, the alchemical notations were righted through her form. I like it.
Episode 18, Resident Evil. Bonnie is trying to reach Jeremy, who I guess hasn't called her back in a while, and then Sheila appears to her on the other side, which now looks a little weird. It's all blue and creepy.
I like this version of the other side, I won't lie.
I'm not sure whether it's meant to appear this way because Bonnie is in both worlds, or whether it's because of the whole things are topsy-turvy here. Because she's like, hey, me and the other witches have been speaking, and we've deduced that the travelers tried to overwhelm you last night so that someone could escape to the world of the living. The traveler's magic seems to have compromised the structural integrity of the other side. And Sheila's like, hey, Bonnie, whoever it was who passed back through you, it's got all the witches over here scared. Jeremy is with Tyler and Matt and Liv. And Liv is like, your town has been invaded by passengers, travelers who are possessing random Mystic Falls townsfolk. Here's the traveler's knife, stick it into people and purge potential passengers from their bodies. Bonnie shows up at Shea Lockwood to see Jeremy. She's visibly a little annoyed. She's like, hi, it's me.
Your girlfriend.
Guess I had to come find you since you're not picking up the phone. Jeremy's a little cagey. And Bonnie's like, listen, I saw my Grams today. She's got concerns. I was thinking since you can see ghosts, you might be able to help me figure out who this runaway other side resident is who passed through me and came back to the world of the living. And then Liv walks in and Bonnie's like, okay. Not too impressed to see her, especially since now I know that she's a liar. And Jeremy's like, listen, me and my boys are handling something, but I can't tell you what I'm up to. Please trust me. And Bonnie's like, okay, I'm going to go be in some other part of the story. The reason for Jeremy's secrecy is because Liv is like, we can't let the passengers know we're onto them, and we don't know who's a passenger and who's not.
That's fair. I think it's crazy to think
wild
that Bonnie would be
into Bonnie's body.
Yeah.
Yes,
that
exactly.
one's crazy. I don't know.
Matt is killed by a passenger who's in Liz Forbes' body, and before he passes through Bonnie, he tells her to let Jeremy know that the sheriff is in trouble, and he's like, I can't elaborate, but Jeremy will know what that means. While on the other side, Matt realizes that non-witch residents can interact, and then Cole appears and tells him the other side is crumbling around them ever since the Traveler's spell. As the other side starts to fall apart, Matt sees Vicky, and he's like, Vicky, yay! And she saves him from, I guess, falling into the void, but then she herself herself gets sucked into oblivion, similarly to Catherine when she didn't get to pass through. Bonnie and Jeremy sit with Matt's body waiting for him to wake up, and the two of them talk about Jeremy's secrecy with Liv and the boys, and Bonnie's like, listen, I don't trust Liv since she tried to kill Elena not too long ago, and Jeremy's like, listen, I know about my track record and the whole Anna situation in season 3. But please, nothing untoward is happening here. And Bonnie's like, no, I'm choosing to trust you. Don't worry. I really want to be right. So, please. Sabrina
Heartbreak is one thing, my ego's another. Shame.
Matt wakes up and he's like, yeah, because the other side is broken now, I have all my memories. Super convenient. My Gilbert Ring memories. This is also the episode in which we meet Marcos, the recently resurrected leader of the Travelers. Additionally, Tyler is revealed to have a passenger in him. Episode 19, Man on Fire. Bonnie speaks to Stefan and Elena, and they're surprised that she seems to be so calm about the disintegration of the other side. Because they're like,
should we be doing something?
You're a ghost? And Bonnie's like, no, I know. As the anchor, I'm only alive as long as the other side exists. And I'm like, I didn't know that's how it worked. I thought it was that you are a ghost and you can only be here corporeal as long as the other side exists.
Yeah, I would assume it's the ghost aspect, not the anchor aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess through the connective.
That makes it sound like if we could have destroyed the other side somehow without harming Amara would have
gone
then died
well.
as a result.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, it just sucks that then that means Bonnie would be screwed either way if the other side disappears. It's just extra fuel to the fire.
Even more vulnerable. But she's like, listen, I've accepted that my demise might be on the horizon. And Lena's like, I'm not going to lose you again. And Bonnie says, I will ask Liv for a witchy workaround, if that makes you feel better. She definitely doesn't believe it, but she's like, gosh,
I'll give it a
let
shot.
me keep these people happy. But we have bigger problems because the Travelers are in town. She does go to Liv, and she's like, hey, do you know by any chance how to fix an imploding supernatural purgatory? Enzo shows up and unsettles Liv before she can answer. Yes, Enzo, causing trouble for Bonnie this whole season. Let it not be forgotten.
Because this is the episode. Does this happen after we find out the other side is falling apart? Mm-hmm. This man,
Because he's like, I'm here to speak to Stefan and Elena. Stefan, you stand accused of killing my beloved nurse, Maggie, from decades ago.
truly jumping in front of the plot and standing there and holding it back like the truck in Twilight to be like, now look at me. God. I did not realize it was that late.
More visuals for the promo. And then Liv attacks Stefan and Elena and reveals she's being forced by Enzo to assist because he's compelled some blokes to threaten Luke, who I guess can't defend himself with magic. I
Powerful Gemini Witch. God, all these big burly footballers are holding me down. Whatever will I do?
Oh no! I see you, Luke. Mm-hmm. Bonnie tries to call Damon. Enzo catches her and takes her phone. He's like, no, let's call Damon. I'll call him myself. And he's like, hey, Damon, Stefan killed my nurse Maggie in the 60s, which obviously Damon knows was him. Stefan denies killing Maggie, and so Enzo loses patience and grabs Bonnie, threatening to kill her if Stefan doesn't tell the truth. And I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, so I guess confirmed that she's a vulnerable mortal now who can die. Enzo even says, I wonder what will happen to you when you die. What will happen to the other side? Will you disappear? Will it hurt? Like, what's going to go on? And so Stefan's like, all right, I'll tell you what you want to hear. I killed Maggie. And then Enzo's like, Liv, take Bonnie upstairs. Upstairs is kind of just like a different part of the same room because they're like in a bar or something.
Yeah, it's like a little balcony kind of place, yeah.
And then Bonnie is like, Liv, I've clocked your tea. I know you're only pretending to be under duress because if Enzo kills either Stefan or Elena, the Travelers can't use their doppelganger blood for their magic. And Liv quips, aren't you clever? You should be a magic teacher. And I'm like, when I catch you, Olivia Parker.
Olivia Joshuina Parker. You better sit your ass down.
Later on, Bonnie notes that while Liv was deceiving her, she really thought she was doing Liv a favor by teaching her. And I'm like, yeah, that's the shame that she's like, wow, I opened my heart to you. I was trying to be there for you in a way that I didn't have anyone because let me tell you, I'm a self-taught witch. Most of the people who taught me magic were either threatening me or manipulating me or telling me that if I didn't do things their way, they'd turn off my powers like a light switch. And here I was, a black woman assisting you, and you were playing me the whole time. And then she
Yeah.
says the infamous line, "You're more powerful than I ever was." And I'm like, that's not true.
That's not
She is not more powerful than you were when you were channeling 100 witches. She's not more powerful than you were when you had expression, and then topped it off with dark magic and spirit magic in the season 4 finale.
You've resurrected
Nonsense.
people multiple times. You've stopped the heart of an original. You've almost killed an original flat out. Only hindered because another original snatched him away before you could do it. You were so powerful.
You petrified Silas, the first immortal, something which only Ketsia had ever been able to do. Like, please. You were the first witch to reconstitute someone's ghost body as a new living human body from the other side.
Right. It's not enough to depower her. We must now minimize her feats. We must minimize the things she has done in the time she has had power. It's just insult after injury after slap in the face.
And for the sake of a Bonnie episode, I will say this. I think you brought it up. Season 5, because I was reading a recent Reddit thread about the Vampire Diaries, and someone was complaining about like the different aesthetic of season 5, and they missed the moody like autumn look. Season 5 had a different head writer, I think because Julie Plec mostly stepped away to go deal with the spin-off show.
Interesting.
And that might account for the change in aesthetic and also how the ball gets dropped on some of the lore.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, something like Bonnie being not ever having been as powerful as Liv is now. And this comes before season 6 where we get into the Gemini of it all. I'm like, that just feels like someone didn't watch the show the whole way through.
But then it's like, where's the show Bible, right? Like, this shit is written down somewhere. We keep this thing so that, because certainly the head writer may stay the same, but for new writers, like show writers, like TV writers who work a gig, who will go from show to show depending, need to have a reference from which to work from now that they're writing season 5 of a show they've never worked on before. Why are we not... What's the disconnect there? I don't know. I guess that's a feather in Julie Plec's cap that the one season that's like the worst one she wasn't involved in. So, good for her, I guess.
She stepped away and it suffered.
It all fell to shit.
And then Elena left and things really started to go wrong.
No tea, no shade to that writer. Like, I don't want to sit here and denigrate creatives who are just, doing a job and doing their best. But like, God, this season, man. I don't know.
Bonnie asks Liv about the other side falling apart and if her coven knows that that's happening, because by this point, Luke and Liv have been talking about the coven. The coven wants this. The coven is not pleased. The coven expects us to do ABC. And then Liv assumes Bonnie is worried about her own fate. But Bonnie's like, girl, you clearly haven't been here. I'm not worried about me. My Grams is on the other side.
Right.
And, the Mystic Falls gang has friends they like Alaric. Enzo later on attacks Liv. Why? I don't know and I don't care.
Who
But
cares?
Bonnie is still with her when Stefan heals her with his blood. And then Stefan leaves to help Damon find Enzo, who has snatched Elena and fled. Later on, after seeing Bonnie selflessly help her, Liv is like, okay, I'll give you some honesty, Bon. The other side is going to fall apart until it ceases to exist, and there is nothing that I can do to save it. And Bonnie's like, no, there's always like a spell, a loophole, or a sacrifice, or something that can be made to circumvent, impending disaster. And Liv is like, I would say goodbye to my friends.
Ooh.
Jeremy loves you, and he deserves to know you're leaving. And I'm like, oh, now you're on Team Jeremy.
Right.
Okay.
After all the shit you've stirred. Okay. She said, when the chips are down, I'm not a complete asshole. And that's truly the essence of Liv's character.
She's like, now that I've broken character. She's like, the Jeremy flirtation was just part of me being in character. I was like,
just
while
a
I'm playing
gag,
this
girl.
role, let me pretend.
It was distraction. It was smoke and mirrors. It was the hand on your shoulder as I pick your pocket. Don't worry about it.
Bonnie goes to speak to Jeremy, but she cannot bring herself to tell him the truth. And she's like, yeah, Liv told me that there might be a way to save me. Then Stefan calls to tell her that Enzo is dead. And then Bonnie sees Enzo's spirit alive. And she's on the phone with Stefan in front of Jeremy, but she doesn't react. She's just like,
She keeps so cool.
I understand.
Brilliant. Stares that man down and is like, yeah.
I'm not the teenage girl who got caught by Ben McKittrick in season 1.
Never again.
My poker face is perfect. And then Enzo passes through her and she feels some pain. She's like, no, it's just a werewolf or something, Jeremy. Don't worry about it. And Enzo's like, oh, okay. You can keep the secrets if you want. You'll see me again. I'm good at revenge. And I was like,
All right.
okay, Taylor Swift.
Okay, Blondie.
He says, you should keep in mind
It's nothing I do better.
There is nothing I do better than revenge.
Stefan was a moth to the flame. I was holding the lighter. Okay, and so... All right.
He's so annoying. Gosh. But yeah, this is also the episode that the travelers state their grand plan to strip away all the witch magic of Mystic Falls and make it their new home. I'm not going to get into it now, but I will say that the travelers claim that they do traditional magic, the true original magic, and what witches do is spirit magic. And I've always called it spirit magic because that's what the show calls it past this point. But earlier this season, they also described spirit magic as nature magic.
Okay.
So traveler magic is different from nature and spirit magic, which are the same thing.
Okay.
And that's the mechanics of this world. So I'm like, I guess there are nature spirits that exist who may or may not be the deceased who are on the other side or in the ancestral plane of New Orleans. It's very strange.
Then what do the travelers draw on?
Who knows?
Okay.
The magic of originality.
I assumed they were saying the travelers draw on natural magic.
That's what I
but
thought.
The witches draw on spirits who are on the other side that are existing far longer than they should be instead of going straight to peace. And that was what they took issue with.
That was what I believed. But during my rewatch, they were like, no, nature magic is what Bonnie and Co. do. And I was like, okay.
Oh, okay.
So nature is spirits and it's not travelers. The travelers draw on the power of kinetic energy, I guess, by traveling all the time. I don't know.
Go.
Episode 20, What Lies Beneath. Bonnie and Jeremy are making out in her room, and Jeremy stops to express his concerns about the other side. And Bonnie's like, no, I told you Liv is working on a spell to keep me in the world of the living. And then Jeremy gets a text telling him that Tyler is back. Tyler escaped from the travelers. Then Jeremy leaves, and Sheila appears to speak to Bonnie, and she's like, girl, I gotta urge you to tell Jeremy the truth, because the other side is going away, and when it does, you are going with it. And Bonnie's like, no, I just need more time, because, you know, my theme this season is procrastinating and not giving people the right to grieve when they need to grieve.
God.
And then Sheila becomes frustrated and accidentally knocks over a lamp that's in the real world. And Bonnie's like, you shouldn't be able to interact with physical objects, which is funny because at the end of season 4 when Bonnie died and she hasn't yet realized she's a ghost, Sheila puts her hand on her shoulder and that's like a clue that, oh, wait, you can feel that? You shouldn't be able to. It's because you're both ghosts. But Sheila's like, yeah, I told you, this place is going topsy-turvy. This is further proof that the other side is disappearing before our eyes. Please tell Jeremy soon. Not knowing doesn't protect him, it just protects you. And I'm like, yeah, really, Bonnie, that's it. You are just fueling your own denial by claiming to be protecting your loved ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is a believable state of denial to be in because she's always sacrificing everything for these people.
Yeah.
She's around when Jeremy, Tyler, and Matt enact their plan to bring forth Tyler's passenger and interrogate him. But she's like, I'm not going to stay here for the show. And she excuses herself. Later on, Bonnie and Jeremy find the travelers' bodies hidden inside the underground caves, and they are stunned to see just how many travelers have become passengers, because they're all like sleeping in stasis while their spirits possess the Mystic Falls townsfolk. Bonnie and Jeremy find Julian's body. He's the guy who's possessing Tyler. They wanted to keep the passengers from doing the ritual on it to permanently stick Julian inside Tyler, the way that Catherine had tried to permanently stick herself inside Elena. However, Maria, Julian's wife, shows up with a bunch of conscious travelers and they attack Jeremy and take Julian's body and leave. Bonnie and Jeremy are back with Tyler when the travelers do the spell to make Julian a permanent passenger in him. Episode 21, Promised Land. Which, oh boy, the travelers aren't just Romani, they're also Jewish.
They're also Jewish.
No.
They're also, as we know, travelers are an actual ethnic group. So it's like the whole mix is in here. This season is weird and bad.
Bonnie is used as a go-between for Enzo and Damon. Ugh.
Yeah, Damon points a poker at her and is like, you're the one who's going to figure out how to bring back Enzo, I guess. And it's like, screw you. Actually.
And Enzo's getting impatient about his resurrection, and Damon's like, listen, I'm busy with the traveler drama. I'm delegating your resurrection to this girl here. Since you have told us, Bonnie, that Liv is working on a spell to bring you back from the other side before it dissipates, Enzo can just hitch a ride with you. And I'm like, you don't even know the mechanics of how this is supposed to work. What if this is only going to work on her because she's the anchor?
They never do, and they don't care. And especially Damon, who's just like, yeah, just figure it out and do it. I always have a plan. My plan is you're going to figure it out, you're going to do it, and I don't know how it works, and I don't care to. Just get it done.
Wild. Bonnie knows that won't work because Liv is doing no such thing. Caroline goes to Bonnie and then tells her that, okay, so it seems Julian is like, stapled to Tyler's body. Here's a suggestion. Maybe death is the way to free Tyler from Julian's possession. And Bonnie's like, how will this work? And Caroline says, okay, well, if we kill Tyler's body, then both Julian and Tyler's spirits will go to the other side, and then Liv can just bring back Tyler's body to the material plane, reconstituting it into a, flesh and blood form when she brings you back, because that's what's happening. And then Bonnie finally admits to Caroline, girl, that's not happening. There is no spell. The other side is collapsing, and when it does, all the ghosts there are going away too. So do not kill Tyler. Unbeknownst to them, Enzo has been listening. Yeah. So he accosts Bonnie later and is like, when were you planning on telling me there's no spell to bring me back?
It's like never, actually.
And he's like, listen, there must be a way. You, Jeremy, and Marcos, you've all been resurrected from the other side in various ways. And Bonnie's like, Marcos's resurrection has basically destroyed the magic holding the other side together. There is nothing anyone can do to stop the destruction of the other side. You are not coming back and you should accept it. And I feel that she has a little bit of satisfaction in getting to deliver this news to him. Hope. And then Maria's spirit appears. That's Julian's wife. Liv killed her in a telekinetically induced car crash, and she passes through Bonnie to the crumbling other side. The travelers begin their spell. Spirit/nature/witch magic begins to get nullified in Mystic Falls. It saps Luke and Liv of their powers and causes the vampires to begin to experience the fatal conditions that led to them dying and becoming vampires. Bonnie's just sitting on her bed in her dorm room while Caroline frantically packs for their exodus.
Ugh.
And Bonnie's like, I've been thinking, I may have thought of a way to get all the spirits that we want back from the other side.
Always.
I'm gonna need Enzo.
Oh my god. Something
so again,
no one has ever
coming
said.
up with a plan on her own.
On her goddamn own.
Bonnie's plan was to enlist the help of the now dead traveler Maria to help her do the same sort of spell that brought back Marcos. Unfortunately, when Enzo goes to find Maria on the other side, he sees her get sucked into oblivion. Elsewhere, Julian in Tyler's body learns from Stefan and Caroline that his wife is dead, and then he kills Stefan, since with one of the two doppelgangers dead, the traveler's spell will cease. Enzo tells Bonnie, hey, Maria's gone, and Bonnie is crushed because Maria was the only traveler they could have asked for help who knew the spell that they needed. And then Stefan's spirit arrives to pass through her, and she's like, oh, this is getting worse! In the finale, episode 22, Home, Caroline is sobbing in front of Stefan's corpse, and Damon's like, no, we will bring Stefan back. And he goes to speak to Bonnie and is a little bit too angry at her. I get that he's just like processing his grief the way straight men do. He's like, no, Bonnie, you told me you had a plan. And Bonnie's like, listen, Maria got sucked into the void like everyone else on the other side will be. And he's like, okay, we'll find another traveler. And Bonnie's like, a bunch of travelers were willing to do a spell to kill themselves and pull him back while the door was, I guess, jammed open as they all squeezed through at the same time. And Damon's like, okay, well, we need to find a way because my little brother's on the other side. And Bonnie's like, I know. And then he's like, and your Grams and Alaric are also on the other side. And Bonnie's like, I know. I'm there too, Damon. Do you think I want to die?
And you find it exactly. It's like he's thinking of everyone else except her on the other side.
Then Enzo shows up. And Enzo says that he has found another traveler who can help them, but they will need to provide a witch to do the spell. Caroline and Elena ambush Luke and Liv in the road. Caroline kills Luke in order to motivate Liv to do the spell to allow people to come back from the other side. Bonnie feels the pain of Luke passing through her, and Enzo's like, oh good, there's one less witch twin in the world. And Bonnie's like, there's one more person that I have to bring back, actually. And Enzo's like, yeah, this list is getting kind of long. And Bonnie says, well, I can't ask Liv to help us with this spell and then not bring back her brother. That would be mean. Then Tyler's spirit shows up because he and Julian have been killed through the magic nullification. And he's like, okay, I've got to pass through you because I guess I'm also dead. And Bonnie's like, it's okay. I'm going to bring you back. Later on, Bonnie speaks to Jeremy on the phone and Jeremy's like, I want to be with you right now. And Bonnie's like, no, you've got your own mission and I can't enter Mystic Falls or the anti-magic witch spell will strip away the magic of the anchor and take me and the other side with it. And Jeremy's like, okay, just explain how the resurrections will work again. And Bonnie's like, when the Mystic Falls gang blow up the travelers, their spirits will pass through the other side. While they're doing that, Liv will perform a spell to use all that death to hold the door open, and then all of our faves can pass back through to the material plane. And Jeremy's like, okay, what will happen to you though? And Bonnie's like, I'll stop being the anchor. And Jeremy's like, okay, but how? And how will you get back to the world of the living? If you are the door, how do you pass through yourself? And Bonnie's just like, Jeremy, I will be fine.
Oh, He spent too long with her. He understands the implications now.
She's treating it like, I don't have time to explain to you, a non-witch, how magic works.
And he's
just
like,
trust me, I'm
I've
gonna be
read
fine.
the Grimoires. I was your assistant. I at least understand there's something wrong here.
But he chooses to believe her.
Bless.
And when they hang up, Enzo's like, what exactly is your plan to come back? And Bonnie's like, my plan is my job. Just like getting the Traveler spell is your job, which apparently you suck at.
Get him again.
Then Silas shows up, and Bonnie at first is like, oh, Stefan, hi. And then Enzo's like, no, it's Silas. He was a traveler. He's the one I've asked to give us the spell.
Oh, God.
And Bonnie stiffens with disgust and is like, he killed my dad. And Silas is like, yeah, and now I'm going to help you to bring your friends back to life. Isn't life funny? Of course, I'm going to come back with them, Bonnie. So what do you say? Bygones? So Silas teaches Bonnie the spell. She struggles to get them memorized, and Silas is like, ugh, it's like teaching calculus to an infant. And I'm like, all right, calm down.
Go to Oblivion then. How about that?
And Bonnie's like, sorry, I'm just a bit nervous about unleashing your evil ass back into the world. You are a plague. Elena then shows up with Liv. They obviously can't see Silas. And Bonnie's like, this traveler is just some old lady. She's kind of senile.
I mean, accurate.
Which is hilarious because I'm like, I love that you are suggesting that senility follows you into purgatory on the other side. But Enzo waits outside the mausoleum crypt thingy. I always get those two confused. For Bonnie and Silas. And then she comes out and she's like, I've learned the spell. And Silas comes out and he's like, yeah, we're ready. And then the winds of oblivion return and almost pull Enzo away. And he's like, Bonnie, help me. And she proves herself a true anchor and grabs his hand, saving him from being sucked up into the sky. And then Silas, who's like clinging onto a tree for dear life, is like, oh, reaching out, Bonnie, give me your other hand. And then Bonnie extends her other hand to him, looks him in the eyes, and coldly says, bygones, before taking her hand away, and Silas is yanked into the void, and
Bye,
Bonnie
bitch.
avenges her father.
There's the door,
Hooray!
bitch.
And I've said it in the Stefan episode, but I'll say it again. Stefan gets to kill Silas in his mortal life, bookending his trauma and his enmity with his doppelganger. I love that Bonnie lets him get sucked away into oblivion, which we'll later learn is hell, avenging her father, who he killed for nothing.
For nothing. Just to see.
Also, he's been terrorizing her since last season, so honestly, her beef with Silas predates Stefan's beef.
Oh, without question. Without question. Like, Stefan's beef is primordial, but Bonnie's beef is long-standing. Bonnie's beef is deep.
Liv begins the spell, and Bonnie is like standing among the graves of her ancestors, because I guess there's just a graveyard in the woods, waiting for her grams. And Sheila shows up, and Bonnie's like, okay, I found you all the way out. And Sheila's like, I know enough to have figured out that you cannot survive so many people passing through you from the other side to come back to life. And even after all that, you'd still be the anchor. The destruction of the other side would mean your end as well. And Bonnie's like, yeah, I assume you're here to berate me for bending and breaking the rules yet again. And Sheila's like, no, actually, I'm here to say that it has been my privilege to watch you grow into the woman you've become. And I was like, oh, Jasmine Guy. I almost called her Guy Jasmine. What?
You have called her
Jasmine
Guy Jasmine many times.
Why?
I don't know. I don't question
Am I thinking
anything.
of Guy Sebastian, an Australian
Possibly.
singer? Maybe. Bonnie's like, okay, Grams, you need to pass through me and resurrect when the ritual begins. And Sheila's like, no, I'm staying. And Bonnie's like, well, the other side is imploding. It's going to take you with it. And Sheila says, I can't come. You're not the only one in the family who knows how to make a sacrifice. And I don't know what that means going forward through season 6. I was like, sacrifice? Kind of feels like you just chose to not come back.
You
But
did.
okay.
I'm not signing on to another season of this show, thank you. And you know what? Very fair.
Bonnie's like, what do you mean? And Sheila's like, it's not your concern.
Don't you worry
I
a
found
pillow head
peace,
about it.
And I made sure that you found yours. And Bonnie's like, I don't understand. And Sheila hugs her one last time and she's like, I love you, stay strong. And Bonnie says, I love you too. And then Sheila Bennett turns away and walks in the direction of a blinding golden light and goes and finds peace.
Beautiful.
Love that for her. She has been in purgatory since 2009.
Truly.
It's
about
now,
time.
2012?
Yeah, she gets a
2011.
goddamn break. And I guess that is the sacrifice, is that her foregoing her opportunity to return to life is what she exchanges, maybe, in a metaphysical way, to seal the deal for Bonnie.
And I'm like, why did she need to seal the deal? We'll talk about it in season 6. But
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
it kind of
that's
just
a
sounds like
season
you were
6
just
question.
given this info. But the Traveler Spirits get blown up and they pass through Bonnie. Marcos warns Bonnie that he'll just come right back. Elena and Damon's spirits show up as well. And Bonnie's like, okay, after you pass through, you'll reappear next to your dead bodies. Then you have to find your way back to me. And I'm like, oh, so it's kind of the opposite of the Gilbert ring? Does that mean Marcos walked from wherever it was that he had died 1,500 years ago when he had to pass through Bonnie?
Carpathian Mountains or something? Like... How did he do that? Did he swim across the Atlantic Ocean?
They used the medium to draw him to Mystic Falls by thinking about him really hard.
Because that'll snap you right too. You don't need to make the journey then, I guess.
Bonnie is standing in the cemetery in the woods with Stefan, Tyler, Lexi, and Enzo. Luke's ghost is watching over Liv as she does the spell, and Luke sees that the spell is taking a toll on Liv. And he's like, okay, Bonnie, we need to start passing back through now. And Stefan's like, no, we need to wait for the others. And Luke is like, no. And he grabs Bonnie and resurrects. And he goes to Liv and he's like, hey, sis, I'm alive. You can stop now. The spell is killing you. And then Liv, in a surprising moment of altruism, is like, actually, no, I promised I would help. I have to keep the spell going. Bonnie tells all the ghosts who are present that, okay, you guys need to come through now. And Enzo's like, you ain't got to tell me twice, and immediately touches her arm so he can resurrect. Tyler follows after, and then Bonnie's like, come on, Lexi and Stefan. And Lexi's like, Stefan, you go. And he's like, no, I have to wait for Damon and Elena. Elena arrives, and she's like, Damon's not here yet, and I will not leave without him. I am adamant. And then Bonnie's like, no. And she forcibly grabs Elena, bringing her back against her will. She's like, not for that man.
Not for that man, Bonnie. You're real for that one.
And you know what? If anyone has the right to take away Elena's choice about life and death, it's Bonnie. It's like, how many times have I sacrificed myself to save you?
Thank you.
And then Bonnie starts to cough up blood as the repeated resurrections wear her down, and she hunches over, and Stefan, bless his heart, instinctively reaches out to try and help her. And thus, he touches her and is also resurrected. And he's like, damn it. So now only Lexi is left standing there. And Elena's like, oh no, Bonnie, in the world of the living. She's like, what about Damon? And I'm like, what about Alaric, who you
Bonnie?
also wanted to bring back?
What about your goddamn dad? Thank you very much. Oh no, Damon, what will I ever do?
It's her true love now, I guess.
Okay.
We're in it now. And Bonnie's like, it's okay. I can do this. I will hold out until Damon arrives. On the other side, Lexi's like, girl, you lying. I can see this is killing you. Bonnie's like, I can hold on. I will, because I have to do it. Come through. And then Lexi's like, no, I can't. I'd be a bad best friend if I came back to Stefan without his brother. Then Marcos shows up and he's like, ha, resurrection, round 2. And Lexi fights him and holds him off until the winds of oblivion suck him into the void. So
I'm loving these winds of oblivion. I love that Bastille song.
And then Bonnie's like, okay, Lexi, it's your turn now. And she's like, no, it's okay. I'm willing myself to find peace.
So real.
She finds peace by saying, I have to just believe Stefan's going to be okay. I'm leaving you, bestie.
Manifest.
Damon and Alaric arrive at last. Alaric makes it through, but Luke forcibly ending the spell just before Damon can touch Bonnie. Now Damon is trapped on the other side. Bonnie obviously can't come through because she is a ghost. Bonnie comes to tell Elena that Damon didn't make it and it's too late to save him. Damon's ghost is hovering around, but Elena obviously can't see him. She breaks down sobbing. Bonnie then phones Jeremy and she tells him, hi, I lied. There was never any way for me to come back or to stop being the anchor. If I told you the truth, it would have ruined our last days together, and I just wanted us to feel happy for once. And Jeremy's like, so was none of it true? No, I'm coming to find you. Stay right where you are. I'm coming to find you. And Bonnie's like, let's face facts. I died the day before graduation.
Jesus Christ.
Last season. And everything since then has been a gift. And I'm like, yeah, that rings hollow in a show where people have died multiple times and come back. We can't now be like, we must accept that death is final.
Death is suddenly final when it's Bonnie who's dead. But we can literally end this episode within the last 2 minutes. We're bringing back every which person who had just died. Bringing back Rick Saltzman, who died 2 seasons ago. Okay.
She's like, I'm thankful I didn't waste a second of this gift. Please take care of Elena. Sensing that the convo is coming to an end, Jeremy's like, don't you dare hang up on me. And Bonnie's like, I love you. And he's like, Bonnie, don't you dare. And then he hangs up as Birdie's Wings is playing and the music is swelling. The heartbreaking scene of Jeremy running through the woods in search of Bonnie, desperately trying to get to her before she disappears. It's so sad.
It's so sad. It's so heartbreaking.
And it's funny that I feel that so much, and every time it cuts back to Elena like sobbing over Damon, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care.
When I was rewatching it, I forget for what, every time it cut back to Elena and Damon, I got so mad. I was like, get the hell out of here.
Jeremy, sadly, gets to her, like he sees her in the distance, just as the other side finally crumbles away. And as it all comes to an end, Damon and Bonnie are standing side by side, the only two members of the group trapped there. And Bonnie says, I'm sure there are a million other people we'd rather be with right now, but... And then she takes Damon's hands and their fingers intertwine, and Damon says, no, it's only a couple of thousand at most. And Bonnie's last words are, do you think it'll hurt? And Damon starts to say, I don't know. And the world goes silent because even the show said, shut up.
Oh, that caught me by surprise. What I was gonna say was, I love when, I especially like it in books, when someone's final words or final thoughts are cut off with an M dash because they died or they disappeared or whatever. That's all. It never fails to hit. Even when it's Damon goddamn Salvatore, I'm like, hell yeah, that's how it should be.
But yeah, that's the end of season 5. It was an interesting season, not a great one.
Not a good one. I'm sorry.
Bonnie is doing a lot, but again, it's a lot of stuff happening to her.
Uh-huh.
She has maybe less agency in this season than she has all show, and that is saying something.
Like you said, she's quite literally an object in this one. And like, what is there to be said about that? And yet, though this is the worst season overall and a really bad one for Bonnie, for me... the next one is worse. It's so bad in season 6, and I don't want to think about it. But something I do want to talk about regarding Bonnie, and specifically a relationship with Jeremy, which we've spoken about a lot during the season, because this is when they get back together, even though they were vibing for the whole back half of season 4. And in general, like the idea of Bonnie, like... they don't allow her to have love interests, and truly Jeremy is maybe her best one, in my opinion, but like, it's just so much working against them. There was someone on Twitter who, and this was back in my era of choosing willingly to interact with strangers on the internet, which, as you know, Fadzai, I stray away from these days, protecting my peace. There was someone who made a tweet, and I'm still to this day not sure what they were trying to say. I have an idea of maybe what they were trying to get to, but they weren't saying, they were saying something else. And I'll kind of try and step through it one by one.
Like the ghost stepping through Bonnie one by one.
Like the Mystic Falls gang all one by one stepping back through. I'm going to start from the Luke of it all. So they were trying to and I couldn't tell if they were talking about an established, well-known, like, trope or idea, or if they were trying to synthesize something, which either or, fair enough, I'm here to engage, especially because they were talking about race within fiction, and they were talking about pairings of people. Mm-hmm. And so they were talking about the pairing of, like, a black woman and a white man, and they were listing very nebulously some criteria that they were like, and even in the way they were saying it, it seemed they weren't quite sure what they were trying to say. They were just like thinking out loud in the tweet. And I was like, okay, let's see, let me engage with this. And I remember even retweeting it. And then I was like, wait, hold on. Because they were talking about, to me, on second look, really felt like they were just talking about appearance. The 4 stills that they put were from Napoleon Dynamite, which is a movie.
Oh, I remember this tweet.
Do you remember this
tweet?
tweet?
Last year.
Yeah.
Earlier this year. It was crazy.
It was wild. It was Napoleon Dynamite, which is not a movie I'm watched, but is one I'm aware of. It was Napoleon Dynamite, the titular character's brother, I think, and his black girlfriend. And then it was Total Drama Island. It was the goth dude with the green hair and the black girl who's not Lashana.
No, it was... No, there is no other... In season 1, there is no other black girl.
Is she brown then?
Yeah. No, it was Lashana herself. It was Harold and Lashana.
Oh, yes, it was the skinny geek. Yeah, I was like... Remembering it back, I was like, there's no way it's the goth dude because everyone thinks that guy's hot. It was the skinny nerdy guy and Lashana. And then it was... I forget what the third frame was. I don't know if you remember.
I can't remember.
It was something animated, though. That's what I remember. I remember there were 2 animated ones and there were 2 live-action ones. And the 4th one was Bonnie and Jeremy from the Vampire Diaries. And I looked at these pictures and I was trying to figure out, what's the common thread here? And from the other 3, again, I'm struggling to remember what the third one was. It was the sense of like, oh, it's this skinny, unattractive, geeky white boy and this stunning black woman, right? And I was like, okay, I guess this is about physical appearance? And I was like, I can't think of a world in which anyone stands there and looks at Stephen R. McQueen and is like, that's an unattractive man. But far be it from me. As we've said within the confines of this show, certainly Jeremy is lower on the rungs of who people consider attractive in this show. So fair enough. But then I was like, what is the idea here? Is it that like when we pair characters, like a really stunning black woman is expected to find this like unimpressive white boy like interesting? And it's like, I guess fair enough. But like, it seems like that was what the point they were making, but not the thing they were saying.
I tried to look for the tweet. Unfortunately, the account has been suspended.
So that's the thing. I tried to look for it because I quote tweeted them and I went back to the quote. They've been suspended. There's no way for me to verify who the fourth still was and what exactly they said in this tweet.
I probably took a screenshot of it because I tend to take screenshots of most things because I know Twitter is not as permanent as we like to believe.
If you find that, let me know because then I'll post it with this. But I just couldn't see what is the connection with these. If it's physical appearance, which, you know, if that's your diatribe, throw Jeremy out of there. That's what I'm going to say.
That was the thing, because I think the original thing was about physical appearance and, oh, why are these gorgeous black women ending up with these very mid to unattractive white guys? And certainly there were a lot of Vampire Diaries fans who were like, Jeremy was fine though. Like, not fine as in like fine, but like fine.
He was fine.
Like, Jeremy was fine.
That
like,
is an attractive man.
And then there were a few people who were like, I don't think Stephen R. McQueen is all that, which is fine if you feel that way. But the response a lot of other people were giving was that, yeah, it's not just appearance necessarily. It's also like just how worthy the man is overall. And we don't think Jeremy is worthy because A, that's Elena's kid brother and that's lame. And B, he cheated on her with a ghost that one time in season 3. So he's ruined forever now and she deserves better. And I was like, okay.
Well, we know how we feel about that. So I just wanted to bring that up because I was curious about that situation. And I was just like, it's very odd. But separately, this is why I was like, maybe that's kind of the energy that this person was trying to get to, but wasn't. But like, there's this, and I still think that that's not quite right too, because there is this trope that's quite well known as the disposable black girlfriend trope, which is a black woman character who is introduced as a love interest for typically a white man, but a non-black man. Well, actually, I will say sometimes a black man, which always makes it even crazier, but I digress. And is like usually within the narrative a stepping stone for that man to then get to their true love interest, who is typically a white woman, but a non-black woman at the very most.
I will say the trope is obviously it affects women more often, but it can also sometimes happen with men in queer stories where you'll have a disposable black boyfriend for a gay male character.
And I will say the only time I've seen it happen the other way with straight pairings, and I spoke about this on the podcast before, but it had not occurred to me to connect it to this trope, but it's that late 2010s era of rom-coms where there's this objectively it's a main girly, this objectively awful white man who by the end of the first movie she gets with, and then in the second movie there's a POC love interest that's introduced as like a little spice factor, a little hurdle for their romance. But when you look at it on paper, it's like, oh, that guy's like leagues better than the main guy. And then by the end of the movie, somehow she still ends up with the main white dude, and it's like, okay. To All the Boys, it was The Kissing Booth. It was, I'll throw Twilight in there, but that's a whole other story we'd have to get into.
Twilight textually is supposed to be that.
Anyway, so disposable black girlfriend trope. Amber from the adaptation of Invincible. What's her name from the first season of You?
Which is such a weird one, because it's like you retroactively made her into that trope and set her up for failure because you knew this relationship wasn't going to last, because in the source material she is just the placeholder white girlfriend for the white girl who's his true love.
Yes.
Like, why
you
make
didn't
her black?
Adam Eve black. You made the girl who was going to be broken up with black. What's that about? Okay. Kirby Howell-Baptiste in The Good Place. Simone. Sex Education. Ola. The list goes on.
It's gotten to the point where you can see it coming as a POC. When you see a character end up with a certain POC, you're like, yeah. And the story is always structured around, I'm settling for you because the one I want is unavailable. Or, oh, you're a friend who I didn't really realize liked me. I guess I'll give it a go. And it's like, I know this is not going to last.
And the thing is that some people, in listing examples of this trope to elucidate the fact, have listed Bonnie and Jeremy in that list. And I've always been like, I don't know about that. And this is the thing, I don't think it's that insane, because I think the reason people get to that is because of a larger racial issue within the show concerning Bonnie Bennett as a character. There is an undeniable sense that Bonnie is suffering within the story because she is black, and that is right and true, but I don't think it is because of the context of her relationship. Largely because Bonnie is the character, right?
Yes.
Jeremy is also a character, but Jeremy is Bonnie's love interest, not the other way around. Vicky and Anna were Jeremy's love interests. Jeremy is Bonnie's love interest. And so I think that's out the gate. That's something that nixes that. The other aspect is that because the disposition of the black girlfriend is like following some growth of that person as a character and then pursuing a different character. Post Bonnie, Jeremy does not pursue anyone. In fact, post Bonnie, the second time, Jeremy does not pursue anyone. He leaves the show with them still being in love, even though they don't get back together. So I'm like, again, that nixes it. Throughout this discussion we just had, Bonnie is the one whose story is occurring front and center, and Jeremy is like clawing, scrambling, trying his best to help her, trying to get her back, trying to bring her to the fore again. Jeremy is the vassal state to the kingdom of Bonnie within this story. And so, to me, that's always going to be the reason why I don't think it quite works here. Even in the stuff about, like, the cheating storyline, because Jeremy's not pursuing Anna in that storyline. Jeremy is rekindling old bones that were never burned in the bonfire of his tragically ended relationships. Anna leaves after that, and the relationship collapses, and circumstances happen, and they come back together. So I don't think that counts.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to like throw that out there to like be like, I'm aware of that and I've thought about that and I feel differently about it.
I agree. Sometimes people are making a good point and then some of the things they list in their examples just aren't true. And it's like, no, that's not what that is.
Yeah. But I understand the impetus. It's like we've gone on and on about how badly her stories are written, how much she's pushed aside, how much she is neglected. But that's from a larger story angle. It is almost never from Jeremy himself.
And then, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say for season 5.
Okay.
Season 6. What a time to be alive or dead or in some weird nebulous in-between space.
Yeah, likely place to find out, girl.
We're finally gonna get into the bonkai of it all. But also, your least favorite thing, because the bonkai is probably my least favorite thing because it's the most insane thing I think the fandom has come up with.
For sure.
But I know your least favorite thing is the Damon and Bonnie friendship.
Because I live in reality, right? I live within the text. And I only recently through you found out about the bonkai nonsense, which I've simply chosen never to engage with. The Bayman bits are what I'm here to talk about today.
I can never escape it. It always pops up randomly. People will be like, oh yeah, Jeremy, that bum, but Kai, that's who she should have been with. I agree, Enzo's boring. Kai is who she was meant to be with. And I'm like, no. And I think, gun to my head, I guess I'd have to take Enzo.
You know what my answer is.
I know what your answer is, but that's not how the exercise works. Season 6, episode 1, I'll Remember. Damon and Bonnie are gone. Everyone is coping or not coping in different ways. Jeremy, for example, spent the summer partying, playing video games, and having lots and lots of casual sex with girls he barely knows.
Yeah.
And everyone's judging him, and I'm like, can you leave this... Like, he's probably still 18, about to turn 19. This teenage boy alone. He has been through so much.
I think it's allowed, actually.
Yeah, he's lost so many girlfriends.
Thank God he's doing something reasonably safe, you know? Given the last couple of years.
And also, y'all brought him back, and then he had to deal with a town full of people who thought he faked his own death and burned his family home to the ground. So honestly,
I don't want anyone saying jack and shit to Jeremy Gilbert ever again. He's currently expelled from school because of all that shit.
Did he finish school? Because
No.
this is now Elena and Co.'s second year of university, so he should be out of school because he's a year younger than them.
I believe,
just not have a high school diploma?
This season, they compel like a GED or something for him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. Well, As for Elena, she's mourning Damon, which I don't care about, but it is stated by Liz Forbes that Elena was apparently a full-on wreck for months about Bonnie. This is just to contrast how in denial she is about Damon being gone. She seems fine now, though, so whatevs.
Well.
The Damon hallucination that Luke Parker's herbs allows Elena to see asks her, why is there not a Bonnie hallucination as well?
That really begs the question.
Elena gives the non-answer that, hey, if I had to drive around with everyone I've ever lost, I'd need a bus. And I was like, that's not what you were asked, though.
Right.
So...
Because I can keep going down the list of all the people you've lost, of the people to hallucinate, because you simply can't deal with the grief.
I mean, Damon is her one true love, and I'm like, but you lost Bonnie on the same day, and she's your bestie.
In the same instant.
It's strange that the story wants us to believe that she's coping with the Bonnie thing. It's sad, but it's old hat at this point. It's grief she's used to. But Damon is the grief that has driven her into mental instability, and I'm like, all right.
Okay. All right.
If I was Bonnie, I'd be quite offended, but okay.
Yeah.
But near the end of the episode, a grieving Jeremy goes to Bonnie's memorial tree stump in the woods, and he looks at the framed photograph of her, which she had placed there during her funeral in season 5. He's got a bottle of booze in his hand. He's not coping. He's upset. Bonnie and Damon are absent for almost the entire episode, but in the final scene, we see Bonnie and Damon are in a kitchen somewhere, having breakfast together. So that's nice for them, I guess.
And there's a sense of
they're
like...
alive. Yay!
There's an element of like, this is not the first day. This is a normal that they've experienced for some time.
In episode 2, Yellow Ledbetter, which is always such a weird phrase to come out of my mouth. It feels like if I said it too many times, I'd get tongue-tied. This episode shows us what happened to Bonnie and Damon immediately after the other side collapsed. So right after the flash of blinding light goes away, they're like, oh, we're in the same spot in the woods that we were standing in before. Mm-hmm. And they wander around Mystic Falls looking for everyone else. And Damon's like, well, there's no traveler magic field nullifying the spirit witch hocus pocus, or I'd be dead because I'm a vampire. And then they see the Mystic Grill is still intact, and Damon's like, didn't I blow that up with Elena? And then Bonnie's like, yeah, what's weirder is there are no other people around. Even if we were on the other side, we'd be able to see the living, because that's how the other side works. So we have no idea where we are or what's going on. Bonnie and Damon continue to wander around this town and realize from the old-fashioned cars around them and the still intact and very unburnt Gilbert house and a fresh newspaper that is dated 1994 that they appear to be in an uninhabited version of the past. And then an eclipse happens. So that's fun. Bonnie then explains that, hey, my Grams told me that she made a deal to save me from the fate of disappearing with the other side. And because I was holding your hand at the end, I guess you were transported here with me.
And we'll put a pin in that one.
She's like, if magic got us here, magic can get us out. And she attempts to cast a spell, but nothing happens. And it's like, yay!
Still doesn't
Bonnie
have her
is still
powers.
in the depowerment era from last season. And I would be petty and count this as a different one because she's on a different plane of existence.
What's stopping you?
But it's fine. I don't need to because there will be more than one in this season alone. So...
Egg on my face.
I don't have to worry.
Right.
The next day, Bonnie comes to 994 Chez Salvatore, where Damon is, with her Grams' old grimoire, which she got from her 1994 house, along with a teddy bear from her childhood, which she lost many years before.
Cute.
She's like, this grimoire was my training wheels. This is how I started on magic. So if I'm going to get my magic back, this is where I should start. And Damon's like, cool, with our luck and your skill, that's very unlikely. And I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, Damon, that's not true, though. Like, I don't know why you're now trying to act as though Bonnie is not a skilled witch. I'm like, in what way? How?
In what way? Every single problem
explain
you
for 5
had,
marks.
she's fixed.
Bonnie does a crossword in the newspaper to pass the time. And then another eclipse happens. And they're like, wait, what? An eclipse 2 days in a row? I don't think that's possible.
Not natural.
And then they check the date on the newspaper and realize that it is the same day as it was the day before. And they're like, oh, we're not just in the past. We are in a time loop of the same day over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
So the equivalent of months go by. Bonnie fails to get her magic back. Damon continues to blame her for not being able to free them from what he has now convinced himself is his personal hell.
Right.
He's like, yes, this is my personal hell, and you just came along for the ride, Bonnie. And it's like, that theory is strange.
How?
But I guess...
How?
I guess once we learn how the devil and hell operates in this universe, I guess it's not unreasonable to think that this illogical situation would happen. A bad person gets sent to hell, and the person who's not bad, who was holding their hands, gets yanked along with them.
But it's like Bonnie was very clear that her grams is responsible for sliding them into whatever this is rather than being sucked to oblivion, and that Damon was pulled along. But thanks to the immense level of egocentric, self-involved bullshit. And the thing is, right, is that as we proceed and as the story unfolds regarding Damon, it's like, story-wise, that's true. So much of what occurs in this time period and in this time-looped day, historically speaking, has to do with Damon. Because Bonnie was a year old, maybe. So I just have to be like, well, I guess it is about Damon at the end of the day, even though this should be a Bonnie thing.
I mean, isn't it always about
Damon? Right.
Especially at this point in the story where it's like, yeah, we cannot escape this man. We shouldn't try.
You know what would have been interesting is if Sheila had said, still all the Gemini Coven stuff, still Kai being trapped into, well, spoilers, I guess. If we had gone back to the day Bonnie was born. If we're talking about time loops, if we're talking about attempting to circumvent Bonnie's death, having her get shunted back into the day that she was born would be more interesting for me. And it's about as contrived as all this shit happening the day Damon did the worst thing he ever did in his life. So, like, by that metric, it's no more contrived to be like the same day what happened in this time loop, why this prison world exists, is the day that Bonnie was born. So that would have been a far more interesting reason they got shunted there, because it centralizes Bonnie, and Damon is along for the ride. And his sole interest, personally, is about getting back to Elena. We don't need to rehash how bad Damon used to be, quote unquote, and how he can't escape it.
Because murdering a pregnant woman.
Oh my goodness.
That's super evil.
Perish
That's
the thought.
Worse than everything else you've ever done.
And he's changed now. He'd never do such a thing.
But yeah, I'm not going to get into the Damon of it all, apart from just, budding friendship with Bonnie, because that's what the story wants us to believe.
I might get into it a little bit later, because I do want to a little bit talk about Bayman.
Did you say Bayman?
Yeah, have you never heard that portmanteau? It's very popular.
No.
It's quite.
I know, I just didn't expect you to use the word.
Explicitly, I'm using it today because it merits discussion. I don't think I've ever used it before, and I don't think I ever will again.
Such foul language. So Damon's going on about how this is his personal hell. Then Bonnie's like, oh, actually, I'm going to snap at you now. Have you ever considered that maybe this is my personal hell? I'm the one who's stuck here reliving the same day over and over with my least favorite person in the world.
Real.
And I find that funny because I'm like, Bonnie, I know we speak in hyperbole when we're upset, but I don't think Damon is your least favorite. Like, Klaus?
I was going to be like, Klaus and Silas are maybe the most.
Klaus and Silas.
And Silas is no longer of this world, so, you know.
There is a single word on the crossword Bonnie is not a single word. I guess it's technically a term, a phrase,
yeah,
a title.
It's a song title.
That Bonnie has not been able to crack on this crossword in all the months that they've been here. During breakfast, a meal that Damon prepares them every day in an endless loop of pancakes, Bonnie thinks she hears a noise coming from somewhere, and Damon's like, no, because there's nobody else in this place with us. Back in the real world, this is where Jeremy gets to have his angry monologue. He has been paying Bonnie's cell phone bill so that her number doesn't get disconnected. So that he can call her cell and listen to her voicemail and hear her voice. Even though she's gone. He says that he's gotten her mother's permission to do this. And I'm like, oh, Abby, how are you coping with your daughter having died twice without you seeing her? Twice since the last time you actually saw each other.
Your daughter's dead, your mother's dead, your ex-husband's dead.
Oh, yes.
What are we to do here?
I guess she has Jamie.
Is it ex? Did they get divorced? I don't know.
I don't think they got legally divorced.
Yeah.
She disappeared.
She just dipped. Wild.
He's on the phone and he's like, Bonnie, I'm so pissed at you. You told me that you were dying over a phone call. And I was like, aw. At the end of the episode, Damon and Bonnie sit down to eat dinner together, and Damon sees that the word Bonnie thought she couldn't get has been solved. And he's like, oh, cool, you got it, yellow lead better. And Bonnie's like, are you messing with me because I have been unable to crack this? And Damon's like, well, I didn't do it. And Bonnie's like, but if you didn't do it, and I didn't do it,
then who's driving
who's
this
flying
bus?
the plane? I love how we went for two completely different vehicles. I went for a plane, which has been a recurring theme for us in this podcast.
That's true, actually. That's more appropriate. I've just been on a real public transport kick. I took a train this weekend and it was so much fun. So here I am. Support your public transport, people.
You know what I'm now thinking? If this world is a snapshot of all the inanimate or at least non-sentient things
Yes.
that were there on that day in 1994, were there like airplanes just in midair,
That
empty,
fell.
falling out of the sky when this world was created?
This is the snap question, right? It's like, where do the people come back? These are the questions we don't super think about. I'm going to assume they had a Thanos gauntlet level or also a Hulk gauntlet level matter of control over how this world would be constructed, which, fair enough.
Fair enough. Also, it's strange because the stuff in this world we'll later learn is technically finite, even though the day keeps rebooting itself. And it's like, but then how? Okay.
Yeah, it's like the cycles keep going, but the day's looping. Very strange.
But yeah, Bonnie's like, there must be someone else here with us. I knew I heard something. In episode 3, Welcome to Paradise, Damon immediately snaps back to being a skeptic, because Damon's always got to be skeptical. I don't know whether this characterization is because Damon is the snarky, sarcastic one who's always like making quips and having an attitude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why does that necessitate him being the person who is always not willing to believe something is going on?
I guess in a sense, it is a story requirement because it makes for conflict. You know, when you're following a plot line and there's something that's like, I guess, somewhat implausible, it can't be that everyone is the person to go, yes, this is definitely true, even though there's no real evidence of it. You need somebody to be the naysayer.
The Scully.
Right, exactly.
He and Bonnie go to gather groceries from the supermarket, since thankfully it's fully stocked. But I'm also like, is this gonna run out eventually? They never address it with anything else, but...
Do things go bad?
You know?
I don't know.
I guess the electricity is infinite,
Yeah.
so the fridges will stay on forever. The electricity
Yeah.
reboosts itself every day.
You know what, though? This is a 1990... Well, again, like jumping ahead, but like the one where we know things are finite is an earlier version. It's the prototype model, it seems. And this is a modern version. Snapshot.
Okay.
So maybe they hadn't
They
figured
upgraded.
out, you know, exactly. They hadn't figured out the formula
That's
back
fair.
then. Legwork,
I'll take
but,
it.
you know.
Damon is also skeptical about Bonnie getting her magic back. He reminds her that she couldn't do magic as the anchor and asks why she thinks she'd be able to do it now, which is fair. I'm like, yeah, frankly, I don't know why you couldn't do magic as a ghost who had a foothold in the real world. And now that you're on another plane of existence, why would it suddenly be back? Bonnie's like, your pancakes used to suck, but in the months we've been here, you've vastly improved, so never say never. And I'm like, okay.
That's funny.
But she also makes it clear she still believes someone is here. And Damon's like, listen, Bonnie, my theory is that you somehow completed the crossword without knowing it. And she's like, how? Explain for 5 marks. And he's like, well, you talk in your sleep without knowing it. So 5 plus 8 equals 162.
I was going to say, did she sleep solve the crossword?
That's what she asked. She's like, you think I was sleep crossword?
Okay.
Damon is like, well, that's more believable than somebody else being here but not having shown up all this time. And I'm like, is it? I don't know that it
Yeah.
is.
That's a bit silly.
She then notices that one of the shelves is missing a packet of pork rinds that were there the day before and every other day for the past 4 months. And she's like, well, if I don't eat pork rinds and you didn't eat the pork rinds... And then they hear music from outside because a carousel outside the shop has gone off. They start to investigate the machinery, and Damon asks, why are you so determined to be hopeful? Bonnie says, well, you are convinced this is your personal hell, and I'm just along for the ride. But if someone else is here, and has been here since before we got here, then it can't be your hell. And if it's not your hell, then my Grams did indeed send us here, and she wouldn't have sent us here without a way out. Damon claims that this is a complicated logic knot that she's twisted herself into, and I'm like, not really, actually.
It makes more sense than anything he's said so far.
Then they discover that Damon's car from 1994 is in the parking lot. Then they think they spot someone flitting around in the distance. So they go see who it is, but it appears to just be a tarp on a car blowing in the wind. Then the carousel switches on again by itself, but this time in full view of them so they can see no one was there. And Damon's like, you see, it's clearly on a timer. Then Damon goes inside to get some booze, and he meets a young man named Kai lounging on a chair, eating pork rinds. Kai reveals that he has been creepily spying on Damon and Bonnie for months. He already knows a lot about them and their habits. And Damon's like, cool, okay, I'm gonna threaten you with bodily harm if you don't give me some answers. And Kai is like, sorry, my social skills have gone by the wayside. I've been here so long. And he watches as Damon takes a swig of bourbon, and then the bourbon burns him because Kai has spiked it with vervain.
Yeah.
Damon tries to fight back, but Kai smashes more bottles, revealing that he spiked them all with vervain because he didn't know which one Damon would pick.
Pretty smart.
Kai then prepares to stake Damon, and Bonnie shows up and is like, step away from him. Then Kai snarkily says, the useless one to Bonnie.
Oh.
And I'm like, how dare you?
Opening volley.
And he basically says he's watched her try and fail to do magic for months now. And he's like, what are you going to do? Fail at me? I'm embarrassed for you. And then Bonnie looks at a candle on the shelf and finally manages to access her power by making it ignite. And then Bonnie's like, Damon, move. And he vamp speeds away, and she casts a spell to ignite the ground around Kai and make it burst into flames. I like to believe she was transmuting the spilled vervain bourbon into fire because that's her thing.
That's
she
her
loves
thing,
transforming
as we
fluid
know.
into fire. She's like, my magic is back. The first spell I'm doing is lighting a candle. The second spell I'm doing is transmuting a liquid into flame. And then Kai is like, no, I surrender. And Bonnie goes, oh, giving up so soon? I'm embarrassed for you. And I was like, okay, she likes throwing people's lines back at them, Miss Bygones.
And she's good at it too.
That night, Bonnie and Damon have Kai tied up at Chez Salvatore, and they question him. And he's like, no, I actually did all of this to motivate Bonnie to access her magic again. He knew, despite storming off today, that Bonnie would come back to Damon, because she always comes back after her arguments with Damon. And I'm like, it's so creepy that you've been watching them, but how has Damon never heard you with his super hearing?
That's what I'm
saying. That doesn't make
saying.
any sense. He says, you know what, I was actually a bit concerned that Bonnie's level of care for you, Damon, wouldn't be enough to motivate her. But I guess your constant animosity is just how you guys show affection for one another. And then he tells Bonnie that he needed her to get her magic back because her magic is the key to getting them out of here. Into the next episode, Black Hole Sun. Far too much of this episode is spent indulging Damon in his theory that this is his personal hell, which
Certainly.
Unfortunately Kai has heard. So he's like, oh, indulge me. I want to know, why do you think this is your personal hell? Because I'm not going to tell you how we can all get out of here until you satisfy my curiosity. The main part that is relevant for Bonnie is that Kai reveals what we need to get out of here is an ascendant that belonged to my family all the way up in Oregon. Bonnie, I'm gonna need you to do a locator spell on it using my blood. Then we find it, Bonnie does the magical spell, and we all go home. She does the locator spell, then finds out that no, this little ascendant thingy is actually in Kai's pocket.
Right.
There's a weird level of flirtatious energy that Kai gives when he speaks to her. Like, he's all up in her personal space.
Yep.
And Damon, bless his heart, is like, okay, back away from her. But I can't help but think to myself, is this the seed in the Bonkai shippers' minds?
I guess so. Yeah.
The fact that he's flirty?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but...
I mean, as you said to me, that's all it takes.
Wild.
Yeah,
That's
and I will
insane.
say this sort of aspect of Damon standing up for Bonnie, largely because in this episode, Bonnie's like, it's okay, Damon, that that you did kill that pregnant woman in 94, but it's fine because Elena forgave you. And it's like, wow, what a far cry from end of season 1 Bonnie, who said, your Damon Salvatore is the main problem, and I've got my eyes out. But hey, what are you gonna do?
Kai's like, cool, I was just testing you. I just wanted to know that your magic was accurate, and it is. And I'm like, this boy is playing games. This boy is unserious. Bonnie already seems tired, but Damon is now just like, cool, I just want to go home. I want to get back to Elena. Bonnie starts to be like, I don't know, something about this boy seems a little off, Damon, don't you think? As they're walking, Bonnie is still holding her favorite newspaper, and she's like, wait, I think I saw something in the newspaper about Oregon. Here's a story about a family that was massacred by one of the siblings. And Kai mentioned he was from Oregon and had a bunch of siblings. And Kai's like, tee-hee, yes, it was me, Barry. This starts Bonnie off on this mindset of, yeah, I don't think that I'm comfortable unleashing this boy into the world.
Very fair.
Like, this doesn't feel like something that's okay. And of course, Damon being Damon, the same Damon who was like, we can kill Tyler Lockwood if it means getting rid of Cloud.
Right. He's like, what's a few more massacres if I can get back to Elena? I don't care.
I think he literally says that's not our problem.
There you go.
So what they need to do is they need Bonnie to cast a spell that Kai has promised he will tell her during an eclipse, the celestial event, fueling the magic, using the Ascendant, and then she'll be able to just bop them all back home, I guess. However, Bonnie, I think at this point makes it clear that she's like, no, I don't think I'm going to do this. Sorry, Damon, I'm not bringing this boy back. And then Kai says, well, actually, I'm not completely powerless. I do have some magic. I am a twisted abomination, which will later be clarified as being called a siphon, who is able to suck magic out of pre-existing hotspots of magic, including people like witches. So you can either get us out of here, Bonnie, and we all go home together, or I suck your magic out of you until you die and I go home on my own. And that's where they end the episode, and I'm like, but that threat doesn't make sense. Already that threat doesn't make sense. Because if you could do that, why are you asking her to help you
Why
in the
wouldn't
first
you have
place?
done it now? And I mean, that does get answered, I suppose.
But it's weird that it takes Bonnie the whole of the next episode to figure that out.
Listen, bless her. She's in a tense situation.
I think the next episode is just Kai being like, yay, we're going home today. He asks Damon to dig a tunnel underground because they need the light of the eclipse to shine down into the caves. He's like, cool, Bonnie, you'll just save a spell and we'll go home. And then Bonnie's like, okay, what is the spell? And he's like, no spoilers. I'll tell you when the time is right. And the whole day, Bonnie is warning Damon that I don't think we can trust this man, but Damon is blinded by his desire to go home. And eventually Kai's like, cool, I've got all my 90s trinkets. I'm ready to go. And Bonnie's like, no, I'm not doing this unless you give me the spell. And then he's like, okay, cool. Then I guess we're just standing here and we're not leaving. And then Bonnie's like, well, no, I'm also adamant. And in fact, I'm going to call your bluff. Take my magic. Like you said you would. Go ahead. Suck it out of me so that I die. Let's see. And then he's like, okay. And he starts siphoning it out of her. And then he stops. And she's like, you don't know the spell. You're not going to be able to do this by yourself. You actually need me. And then she says, Motus, and makes a pickaxe fly into his chest.
Hell yes. About damn time. Because a number of times now he has been siphoning Bonnie just to like remind her who's in charge and like put her in her place. And it's like, no, actually, here I am.
And much
now
like,
that I realize I don't need you.
Much like the touch of Rogue from X-Men, it's clearly an uncomfortable
It is
experience
painful,
for her.
yes.
Yeah, I love it. She motises a pickaxe into his chest. He falls on the ground dead. And Damon's like, Bonnie, no! What if he was our only way out of here? We don't know the spell either. And Bonnie's like, I think that the reason that Grams made a deal to send me here is actually connected to the reason why Kai wanted me to do this spell in the first place. I think a Bennett witch helped put him here. And as a Bennett witch, I'm the only one who can undo the spell from this side and send us all home. She does an incantation, the Ascendant opens, and she's like, aha, that's why he didn't kill me, because he needs me.
Sanjir Mayerma.
So they go underground, they go spelunking into the cave, and they start to do the spell. And Damon is like, I'm sure there's a billion other people you'd rather be here with in this moment before we go home. And I'm like, throwback. And Bonnie's like, no, actually, not really. I am happy to be here with. Then Kai shows up with a freaking crossbow and just...
Insult, actually.
My
given the
name is
crossbow
Oliver Queen.
Jeremy's weapon. How very rude.
I had forgotten. He shoots her so hard in the stomach that she's sent flying back.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, how powerful is a crossbow shot? Damn.
I assumed it was magically infused. I don't know. He put a little modus into that arrow. This man does so much violence to her. It's crazy. And it baffles me. That's why it baffles me so to hear that people are like, and that's her. That's her man right there. Mm-hmm. But I guess...
She is stabbed with the arrow. Damon wants to defend her, and he's like, no, Damon. If you attack me, the next arrow will go into her heart. And I'm like, but Damon has super speed.
I don't... God.
And Damon does vamp speed. He vamp speeds to Bonnie to try and help her. Don't know why he doesn't immediately feed her his blood. He wastes way too much time. Kai then goes for the Ascendant that Bonnie has dropped. And Bonnie's like, no, Damon, get the Ascendant. Kai is too dangerous to be allowed to escape. I guess at this point, the spell is done and therefore he can just go home now.
Yeah.
So then he and Damon get into a scuffle. Bonnie is bleeding out on the floor. And then the spirit of self-sacrifice comes to possess her once again. Like it always does. God. You hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
And she's like, Damon, it's too late for me, but it's not too late for you. And I'm like,
is it?
Bonnie, you are conscious and alive. You survived worse than this. Damon has healing blood. You've got like 3 friends on the other side with healing blood. I don't think it's too late for you, actually.
Right.
If we're being honest.
Goodness.
She magically yeets Damon towards the spot that he needs to stand on with the Ascendant. He is bopped back home. The Ascendant falls on the ground and shatters to pieces. And Kai is like, no, my one way out of here, ruined. And then I guess she loses consciousness from lack of blood.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yep.
I enjoy the Bonnie and Kai dynamic as people who will be enemies and rivals this season, not lovers.
For sure.
I hate that even from the get-go, it is overshadowed by the Damon of it all.
Oh, yeah.
And not Damon as relates to like Damon and Bonnie's budding friendship. That I'm fine with. It's about as believable as everything else Damon is allowed to do in this show.
Yeah.
In terms of his relationships with these people. I hate that in this era, it's like, Elena, the Delena of it all, the end game. Bonnie's like, my beloved friend Elena, who needs her true love back with her. There's no point in me letting Damon stay here, and then my possibly mortally wounded ass goes back, and then I die anyway. I've got to send Damon back to her, because that's how much Elena matters to me. And I'm like, what about you? What about Jeremy?
What about her? What about Jeremy? God,
it's so
crazy.
annoying. It's so unfair.
Truly, this arc had nothing to do with her. It had all to do with introducing Kai and with scaffolding Damon and his deep desire to fulfill that Delena prophecy that was foretold. Like, I don't super... What about Bonnie happened in this arc? Not a lot. She got her powers back. Love that.
Yeah, I guess that's it. She's lying, bleeding on the floor. And as often happens when Bonnie either loses someone or is horribly injured in some way, we skip an episode.
Yep. Because Damon's not there anymore. Why do we need to be there?
Damon gets to go home. In episode 6, I think he lies and says, oh, Bonnie wasn't there. I was sent to the prison world. Bonnie found peace. Again, it's like, this lie to spare everyone's feelings. And I'm like, I guess you took her at her word when she said she wasn't going to make it. But I'm like, but Damon,
I don't care.
She survived so much. What if you left her there with the psycho?
He was perfectly fine with that. He was like, well.
Do you remember the first time? Here we are. This is the episode. Well, it's the first of a few in which Bonnie wakes up and finds that she has been bandaged up by Kai, who's like, hi, so you betrayed me, but it's okay. And she's like, you shot me with an arrow. And he's like, yeah, well, anywho, you broke the Ascendant, but the eclipse is happening at 12:28. We're going to put it together. I know you're a puzzle person because of all the crosswords. Do you want to help me? And she's like, no, I don't want to help. You're cray-cray. This place is your prison, and I'm not letting you out. Besides, you'll just kill me the minute we get out anyway. And Kai's like, listen, you've been through a trauma. Your memory's probably a little fuzzy right now. You're not thinking clearly. You probably think that your magic can protect you from me. But remember that all I have to do is hold your hand like so, and suddenly your magic becomes mine. And he starts to siphon her. Bonnie's like, ow, ow. And he's like, oh, what was that? Huh? Or you're going to do the spell and finally get us home? Yay! And then she grabs a pen and stabs him in the neck.
Right.
I should point out that Kai, lucky Kai, given advantages Bonnie never had when she was a ghost or on another plane of existence or on 2 planes of existence, Kai is effectively immortal in this prison world.
He can't die.
That's why the Motus pickaxe didn't kill him.
Right.
He does point out in that episode. So even if her jamming a pen in his neck was fatal, he's obviously going to come back. But he goes down for a moment. She quickly scoops up the the fragments of the Ascendant, and she manages to run away. She is limping because, again, she was shot with an arrow in the abdomen. And then she has to go find her way to a hospital. The mundane thing that she now has to do. We're so used to like spells and vampire blood fixing everything. And I was like, she needs to go get bandages. She looks for antibiotics and painkillers. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's giving horror movie.
Right.
She's like, okay, I can put this together. And she starts the arduous task of putting together the Ascendant on her own. At a certain point, she realizes that, oh no, I didn't grab all the pieces.
Yeah.
I'm missing one. Kai must have it. Kai himself shows up at the hospital. Very creepy, very serial killer versus Final Girl vibes. And he's like, looking for this? You weren't planning on leaving me behind, were you, Bonnie? Anyway, I followed your trail of blood up the driveway. I figured you would come here and stitch yourself up. She attacks him with magic and tries to run away. She finds Damon's car and gets in. The key is in the ignition because it's America, I guess.
Yeah, in the 90s, I suppose.
And she tries to start the car, and then it doesn't work. Kai Parker, like some kind of Mike Myers, Jason Voorhees character, is suddenly in the backseat of the car right behind her, and it's like, huh? How did you get here?
Lord
and grabs
knows.
her from behind. And in a moment that I guess the Bonkai shippers think is intimate, he's holding her from behind, is creepily close to her ear, and he's like, thought about taking the keys, but that would be like taking cheese out of a mousetrap. And I'm like, okay, so it was a trap, I guess. But I have to assume the keys were already in the car. You didn't like find them elsewhere at Damon's house and then bring them here. But again, I'm like, this is framed to be like creepy. He's all up in her space. It's giving serial killer vibes. But somehow people are like, but he's hot though.
Yeah,
and
that's not stopped
hot.
anybody before.
So, like, I'm getting Zatara vibes. I'm like, Zatara wasn't real either. So, let's start there.
In the horror movie, at least, it's so far removed from reality. Because certainly there are people who are, like, into the idea of, like, horror movie villain as this object of sexual desire. But you don't really ever see someone shipping like the final girl with the horror movie character. It's like the horror movie character for me. I'm into that. And I think there's an aspect of that makes sense because the horror movie character is so far removed from reality. As you say, Mike Myers, Jason Voorhees, these are characters that may have been human initially, but are like now this grotesque, like far from living thing. This sleep demon. This like...
Weirdly, Mike Myers is canonically human, even though he does ridiculously inhuman things. But yes, I get your point.
Fascinating. But like, Mike Myers isn't a person. He's a cloaked, like, figure. Pyramid Head from, I think it's Silent Hill, who is just like...
His name is Pyramid Head?
His name is Pyramid Head because he has a giant...
Oh, I should say it. I called him Mike Myers. It's Michael Myers. Sorry, Mike Myers, the actor. I meant Michael Myers.
What's the difference? He knows the score. He's had about 40 years of this. He's fine. But yeah, Pyramid Head is just like a 6'5" beefcake with a metal pyramid for a head. It's like, that's not a person, right? That's not a guy. Kai is a 22-year-old, like... man. That's a 22-year-old white man who's terrorizing this girl because he's trying to do more massacres in the real world. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying that, like, this makes so little sense to me that someone saw this and was like, yes.
Yeah. And the reason that he's so glib and flirty and jokey about it all is that's just his personality. He also flirts with Elena at a certain point when he's torturing her later on.
It's not
like,
real.
He's like, sorry, I'm nervous. You're just really pretty.
And I guess, once again, in that respect, like, if you engage with it, looking at Kai as this figure, as this not real person, and you go, I'm into that, by all means, I won't yuck your yum. But for Bonnie Sheila Bennett... get out of my face.
Of all people. So anyway, they go down to the underground Eclipse Cave, and Kai is like, hey, Bonnie, I brought you a present. Again, Bonkai shippers are like, look, he brought her a present. But the present that Kai brings Bonnie is Miss Cuddles, her teddy bear. He's like, I thought you might want to bring her along. And he says, listen, Bonnie, I know you think I'm a monster because, you know, of the whole family massacre thing. But after a long period of self-reflection, I've come to the conclusion I could have handled my anger better. And then Bonnie's like... okay, you said when you got out of here, you were going to go kill your Gemini coven. And Kai's like, no, I didn't mean that. I would do anything to get my family back. It's just the thing I'm most scared of is trying to figure out how to live in the world again. Aww. And, you know, I'm sort of hoping that you've been a positive influence on me. You're a good person, Bonnie. You're brave, loyal, patient. I want to be more like you. And I'm like, did someone watch this and think, oh my gosh, it's that thing of when she fixes him.
Everyone thinks he's being so serious. Oh my god.
And Bonnie's like, okay, let's just go home. So he takes out the Ascendant and he's like, okay, here, do your thing. She cuts her hand and drips blood into the Ascendant. Did she do that last time? Because I feel as though I missed that.
I don't
The first time
remember.
she did it.
But I have to imagine so, because the Bennett blood is required to do the spell.
Ah, I see. So she starts to do it, and then Kai's like, grabs her arm, and he's like, just in case you try to ditch me. And as she chants, Miss Cuddles is in Kai's bag, like on the floor at her feet, and she just slowly like inches her foot towards it and makes contact with it. And then at the last minute, much like Twitches, she substitutes in a line at the end of the spell, like Twitches 2. There's like a whoosh, and Kai's like, wait, what's happening? And Bonnie's like, I don't know. And he's like, no, keep going, hurry. The clip is going to end. And she's like, I can't. And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, I've lost my magic, Kai. Oh no. And he tries to siphon it out of her, and there's nothing there. And he's like, what did you do? And she's like, oh wow, I wonder if I accidentally put it somewhere. Oh, yes, I did. I put it somewhere safe. And Kai's like, what did you do with your magic, Bonnie? And she says, well, remember how you said you wanted to be more like me, brave, loyal, patient? Maybe you should just calm yourself for a second. And he's like, no, I'm not stupid. You put it in the bear, didn't you? And then he looks for the bear, but the bear is gone. She put it in the bear, and I guess with the last drop of magic, sent it through the portal instead of sending one of them through.
Well, as we established,
not sure how that works.
As we established, she did the spell and the way was open. And I think then she dumped her magic in the bear and knocked it through.
And the gate closes behind you immediately.
The gate
As soon
closes
as an
right
object passes
behind
through it,
the
it
bear,
closes.
this inanimate object. Well, because the magic was in it, it registered it as a witch.
As a Bennett witch passing through.
Behind it.
Genius. Kaya's like, the bear is gone. And Bonnie's like, oh, well, guess we're stuck here forever.
Now, as far as plans go to foil the villain's schemes, was this the best one? Is this the only way it could have ended? And I mean, okay, sure. I don't think it's the worst plan anyone's come up with in this show, but I'm just like, she couldn't have just modused him and then gone?
He was holding onto her arm, I guess.
And?
But I'm like, Bonnie, he's got a mortal
Aneurysm
body. Do the aneurysm spell on him.
Blast through his chest. He won't die. Do something. I don't
Or
know.
return that flirtatious energy and give him the knockout kiss that you gave Jeremy at the end of
Thank you
season
very
2.
much. There's so many things Bonnie has done to incapacitate vampires, let alone a mortal man. It really feels odd to be like the only way out of this was for her to lose her powers. And you know what? That shouldn't surprise me, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. What, she gets them back in episode 2, and now it's episode 7, and she's lost them again.
She had them for 5 episodes max. 4, because she wasn't in the last one.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus Christ.
So the next episode, episode 8, Fade Into You, is the Thanksgiving one. Kai somehow takes her locked in a trunk and passed out all the way to Oregon. He claims he flew them there while she was
Okay.
asleep.
Okay.
I think he's joking.
That's a funny thought, though.
He's like, oh, we were on a private flight piloted by me. You would have been impressed with my flying skills, but I'd knocked you out with painkillers. And I'm like, that can't be true.
That can't possibly be true.
Although I guess maybe he told himself to fly while he was here, because if you crash the plane but you can't die in this world, I guess you're fine.
He has been here for like, what, 20 years almost?
20 years.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's like, here we are in Portland, Oregon. And then Bonnie's like, ugh, you brought me to Portland? And I'm like, all right,
Okay.
what's that for? Calm down. This is where my good friend, I've forgotten his name. What's the Grimm's name?
Oh, Nick Burkhart?
There we go.
My
good friend,
king.
Officer Nick, lives here, along with his besties, Adeline Shade.
Shade is not his bestie, thank you very much.
But Kai's like, I brought you here to my family home. It's Thanksgiving and I'm cooking you dinner. And again, I'm like, yay, Bong Kai ship confirmed. Meanwhile, back in the real world, Damon had found Bonnie's bear at the end of the last episode. So now he's had to confess to Elena and co that actually Bonnie's alive. I lied. She's in the prison world. I guess now we have to try and get her out.
Right.
Kai spends the episode lamenting his childhood and his upbringing. Go back to the Kai episode to listen to all that. He's trying to get Bonnie's sympathy points. She is very uninterested. And she's like, listen, I get that you think that this whole, I'm being quippy and jokey thing is charming. I think that since we're both going to be here forever, we should just split the world in two and go our separate ways.
Real.
Which is such a funny thing to
So funny to be like, we have an entire planet. I never need to see you again.
Kaya's like, listen, I get it. I knocked you out, kidnapped you. I'm trying to apologize. And she's like, I will never trust you or like you or enjoy your company for as much as 1 second. So quit trying. Just let me leave here unharmed. And I'm like, you see that, guys? That's a person saying, I don't like you and I never will. That's not enemies to lovers starting off. And then Kaya's like, fine, we'll have one last dinner and then we'll go our separate ways and I'll be alone forever. So he cooks her dinner, they sit down, he takes his sweet time finishing the last bite, and she calls him out on it. She's like, you've been eating that piece for 45 minutes. He's like, well, I'm savoring our last conversation, before I spend eternity alone. And then she's like, okay, listen, give me your car keys, I want to go. And he's like, there's one more thing. And she's like, no, you murdered your siblings and you were imprisoned here. Like, there's nothing that I want to say. He's like, no, actually, more sob story time, where my father never liked me, my family tricked me into thinking that they were going to give me the thing I always wanted, to do the merge with my twin sister Jo, and then they imprisoned me here with the help of a Bennett witch. I think it was Sheila herself.
I believe so. Time-wise, that's something that makes the most sense.
I guess Sheila was like, it's not vampire business, so I can get involved.
But I'm like, how did she get involved? They never really explained that. She's not there for the ceremony.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they were like, as a failsafe to make sure no one in our coven ever tries to bring him back, we're going to say an outsider seals the spell. That certainly makes
sense. It's just, I was like, cast a young Sheila Bennett. I don't know. Show her in the room where it happened.
I almost said Jasmine again.
Guy.
Cast Jasmine Guy, who's very young.
And can play this.
Part of the story is like Kai's like, Jo, my sister, hid her magic inside a hunting knife and then put it inside this tree stump. And then he digs around inside the tree stump, the version of it that exists in the prison world, and then pulls out the knife. And I'm like, so if you put magic in an object in 1994, when everything was duplicated in this world, the magic will also be there. And I'm like, okay, this is an interesting world. It can do all this, but it can't replicate food every day?
Yep. Well, again, This is the new version. The prototype can't do that. And certainly in the prototype, do we hear of any magical things that are duplicated? Well, nobody goes back to that one, I guess. So I guess nobody's checked. That'd be curious.
Yeah. But then Kai's like, I'm going to suck the magic out of this hunting knife that's just been sitting here all along. I don't know why he only thought of this now, because it's not like he was given new information. I think he says he was inspired by...
he was reminded by Bonnie putting her magic in the teddy bear, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, oh, now I know what my sister did. At the time, I didn't know how her magic had disappeared. Bonnie's like, okay, well, you have magic again, good for you. And he's like, and I have the Ascendant. Ha 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 ha, and I fixed it. And she's like, well, you need a Bennett witch to do the spell, and I'm not doing that for you. And then he's like, actually, you think... I don't think I need a witch to do the spell. I think I just needed Bennett blood. And then he stabs her with the knife to get her blood, and she falls to the ground unconscious. And when she wakes up again, he's gone.
He's gone.
He has ditched her all alone in Portland, Oregon, and I assume has gone back to Mystic Falls to do the spell in the cave.
Yes.
He leaves her a message on his pager, which reads, I lied.
It's such a cruel thing to do. Knowing that this prison world was made for you, knowing what a suffering it was for the past 18 years that you've been here, and to leave her here after how much violence you've done to this girl. But Kai wouldn't care, because that's not something Kai can care about intrinsically. So it's like... And that makes it worse even. Ugh.
In the next episode, apparently, I guess because Elena was doing Thanksgiving in the former episode, it takes her until this episode to go to Jeremy and be like, hey, so you know the girlfriend you lost? Because she can see that Jeremy is like doing better now. And he's like, listen, I canceled Bonnie's cell phone, so there's no more listening to the voicemail. And then I cried and cried until there was nothing left. And I got all the grief out of my system and I'm ready to move on. And Elena's like, cool. Okay, so actually Bonnie's alive. She is in the prison world. We're working on a way to get her back. And Jeremy's like, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. What happens if you can't? And she's like, Jeremy, don't be dejected. This is good news. He's like, yes, Elena, this is good news. Tonight, I'm going to see Bonnie again. And everything's going to go back to the way it was before. Because I've never heard that before. And I'm like, yeah, we did spend all of last season trying and failing to get her back permanently.
He's seen this film before. Yeah, this is when they get Liv to drop them into the prison world. Elena and Damon.
Her two favorite people into the prison world. I guess they call her? How did they call her?
They paged Kai's pager and left the Salvatore house's number on it. I guess hoping that Kai had left it with Bonnie, I guess, or wherever Kai had left it behind, she would have it.
Okay.
Which he did, so, that was lucky.
But she explains to them that, Kai has my blood and magic and the Ascendant.
Yeah.
And has left me here. She says she hotwired a car. So
We're all developing skills in this prison world. Liv is maintaining this spell. She's not actively doing it because Liv's a fairly accomplished witch. She's like bartending while she's keeping the spell going in the background. And this is when Kai attacks her at the bar. This is the first time he's seeing her since she was like 4 years old. And he siphons her on her magic and they get into a witch fight and she just manages to escape with her life. And Tyler takes Liv back to Mystic Falls, where the anti-magic bubble is up so that she'll be safe from Kai. And that's what cuts the spell off. Elena and Damon get shunted back into the real world.
And I guess that's when Bonnie shows up, like at the 13th hour. What's the opposite
Truly.
of the 11th hour?
It's the 13th hour. Just too late.
And in a way, she's the inverse of what usually happens. Instead of someone who was like, well, not the inverse, she's the opposite of someone who leaves Mystic Falls just too late and then ends up being killed or something terrible happens. She comes back just too late and it's like, oh no.
And it's this
My
awful thing that, like, they had been planning. They were like, we've got 7 hours until the spell ends. And Bonnie's like, I think I can get back to Mystic Falls in 6.5. And she's on time. It's just that the spell gets interrupted before she can get to them. It's so
Bonnie.
sad.
And so I guess once again it's like, hey, Jeremy, we failed.
The moment when she gets back to the house and they're not there, you can see the sense of like she's about to break down in tears, but she just has to smile and just like shake her head to herself, just be like, no, it's fine. Everything's okay. It's so heartbreaking.
And I'm like, it's not fine, Bonnie. I would have fallen to my knees like Gina Rodriguez.
Yeah.
In the next episode, it's the Christmas episode. Bonnie has Christmas alone and reminisces about happier times. I think they put her in a different wig to show that it was way back when.
She has a different hairstyle to show time has passed.
Is this the episode where she decides to give up on life?
No,
or is it
it's
the one after that?
The next one or the one after that. It's not Christmas.
Gosh, so how long is she here?
Jeez,
Depowered?
that's what I'm saying. When we did the Damon episode, it made me realize how long Bonnie is here by herself. All in all, Damon didn't really go through anything in that prison world except be away from Elena for a couple months. He didn't even have the grief of that Elena had of like she thinks Damon's dead. He knew Elena was alive. It's just that he didn't know if there was a way back to her. Bonnie found a way back to her for him and sent him back. Damon didn't suffer anything beyond a little bit of a vein burn, you know? And Bonnie suffers so much because of Kai, and then Kai abandons her in the prison world, and she's in there for months by herself. It's awful.
She has to cut down her own Christmas tree, drag it into the house, hang up decorations all on her own.
They keep cutting back between her doing Christmas in the prison world while all her friends are doing Christmas in the real world. I hate it.
There's then that scene that like splits or like bounces back and forth between her and Jeremy, where Jeremy's like, oh, we miss you, Bonnie, in the real world. And in the prison world, she's like, I miss you guys. And I just have a bone to pick with the writers of this season because they continue to pull this Jeremy and Bonnie thread while she's in the prison world.
Knowing what they were gonna do. Oh, that's so true, actually.
It's actually very wicked.
It's sinister and it's
You have a
dark-sided.
sinister soul, whoever you are. As usual, when something traumatic has happened, Bonnie is then absent.
Right.
Yeah, actually, she's absent for 2 episodes. She's not in 11 or 12. She comes back, I guess, in episode 13, The Day I Tried to Live.
That's
I think
the
this
episode.
is the one.
Yeah.
Where she decides, I'm actually depressed and I don't want to do this anymore. And she decides, yeah, I think I'm gonna go lock myself in the garage.
Oh my God.
Switch on the car and just carbon monoxide myself to death.
It's so... I don't know what there is even to say about it. I mean, it's... At the very least, this arc, this Bonnie alone arc where she's trapped in a prison world for so long and so dejected and depressed that she decides to kill herself, is at least well done, like in terms of cinematography and fully Cat Graham's acting. It just sucks so bad.
It sucks so bad. She's put through the ringer and put through trauma in a way that many other characters don't. Like I guess Stefan drowning alone for 3 months is the closest we get to this kind of traumatic experience.
Stefan's always going to be the second one in terms of characters who just seem to have to suffer or never get a chance to be happy. It's Bonnie by a mile, and then it's Stefan.
Stefan was like a far second. He was like way behind her, but then he
Kept
quickly
catching
accelerates
up.
to a close second in the finale when he then dies to save everyone.
That final season, he's sprinting to catch up with her.
And he's like, just missed it. Photo finish. I almost had her.
I almost had you, buddy.
Jeremy is the one who is now astral project into the prison world. Kai sends him and Damon there.
At this point, Kai is merged with Luke and Luke died, so Liv is here for revenge and a witch fight goes on. Kai is stabbed grievously and Damon and Jeremy are yanked out. They fend off Liv. Kai is like, I'm too weak to send y'all both back. Jeremy's like, just send me back. So he sends Jeremy back and he tries to be corporeal, but it's difficult.
Not as easy as it looks, Anna says.
Right.
From Peace.
Right.
Bet you wish you had an original witch helping you, Vicky says from hell.
Talk about darkness. Maybe you were just jealous, huh? That Vicky could do some shit. I don't know.
But this episode also has scenes where Bonnie is like watching these like fun videotapings that she and Damon had been doing. And it was like, oh, look, they bonded. They're friends now.
I'm
sure,
still holding
whatever.
my tongue.
But yeah, they're like, oh no, Bonnie's giving up. We can see her giving up, but we can't stop her. We have to get through to her somehow.
It's all last day shit. She's like packing up the clothes. She's giving away her possessions, telling people, you know, you were always a good friend to me, except there's nobody here, so she can't do that.
Making her own video diary. Eventually, he's able to get that, what is it, the map?
Yes, he gets an atlas open.
Yes, an atlas, which is like, hey, look here, off the coast of Nova Scotia.
Oh my god. It's so insane that this comes back. It's like, yeah, it works, but at what cost, you know? It's just like, okay.
When I first watched this and I was like, oh, okay, so this is what we're doing. We're going to say that, okay, the way to help Bonnie is to tell her to go to the island off the coast of Nova Scotia, the Silas Island, climb down into the tomb that we had to spelunk with Professor Atticus Shane, find your way into Silas, wait, what was she doing there? Wait, no, actually, now that we're on it.
Hold on.
Wait,
no, okay.
Because Ketsia's tombstone wasn't in the tomb.
But it might have been because, where did Shane get it?
Didn't Shane already have it, and then he gave it to the indigenous person on the island as payment?
Right, but
and
Shane's
then Catherine killed the man and took it.
But Shane's been to the island before, so it's not impossible that that's where he got it.
Okay, my question then becomes, was Ketsia's headstone in Silas's crypt? Because you can only access Silas's crypt by doing the expression magic as a Bennett witch.
So that is
to
the
open the
ultimate
tunnel.
question. Why would it be outside the crypt? Yeah, that's curious. I mean, my question always remains, why is it in Nova Scotia when they're from ancient Greece? So none of this really means anything at the end of the day.
Bonnie eventually decides not to suicide herself. She's like, oh no, my Grams, if she could see me now, she would be so annoyed at me. No, I actually don't want to die. And then it's the struggle of she's changed her mind at the last moment, but is severely deoxygenated, suffering from hypoxia, and must now struggle to get this garage door open. And it's very tense. I think that she eventually gets it open as Jeremy arrives.
I think Jeremy's there like shouting at her from like the unseen and unheard.
Yeah, he can't touch anything. And he's like, come on, buddy, get up, get up. And she's like, no, I'm crawling towards the thing. And she's like, I gotta stay strong. I'm not gonna die in this place. And I guess it's the thing of stay strong that sticks with her, I guess, because also at the beginning of the season, she mentioned that, oh, my Gram said stay strong was the last thing she said to me. I think that was a clue that I'm the key to getting us out of here. And later on, when she's in this episode giving her goodbye to Jeremy in the video diary, she's like, stay strong, Jeremy. And she's like, stay strong, Grandma?
I feel it through the
and she's
ether.
like, no, I must be strong.
Right. And I just like to say, I doubt this was the intention of the story, but I just like to say, people who have died by suicide, people who have attempted suicide, you are no weaker for having done that. I just that's just an ideal in general I like to reject. So I just wanted to put that out there.
And then to end the episode on a bad note, when Bonnie does eventually find the note, she has no idea that it's Jeremy who's dropped it off because Damon made the note, and I guess she knows his handwriting. And she's like, Nova Scotia, Damon, you're a genius.
All the stolen valor this man gets away with. And Jeremy's not even going to be there to correct the story. Oh, I hate it. It's fine.
I was not pleased.
It's fine.
I was strung along. I was deceived.
It's really so crazy that the episode after this is the episode where Jeremy leaves the
episode
show.
14, Stay, where Jeremy leaves the show. Elena's again on her mission of, yes, go live your life, Jeremy. We are going to get Bonnie back, you know, the girl you're in love with, but you don't need to be here. When we get her back, we'll send her your way.
It's so crazy.
And it's like, what? And Jeremy's last words to Alaric, because obviously it's a secret between the two of them that he's actually going off to be a hunter, not going to art school like Elena and everyone else thinks. But his last words to Alaric are, yeah, if Bonnie ever does come back, and Alaric's like, yeah, you'll be the first person I call. And I'm like, I can't believe you would leave.
After all this.
I don't see you being as devoted to this girl, knowing she's alive, having almost watched her die by suicide, and then survive that and be like, yeah, I'm going to go off and hunt vampires. I guess, I'll see you when I see you. I'm like, what?
It makes no sense. And the thing is, and again, I'm putting my tinfoil hat on here, because when Bonnie gets out of the prison world, who in a world where all the characters in the show were still present would be the one right next to Bonnie helping her through it?
I see.
And if he's not there, who do we have the space to pretend is someone helping her through it?
You know what? I don't think your hat is made of tinfoil. I think it's a graduation hat, actually. Cap and gown. Summa cum laude.
My PhD in script doctoring. Thank you very much.
But that's it. Jeremy leaves the show, and I'll get to it when we get to Bonnie, as we're going to. But that's the last we will see of Jeremy Gilbert. Into episode 15, Bonnie is now ready to come back. She's making a new video diary. She's like, it's day 278 inside this stupid prison world. I have 2 broken toes, 9 blisters, and an ear infection, but I don't care. And I was like, oh no.
God, even in your victory moment, suffering.
And she says this line that I'm like, it sounds like you and I wrote it. She says, I fesmados the crap out of this magic Canadian rock.
Yes. Love that for her.
Fesmados as a verb is crazy. But also, I'm like, Bonnie, that rock is not Canadian. It's from ancient traveler Greece.
Thank you very much.
/ Egypt.
Thank you very much. Kefalunia.
And she's like, I have my magic again. And I'm like, I love that Ketsia's calcified blood inside the stone could just give you magic. That's not something that the story has established. But also the idea that witches can just take magic out of themselves, that it can be taken by someone else, is also a brand new concept for this season.
So they did establish this
Sure.
in season 4 towards the end, because that was what she used to channel, to drop the veil within the expression triangle.
But that's like as a magical object, not as like, I can use this to give myself the power to be a spellcaster.
That's
again,
fair.
That I've given up. And I'm like,
That's very fair.
She's like, I'm going home when the eclipse hits. And it's like, okay, cool, yeah. I'm hoping nothing gets in her way this time.
Who should come knocking but a tear in reality itself? Trying to
And
keep
at this point, if I were Bonnie, I'd be like, I don't know what Bonnie's religious beliefs are. Maybe she's just comfortably agnostic like a lot of Western characters. If I were her, I'd be like, actually, I do believe in God. And clearly God hates me. Because what the hell is this?
I don't know what I did to piss him off, but I'm clearly his biggest op, right? My God.
Reality starts to, like, I guess, flicker around her, and she's bopping between prison worlds. This and the 1903?
Yes. Like, what?
Because she starts the spell, and she literally says, there's no one to stop me. I have magic, and the ascendant, and the eclipse, and the cave starts to rumble. And then suddenly she's like, wait, why is there now snow in the night sky? Where'd the eclipse go?
Why is
also,
there
it's night.
Borealis?
You can't have a solar eclipse at nighttime. At first, she's like, hell is frozen over and not a lake of fire. I'm in a snowy tundra hell dimension.
I mean...
either that or I finally had a psychotic break. And I'm like, I think a psychotic break is warranted for the things that you've gone through, Bonnie Bennett, honestly. And then she goes inside the house, I guess, and sees our lovely heretics. She doesn't know what that's about, but she's like, oh, look, Northern Lights. I guess one celestial event is as good as another.
Might as well, you know?
She does realize that it's Shea Salvatore because she can see pictures of Stefan and Damon. As she's like running through the woods to get back to the place she needs to be, it's like, flash of snowy night with an aurora borealis in the sky. Flash back to 1994 daytime as the eclipse is happening.
I'd give up.
And she's like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Northern Lights, eclipse, they're both recurring events. I'm going to channel them at the same time, I guess. I'm like, is that how that works? And as she's doing the spell, a woman dressed in old-timey 1900s garb comes up to her and is like, who are you? And she's like, who are you? And Bonnie still has her camera at this point. I don't know why the camera's still on, I guess because she didn't switch it off when the eclipse turned into an aurora borealis. But she manages to get yeeted back into the real world before she and this woman can really exchange any info. And whomst is there waiting for her? Like you said, Damon Salvatore.
It just is so clear to me now, right? That it's like, if Jeremy were here, we wouldn't have the space to pretend that Bonnie and Damon's friendship is a real and true thing. But then also at the same time, we'll get into it, but it doesn't work in my opinion, so it feels like wasted page, you know?
The Bonnie and Damon friendship to me always felt a bit forced. I'm just like, just because of how the show insists on characterizing Damon, I'm like, it doesn't make sense that Bonnie would be your friend.
Right.
Bonnie doesn't like vampirism. Vampirism is a concept that she is uncomfortable with. And it's like, she loves Caroline because in spite of being a vampire, Caroline is compassionate, responsible, doesn't victimize humans, doesn't hurt people for no reason. Everything she's done has either been because of a lack of control or because she was in like a life or death situation. And it's like, okay, I'll kill the traveler to save Stefan. I'll murder Asia to save Bonnie. Not like Damon, who's like, I've had a bad day. I'm going to kill Aaron Whitmore.
Oh my God.
Since she's back, she's like, hey, Damon, look, there was someone with me in the prison world. Here's a little video clip of it. There's the woman. And Damon's like, that's my mom.
Ethan, her return from this prison world is to help Damon's storyline.
Actually, that's so true.
Is she
That's
still
so foul.
Is she still in the asymmetrical bob, by the way? What's the hairstyle looking like these days?
She's still in her age. She didn't have time to change her hair.
That's true. She was in a prison world. Bless her. And who's doing her hair? Damon?
That bob is here for the
Please.
rest of the season. In the next episode, The Downward Spiral, she presents herself to Elena, who was on the phone with Stefan. And she's like, hello, Elena. Looks like you could use a friend. And Elena's like, oh my gosh, Bonnie? And she's like, how are you? And Bonnie's like, alive? You think I'd be used to this part by now? And I'm like, don't you dare poke fun at the multiple deaths this girl has experienced. How dare you?
Bloody dare you.
It's not your word.
Right.
It's not okay when you say it.
Gosh.
And then on the Kai end of things, because I will not let the Bon Kai people rest, my foot is on your neck, my heel is digging into your carotid. Kai finds out that Bonnie has made it out, and he's like, I can't believe Bonnie made it out. Actually, I can. She's plucky.
Caroline's got her humanity off. That's the main thing. Bonnie comes back and Caroline's like, oh, Bonnie's back, as she's walking past to do something else. Immediately in the episode that Bonnie's back, there's no time to embrace that she's living again because we have to deal with Caroline not going off the rails, being like, actually, I'm handling this thing perfectly well. And Stefan being like, no, actually, we need to get you back to humanity right now. And so they go off to this party, it's a party where Caroline has the twists in her hair that are like,
Expository hairstyle change.
And in this episode, the main thing for Bonnie is that she's dealing with the trauma of being back in the world after having spent so long by herself in an empty world. She's very overwhelmed by the throng of people, the loud music, the lights.
Finally, PTSD flashbacks I can care about. It's not some shell-shocked veteran of that army from that country.
Ooh.
She has a conversation with Elena where she's like, can we talk about the fact that I drove Jeremy away to art school? And I was like, well, he didn't go to art school. And actually, Elena's the one who tried to drive him there, if anything.
Right.
And Elena jokes, does that make you his muse? And I'm like, well, no, I guess, because the story is going to axe this right here and now. Bonnie says, do me a favor, don't tell Jeremy I'm back yet. And Elena's like, wait, you haven't called him yet? And she's like, I want to give him a chance at normalcy.
What does that
before we drag him back into all of this. And I'm like, I guess because she knows Jeremy would come back to town the minute he knows she's alive. And I'm like,
okay.
He's never going to be normal. He's a supernatural vampire hunter who, even if he gave it up, still has the senses. He'll always be able to sense vampires and have the killer instinct.
Right.
He can't be compelled. What are you doing? What are you saying?
If anything, him being away from his loved ones gives him a worse chance at this. It's so bizarre that this has been done, now that I think about it.
Very strange.
But okay.
Elena's like, you should at least tell him that you're okay. And Bonnie's like, I will. But, coming back to life is complicated. Trust me. I've done it before. And I'm like, all right, now she's pulling out the...
Okay.
She's playing the, hey, I've died card.
And it's like, as you said before, hey, you know who else has died a couple of times and knows how weird it is to come back? Jeremy Gilbert.
Mm-hmm. And as you've said, Bonnie says it herself. One of the things she mentions is, anyway, we're dealing with no humanity Caroline right now. So that's going to pull focus. I don't have time to process the Jeremy stuff.
When she starts to feel those PTSD feelings at the party, she goes away to a quiet corner and calls Damon. Because thanks to 4 months of them being the only people in the prison world, she now considers Damon a friend. And she at the very least thinks that Damon is the one who will understand what she's going through.
It's this. And this is the episode where this happens. I didn't know it happened so quickly.
That's what I'm saying.
Good.
It's immediately out of the prison world this happens.
On the Damon side of things, Kai says, well, ever since you told me Bonnie was back, I can't stop thinking about her. What I did, how she is. It's really annoying, I guess, because I've got compassion left over from the Luke of it all. I need to see her. I need to apologize, and you're going to make that happen. Which I guess he's holding over Damon because Damon wants some info on the prison world and his mother and the mechanics of that. So yeah, that's when she phones Damon. It's her trying to settle herself and doing their dynamic.
Their
of
little bantery.
We like each other, but we're going to be like a little snarky banter. And then immediately Damon's like, okay, so teensy favor. When Kai merged with his brother Luke, he sort of absorbed a moral compass, and he's slightly less evil. And then Bonnie's like, yeah, and anyone who believes that is an idiot. Please don't ever repeat that name to me again, okay? And Damon's like, yeah, okay, fine, already forgot about it. And then she's like, yeah, so what was the favor you wanted? And he's like, don't worry about it, I'll figure it out on my own. Eventually, Damon is so desperate that...
Very shortly after, you're giving him too much credit, but go on.
Damon shows up at the party, this rave that's going on, and he's like, hey, how y'all doing? And she's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, okay, so don't freak out. And then Kai comes in, he's like, hi, and he's like, listen, okay, let's just get this over with. Kai insanely starts to get cold feet. He's like, I wanted, and Bonnie starts to have proper PTSD flashbacks of the multiple times she was impaled by this man, the time she was drugged, the time that she was chased through a hospital. And then Kai's like, I wanted to apologize for everything that I did that hurt you. And I'm like, what is this Notes app celebrity apology? I'm deeply sorry for anyone who my comments might have affected.
Right. I'm sorry if you were offended or touched by the thing I said.
And then Bonnie is just staring at him. He's like, did you hear me, Bonnie? And then she says, if I see your face again, I will melt it off. Ooh. And I was like, oh, damn. I'd actually like to see you do that, Bonnie. It'd be some versatility in the offensive magic that you do.
I would love if you did it right now. You would be justified.
She's channeling the Lost Ark from the first Indiana Jones movie with its face-melting power. And then Kaya's like, oh, well, I imagine that going a little differently. And Bonnie is, of course, very pissed off, and she storms into her Whitmore College dorm room. And then Damon comes in and she turns around, obviously expecting that he's brought Kai again. He's like, hey, calm down. It's just me. He's not here.
Oh, thanks.
Let me explain. This is about my mom. Kai knows a lot of stuff about my mom. And she's like, I don't care.
Right.
I told you I didn't want to see him again and you did it anyway.
Right.
And then he's like, I know, but... And she's like, was I unclear?
Did I stutter?
And Damon's like, well, he just wanted to talk. And then she says, now I want to talk. Ooh. So listen. And he's like, I get that he hurt you. And then she says, I said listen, and casts a spell on him that makes him double over,
Right.
clutching his chest in pain. And she's like, I want you to feel what I felt.
Right.
And as she gives this monologue, she starts to magically inflict as many of the physical wounds that she experienced from Kai onto Damon, which I'm like, the least that you could do. Because
The
Damon's a
very
vampire,
least.
he's going to be fine.
He'll barely feel it, and he will be fine afterwards. It is not enough.
And I'm gonna say what she says. I'm gonna speak through the monologue because I
Please.
want the Bon Kai shippers to hear this and remember that this is who you think that this girl had chemistry with, should have been with, that there was some kind of a redemption arc for. And she says, you were there the first time he hurt me, an arrow through the stomach, but you weren't there for what happened next. When he chased me through the hospital, when he strangled me, and then she makes Damon choke. She says, he drugged me, he tied me up, and he stuck me in a trunk. And then suddenly he wants to be nice, huh? Start over? Sound familiar? He lied, and then he stabbed me again. And at this point, she's in tears, and then she says, then came the worst part, because when it was all over, he left me alone. And her voice starts to crack, and she starts to sob, and she's like, and I wish I could share what that feels like, but I can't. And then she lets Damon go, and he's like coughing and gasping, and he's like, Bonnie, I'm sorry. And she's like, I want you to get out. And he tries to apologize, and she's like, get out! And he leaves, and she turns back to stay in the fireplace. And I'm like, this is not a woman who should ever be romantically linked to this man. And in fact, I think if the show had done something so insane, I might have stopped watching. I would have been like, I don't think I can do this.
I think this is about as clear to me as the Caroline situation with Damon was in season 1. In the thematics of what these men did to these women, right? Like,
yes. And I mean, at least no one's trying to ship Caroline with Damon. The way that Bonnie talks about what she went through with Kai, which is very much assault in the violent sense, but it very much sounds like certain instances of people recounting sexual assault, which is not to belittle assault that is not sexual in nature.
No.
That's also very horrible.
Yeah.
But the way that she breaks down and says, after it was all over, he left me alone. I'm like, yeah, Kai used her for what he wanted, hurt her the whole way through, and then discarded her like trash when he was done with her. He didn't need to leave her behind. As angry as he was, he could have still brought her through. It wouldn't have changed anything. But no, he decided to leave her there and then had the audacity to think that he could apologize, I guess, to assuage his own guilt that had been forced in him by Luke. And then Damon, who's supposed to be her best friend, thought, yeah, let me just put you through this trauma. Let me throw all your triggers in your face, because it wasn't enough for you to be,
without even warning
agoraphobic.
you. After telling me you never want to see this man again.
Let me spring him on you. And it's so strange because the reason he didn't make the request is because she's like, I don't want to hear that name ever again. And I'm like, and you thought the better thing to do instead of mentioning his name and asking was to just bring him there and not give her a chance to say no.
Because his priority in that situation was not how best can I make this situation for Bonnie. It was how can I make sure Bonnie does what I need her to do. That was Damon's approach to that situation, as it is in any situation. And I think this is maybe, well, first I want to say that on the Bonnie and Kai of it all, the gender is important, the power imbalance is important. As you're describing, I think whether intentional or not, that is what comes across of the situation, and that merits saying.
Yes.
But on the Damon and Bonnie side of things, this is where I want to kind of sit in the essence of Bayman for a bit. And I say Bayman sort of jocularly because it is the ship name, but it is also how I refer to the friendship that progresses in these last 3 seasons, as the show would have you believe, and as a considerable portion of the fandom likes to champion. And for me, as I've said, and as we've discussed in the Damon episode, it is not a friendship that makes much sense, and it is very one-sided in the terms of who benefits in this friendship. The way it happens is sort of by forced proximity, and that's not to say it was impossible. They could have been friends otherwise, but that is how it happened. And the moment it was placed into a situation of reality, as you were surprised to learn, Fadzai, the minute she's back in the real world with Damon, Damon goes, here are all the people I consider more important to me than you ever were or ever will be, right? As you tell me about your traumas, I go, well, that's not as important to me as my mom who's been dead for 150 years, who's in a prison world. That's who I'm going for. As we'll get to in a later episode, you're not as important to me as Elena is, clearly.
Yeah, I guess the mom thing is him saying, I need her to get Stefan back.
Right. Because Stefan is certainly more important to me
turned off
than
his
you
humanity.
are. Right. And it's like, I think that I understand the reasons why conceptually people are a fan of Bonnie and Damon as friends, because they have a kind of odd couple thing going on. The same thing I said of Enzo and Caroline when we were exploring that strange bit in season 6. It truly is the season for it. There is a fun to the banter, there's a fun to the dynamic. But I think that when you really look at it, the Damon half of this friendship just anchors this thing straight to the bottom of the sea. Because what does Damon do for Bonnie?
The anchor.
Oh no! Who was the real anchor? Genuinely, the amalgamation of this friendship from the circumstances that occur, who does it benefit greatly? Damon, right? Because it's the last frontier in the Mystic Falls gang of who doesn't like Damon at this point, because everybody else seems to be fairly chill with him. Even Caroline, for all intents and purposes, because now he's dating Elena and she doesn't have much of a choice, right?
I guess Matt just kind of ignores him.
Right. Who cares about Matt, to be fair? And so now that we have this and we have Bonnie be his friend, we now can have Bonnie excuse a lot of the shit that he's done, truly live and in real time. We now have Bonnie as a big proponent of making sure Damon and Elena are together forever, amen. Like all the possible opposition that was available to Damon as a character who needs to be challenged if he must be in the story, all of that is gone now. And it's like, what does he do for Bonnie? Nothing, really.
And it would have been so much more interesting to say, and I think this happens somewhat in the books, where Damon is, as I gather, less evil and actually does have a proper redemption arc that sticks. But Bonnie is a character who checks him, who is like, oh, okay, yeah, she's the one who doesn't let me get away with nothing. It's like not a version of Bonnie who is bending herself and her standards and the things she considers moral to accommodate Damon, because it's like, he's my friend, so I guess if he does evil things, I have to accept them because the friendship comes first. It's like, no. A friend who's like, no, I'm not going to let you do these things. I'm going to tell you, no, Damon, that's not okay. If Elena's not going to do it, I'll do it.
Which, to me, that still sucks because that is not a life I want for Bonnie. But if she was doing that successfully, it would be better than where we are now.
Yes. In a world where Damon is allowed to change, but he's not. So she would be doing that infinitely.
Right.
An infinite loop of checking him. And before I make my last point, I will say there's a scene where Bonnie then calls Jeremy and leaves a voicemail. And she's like, hey, Jeremy, it's Bonnie. It's a really long story, but I'm back. I have this whole plan to drive out to New Mexico where you are and surprise you. I don't know, like as one of the models in your drawing class or something. And I'm like, that would have been crazy, but kind of cute. Right. But I'm like, but he's not in the drawing class, Bonnie. But then she's like, listen, Jer, I'm not sure that I'm the same Bonnie you want to be with. That place changed me, and I don't know if I'm scared of myself or I actually kind of like the new me. And I'm like, what is this Elena vampire energy? What? What?
No, but it's true. It's true, especially in those scenes where she threatens to kill Kai, does what she does to Damon. It's clear that there's a transition that has happened and needs to have happened, can only have happened after everything she's been through. This is the turn that makes the Bonnie who's in the remainder of the show. I agree.
And I'm like, but that Bonnie can't be with Jeremy after everything he's been through?
That I find silly.
Orphaned
I feel like
at age 15.
I feel like Jeremy responds to that call saying, let's discover who this new Bonnie is together.
Exactly.
Is the only thing that makes sense to me.
But she just tells him, if it's okay with you, I think I'm going to figure me out. And then I promise to come visit you. I hope you're well. Okay. Bye, Jer. And that is it. That is the end of Bury Me.
So wild.
The show actually kind of doesn't allow them to be together. It's so sad. They have a flirtationship in season 1. Not season 1, season 2, which then solidifies into a proper relationship by the end where she is, willing to break rules to bring him back. Then season 3, before it's even fully underway, that relationship is unraveling. They break up. They spend the rest of season 3 not together, most of season 4 not together. Then in the back end, they start to make googly eyes at each other again. And she starts to fall for him. And he's like, I never unfell for you. Then he dies and is just part of her motivation to do what Silas wants. And then she dies, bringing him back. And then she's a ghost who can't be with him. And then the story wants us to act as though we don't know these two are very much in love. Oh no, they're just friends with unresolved tension. And then she comes back as an anchor who must suffer her way through through their first night of making love,
God.
even though they can finally be together. And then the season ends with her almost being yanked into oblivion, saving everybody else who he cares about, but not being able to be with him. And then we get to this season where while he's still a character in the show, she still can't be with him because they're on different planes of existence. And then he leaves like the day before she finally comes back. And when she does come back, she says, actually, no, I think after everything I've been through, we can't be together. The end. And it's like, why?
I don't know. I really don't know. And the thing about this is that, and it's certainly possible because it's what everyone, well, I say everyone, it's what a decent portion of the fandom was really rearing for. Because as you say, it happens in the books. If that was paving the way for Bonnie and Damon to become romantic, well, now I hate it for a completely new reason because it would have been the reason they completely dissolve Bonnie and Jeremy without ever actually breaking them up, right? Because they don't break up. But leaving that aside and going on with the canon that actually happens, Bonnie and Damon as a romantic relationship is a non-starter for me because of all the reasons I feel their friendship doesn't work. It is a non-starter for me because I would never have foreseen Bonnie dating a vampire and then, you know, egg on my face for how the end of the show turned out. But if she were to date a vampire, the last one in the universe I would think Bonnie would date would be Damon Salvatore. I don't know. I know a lot of people have this idea of them that like, oh, Damon is the only one who sees her. But again, that's a non-starter for me because I think that's
nonsense.
Bullshit. I think that's silly.
That's not sees what? What does he see about her?
What does Damon see about Bonnie they always...
You turned her mother into a vampire.
I've never understood the sense of pretending that Damon understands. That a number of these villainous men in this show understand these women in ways that nobody's ever understood them before. And there's zero examples. I'm sorry to anyone who's deeply attached to that. I think it's nonsense. I don't think Damon does anything for Bonnie, both textually within the story and thematically as a character. In fact, I think, like with Elena, Damon makes Bonnie worse in season 7.
So episode 17, Bird in a Gilded Cage. Damon goes back to Bonnie with all the audacity that he does, and she's like, because he needs something. What does he need? Oh, they're trying to get
into the prison world to get Lily back.
Yeah, to get Lily. And Bonnie's like, I'm not helping you. I hate Kai, and you know that. And the first thing you did when I got back was throw him into my face to fake apologize. Mm-hmm. And Damon's like, and then I real apologized for being a d-. And I'm like, okay. And then Bonnie was like, and here you are, less than 24 hours later, asking me to work with it.
Right.
But of course, it's wah, we have to get to 1903. We need Bennett blood. We go grab my mom, and she flips Stefan's switch. He triggers Caroline. Everyone wins. And Bonnie's like, okay, fine. I'll give you my blood. But she does end up speaking to Kai. And I'm like, what a pity that in the episode before, she finally says no to a request being made her by the Mystic Falls gang. And immediately the next episode is like, well, she has to say yes.
We're back, baby. It's so over. We're so back. Kai only agrees to do the spell for them to get into the prison world if Bonnie comes with them. Oh. Bonnie's there by coercion.
Why is he so obsessed with her in this era? Is this what the Bonkai shippers were seeing? But anyway, they do the spell. I think she's helping with the spell. Yeah, because she's the Bennett witch. No, but they only do her blood. But I think they do link up and do the spell. And then Elena and Damon are the ones who go in.
They go in to speak to Lily and deal with all that nonsense. Bonnie and Kai, I believe, are outside preparing to do the spell the opposite way for when they have brought Lily to go. They used the Ascendant in the real world to get into the prison world. Now they have to find the Ascendant in the prison world to get back to the real world. The Ascendant doesn't travel with you.
Which makes sense. Bonnie does say when she and Damon are still with Kai in the 1994 prison world, she's like, why would you put a prisoner in here with a key?
With the key. And while they're outdoors, Kai takes the opportunity to try and be like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm a better guy now.
While Kai is doing his whole, oh, I'm so sorry, forgive me, I've changed rant, he grabs her frustratedly and she's like, violence? And he's like, wait, sorry, no, I didn't mean to do that.
Right.
And Bonnie's like, but you did it anyway. Because even if you're telling the truth about having changed, the old you is still inside you. And it's like, yeah, Yeah.
They are convincing Lily to leave, Elena and Damon. Lily's like, great, I'll bring my whole family with me. And they're like, you're weird and your family's weird or whatever. Bonnie, when she finds the Ascendant, then decides to turn on Kai while they're out there.
And stabs him in the back quite literally, which is
Hell
nice for her.
Hell yeah.
He's like, what are you doing? And she's like, gaining your trust, then stabbing you in the back. Feels pretty sucky, doesn't it? And he's like, no, Bonnie, please don't. She's like, don't what? Leave you here all alone? Drive you to the point of wanting to end your own life? I almost killed myself because of you. And I'm like, yeah. And he like begs for forgiveness. And he's like, I've changed. And she's like, yeah, I know. So have I.
Me too.
And I'm like,
Bonnie vengeance era. Bonnie punished.
But she leaves him there and she manages to transport all of them back. Unfortunately, that does come back to bite them because Kai will spend his time off screen bonding with the heretics.
What a bizarre thought. I would love to have seen some scenes about that. It's really funny.
He's like, oh, I finally met people like me. They're also siphons. Oh my gosh, I found my people.
My people, my tribe.
But of course, Lily's like, oh, we had to leave because of, timing and the Aurora, but we're obviously going to go back to get my family, right? And Damon's like, And he tells Bonnie, so there's a crazy lady, my mom, who would do anything to open up the prison world. And Bonnie's like, we are never going back there, right? And he's like, no, we're not. And she's like, good, okay, because I have a gift for you. It's a gift from 1994. I was going to give it to you when I got back, but you pissed me off. While I was on Silas Island, which means she did go into Silas's tomb. Okay. I got the cure. How did she get the cure? I guess Silas is sentient, so his body wasn't there, so she wouldn't need to wrest it out of his hands. But I'm like, is the spell not still there? Because if Joe's hunter knife with her magic in it is in the prison world, surely then that means magical spells are also in the prison world. So Silas's tomb should have been sealed and inaccessible to her.
And only the hunter could have been able to open it.
But she gives him the cure, and she's like, my mom's surprisingly happy as a vampire. All off screen.
Sure.
I have full faith that we'll get Caroline back to herself the old-fashioned way.
Sure.
So I know you wanted the cure for Elena. And I'm like, when did he want it for Elena? In season 4, he really didn't want the cure for Elena. He wanted to make sure the sire bond wasn't the reason they were in love.
Right.
So what is this nonsense? But yeah, she gives him the cure. And at that point, I was like, I can't play this game with y'all anymore. Now we're just retconning things in the show to make this relationship make sense.
Leave alone all that. In what world does Bonnie, knowing that Elena would want to be human, I guess, because again, Elena's pretty settled as a vampire now, knowing that she wanted Elena to be human in season 4, episode 1, so bad that she was willing to die, walk through the other side, come back, snatch her up body and soul and bring her back. Why give it to Damon? Notorious liar who just screwed her over, and trust that he would hand this cure to Elena knowing it would make her human, which is not something Damon wants. Nothing about this move makes sense except for, again, we're pretending that Bonnie and Damon as friends makes sense.
And then I think she's gone from the next
Sure
episode.
is. Damon gave Lily the Ascendant as assurance that we will get your family back out from the prison world. But after that, Joe divulged to them that Lily wasn't trapped there alone. The prison world was for the heretics, half witch, half vampires, who massacred a bunch of people. So now Bonnie's going, well, I need to make sure those people all stay locked in there, so I need to keep that Ascendant with me and destroy it. So she invites Lily to meet her at the Mystic Grill. Lily's there, Enzo and her talk, don't care. While that happens, she sneaks into the Salvatore home and snatches the Ascendant from where Lily has kept it and goes back to her home to destroy it. Lily learns of this from Enzo, the great diviner, as we know, and decides, oh, my family have betrayed me, because she thinks Damon's involved, and goes off the rails, I guess. She is going to destroy the cure if Damon doesn't give the Ascendant back. Damon, who, to be fair, didn't take the Ascendant, goes to Bonnie to be like, Bonnie, don't destroy the Ascendant. I need it because, again, I want something back. Give me the thing that will release your abuser into the world because I want something. And not even something that I care about, right? Which is what Bonnie says to her. She says, you didn't give Elena the cure, and yet still you want it back because that's what you care about more than me. Hate it. And as she's going to burn it, Damon attacks her. And she has to throw him back with magic. to keep him from attacking her.
And in that scene where they have that altercation, she says things that I'm like, okay, at least a little bit in season 6. Maybe it's once every 3 seasons. The story acknowledges the way that Bonnie is treated. When she's going to destroy it, Damon's like, you don't know what you're doing. And she says, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm protecting myself. For the first time, I'm putting me first. And I'm like, yes!
Finally.
Taraji P. Henson, I gotta put me first, Lucius.
I gotta put me first, Lucius. God damn it.
She says, if I hand this over to you, I'm sacrificing myself again. I'm risking my life again. I could end up dead again. And I'm like, yes, tell them, Bonnie, because this shit keeps happening to you. You are always on the chopping block. You are always the one sacrificing yourself. It's always, oh, Elena loves everyone. She's a martyr. And I'm like, Elena has never had to pay a price in her life. Elena offers to pay, and then someone else is like, no, I've got the bill. Don't worry.
Elena did it exactly once, and it was solely for Matt Donovan. And flowers to you, girl, but it is not a candle to be held to what Bonnie Bennett has done for everyone in this group and the world, frankly.
Then she gives it to him anyway.
Yeah.
She just leaves the choice with him, and she's like, okay, if you think that you can handle it and free a bunch of people who want to kill me and everyone else who stands in their way, so you can spend the next 70 years watching Elena grow old and die, then take it. I don't know whether she was calling his bluff.
Yes.
Maybe she was. Maybe she was just like, he's not going to take it. I know this man. And then he's like, okay. Which then leads into that scene with Lily that we love.
Love it.
Go back to the Lily episode.
So good. Rightfully lashed this episode.
I love your delivery of her lines.
It's because I just need y'all to understand I love Lily Salvatore. Always appalled to find she's a hated character, but not that appalled. So good. Vindictive Lily's my favorite.
Then the next episode, gosh, we're still
Yeah, it slides down.
I'd leave my happy home.
Is this the bachelorette party?
I think it is!
Oh God, this is one. Tell me why Bonnie is at Joe's bachelorette party when, for most of the season, when Joe was connected to these characters, Bonnie was not there. Bonnie was dead. And just came back 3 episodes ago and is like, yeah, I guess I'm your bridesmaid? All right.
Because Joe and Alaric have no friends. I'm like, Alaric at least has known these kids for years. Joe, who are you? I know Lily speaks to her, but what happens before that?
I'm gonna be so honest, nothing in this episode is about Bonnie.
Oh, okay.
She is chatting with Elena about Damon and the cure, because Lily revealed it to Elena, because Damon was never going to. And then Elena takes the cure. And then they get attacked by Lily at Joe's bachelorette party, and Bonnie gets something thrown into her neck.
Impales her.
She has her magic now. Why is this happening to her?
It's happening so that Elena can feel bad that she can't vamp heal Bonnie anymore because she just gave up her vampire powers.
That's
I think that's the scene where Lily is like, oh, you're having twins, Joe. So even then, Bonnie not the focus.
I guess it's important that Bonnie is no longer reserved in her comments in this season, or rather in this scene. Early on, when a lot of discussion was happening around Elena and her relationships and the choices she made, Caroline is the one who has to be held back from commenting. And Bonnie would often be the one being like, Caroline, slow it down, hold it back, be more tactful. And she would keep quiet in these situations and only when prompted be like, hey, listen, I'm your friend and you can do what you want, but I'm worried, A, B, and C. In this one, she tells Elena straight up, just take the cure. Who cares whether you fall out of love with Damon? If you want to be human, you want to be human. Just do it. I don't give a shit. And that's fun. A free-speaking Bonnie who's just like, I'm tired of everyone's shit, and actually I'm going to speak my mind, is good to me. And that's certainly an energy she carries into season 7.
Good for you, Bonnie. Also wild that Lily had the audacity to make you her op in this episode. To be like, I'm in a ripper spiral now because of you, Bonnie, because of you keeping my family away. And it's like, no.
No, actually, I handed it back, and your son didn't give it back to you. Take it up with him.
Then there's I'll wedge you in the golden summertime.
Okay, all right.
This is the one.
Yeah. Lily's imprisoned in the Salvatore house at the end of the previous episode because they do get her. And Bonnie at some point in this episode is like, I want to make sure she's in there. I'm going to stand guard while everything's happening.
She has a nightmare about Kai having escaped, like, off screen. And I'm like, Bon Kai shippers, is this what you want? She has a nightmare that she is attacked by Lily. And as she tries to escape Lily, she suddenly has no magic. She runs into Kai and still has no magic. And Kai's like, oh, no powers? Probably my fault. I was spooning you earlier. And it's like, what the hell?
Trauma. You guys can't be serious. You can't. I believe she calls Matt over. At some point, while Bonnie is standing out here trying to, like, watch over her, Lily, like, tries to lure her closer, reach through the bars and strangles Bonnie, and Bonnie just barely manages to get out of that. And she gets so bruised up that, like, they have to, like, medically take care of her. Like, Elena's dabbing her with, like, some shit. And it's like, well, actually, it's clear she's just going to be a juggernaut to try and get her family back from that world. So as they're, like, going to her cell, because at some point Bonnie leaves the Salvatore cellar to go bring Matt into the house, when they come back down, no one's in the cell. And they're confused. And then the two of them suddenly start to, like, lose their breath. It feels like they're being, like, choked or asphyxiating, and they collapse. And that's that. And when they wake up, they're like, what the hell happened? And Bonnie finds a video camera lying nearby. And it's like, oh, okay. Call back to Prison World 1994. We know who this is. And sure enough, she pops open the video. And obviously this is happening while a number of other things are happening. The wedding's happening. Joe and Rick are being attacked at the altar by Kai, who has stabbed Joe and now she's dead. I think this actually spills over into the finale when she's actually watching the video in the video camera. And it's Kai freaking Parker, who we saw has made friends and family with the heretics, and I guess through the calcified blood of Ketsia in the 1903 prison world has managed to use the Ascendant to get all of them out into the real world, and they're all here now.
Oh yeah, whose blood did he use? That doesn't make any sense.
He used Ketsia's blood. He did the same thing Bonnie did, except in the other prison world.
Insane.
Wild.
I mean, I was like, Bonnie used her own blood because she is a Bennett. I'm like, he went and got the calcified blood out of a rock. Did he break it open with a pickaxe? I guess he could have siphoned off the vampirism of the heretics.
Of the heretics. Yes. It's a bit contrived, and it really begs the question of what is Bennett blood, right? I guess the through line of witches goes all the way back to Ketsia via one line. From Bonnie to Emily, to the Witch of the Five, to Ayana, to Ketsia.
But then Kai leaves the infamous video where he's like, okay, kids, well, Nina Dobrev wants to leave the show because they won't pay her what she's due. So we found a way to write her out without killing her off or making her break up with Damon, because that can never happen. And since I'm deliciously evil, I've decided to punish Damon, my arch nemesis, I guess. Which is weird because I'm like, Kai is Bonnie's arch nemesis. Why is he so fixated on Damon all of a sudden? But he's like, Damon, I'm giving you a sadistic choice. I have linked Elena's life force to Bonnie. She is in a sleeping beauty curse from which she will not awake until the day that Bonnie Bennett's mortal life ends. And if you're thinking about some sort of witchy workaround with like a magic intervention or even vampirism on Bonnie, if you try to tamper with the spell, they'll both die. So tee-hee, Bonnie, your precious friendship with Damon means nothing. He will now have to kill you to get Elena back, because at the end of the day, he's always going to love Elena more. And I guess the beautiful moment is that Damon chooses to not let Bonnie die. I think she's like injured and bleeding out. And Kai's like, well, I guess Damon could just like walk away and leave you to die. Like he doesn't have to kill you personally. For a bit. And then Damon does walk away and Kai's like, ha, it worked. And then Damon vamp speeds back and decapitates him.
I do think it is still about Bonnie, because this is vengeance on Bonnie, because he is assuming Damon will certainly pick Elena over Bonnie and therefore either have to kill her or leave her to die. And that is just like the last emotional punch to Bonnie before he actually kills her.
That's fair.
And certainly the weight of like, well, if you do somehow survive this and keep on living, know that it's at the expense of your best friend not having to live through life. Damon is a figurehead to this. It's the actual revenge is on Bonnie. So I think it still holds in terms of the ops that are incurred.
Well, unfortunate that Damon gets to deliver the killing blow. She doesn't get her bygones moment with
Which
Kai Parker.
That pisses me off, but what can you do?
But truly, Kai does so many evil things to her, becomes such a boogeyman for her this season, like a specter over her life that he eclipses Silas as her main op. This is like her arch nemesis for the rest of the show.
And it's like Silas killed
It even
her
comes
dad.
back in a way in the finale.
Right. It's him who comes back, not Silas. That's crazy, actually.
So the idea that anybody could sit through season 6 and think these people belong together, just utterly insane.
Yeah.
But apart from the Kai of it all, I'm like, what did Bonnie do this season? It was about her being friends with Damon. It was about us believing that she and Damon have this deep connection so that when the season ends, it makes sense that Damon chooses to not let her die, to immediately get Elena back. Because ordinarily, if this was season 2 Damon, he would have been like, I'll kill Bonnie myself and tell Elena, even though I'm not in a relationship with her, I did it for you.
And he certainly said it before. He's quite literally vocalized, I would gladly let Bonnie die 1,000 times over if it meant saving you. And I guess that's supposed to be the payoff, right? It's like, well, that just goes to show you. And I'm like, it's a little too late. Even in the context of them being friends, he chooses against her multiple times. This is the first time he's chosen in her direction. And it's like, that should have been the one at the beginning, guys. I don't know.
And if Damon didn't suck as a character, this would have
been cute.
like an interesting arc of their friendship. It would have been really cool. I would have liked it. It's certainly, season 6 is not worse than season 5 for Bonnie.
I mean, it's worse.
She's got a lot more going on. She's got magic.
She's briefly got her magic back. Does it help her in any respect? Not really. What does she do with her magic that's huge this season? I guess she knocks
She
Kai
gets
out.
to be a tool.
Right. It's like when she beats Kai, it's by stabbing him with a knife twice. It's not using her all-powerful magic. So I'm like,
She gets to have monologues about how she's choosing herself and she's a changed, traumatized person now.
I guess that's something.
It's unfortunate that the bear me of it all is over. That's dead and gone and will never come back.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that in what is her final season with Elena, as we've said many times, Elena spends most of this season worrying
With
about
Damon.
Damon. She is very concerned for Bonnie when Bonnie's not there. But once Bonnie gets back, it's like, yeah, now we're dealing with the Caroline of it all. And then it's the Delena of it all. And it's like, we don't really have time for these two to really settle in their bestiness. Because
Right, because what time do Elena and Bonnie spend together this season other than Joe's bachelorette party?
Joe's bachelorette party, a rave that Bonnie didn't want to be at because she was having PTSD flashbacks.
Right.
And it's like, the story ends with Bonnie being the one who must accept that, yeah, all of you might see Elena one day. I am going to die in order for her to wake up. I'm the one person who's never seeing her. Oh, wait, Jeremy does come back. He comes back to say goodbye to Elena.
Oh my God. And you're telling me they don't speak in that finale?
They don't speak.
This is black-hearted. They really did not want those two together. I don't get it.
No idea. Jeremy comes back to town to be at Alaric's wedding. That's why he's there.
Not to speak to Bonnie.
Not to speak.
He says goodbye to Elena.
He's there to be at Alaric's wedding, and therefore he is around when it's time to say goodbye to Elena. He has nothing to say to Bonnie Bennett, and she has nothing to say to him after everything they've been through.
Is so... I thought the death of Tyraline was bad. I thought the death of Steriline was bad. The death of Baramy, which isn't even a death, right? It's like a slow wheeze to retirement at 25.
I mean, also the death of Stelena, which
Right.
dies and then the corpse is dug up and desecrated
on.
in season 5 with this nonsense, fated doppelgangers thing where they make us think there's hope. And they have the audacity when Stefan has no memories and Elena's like bonding with him, trying to jog his
reawaken
memories.
it a
They play the
bit.
same song that played when Stefan and Elena had their first kiss in season 1. So many levels of disrespect. But I'm like, with the Stelena thing, it's like Stelena died so that Delena could live, and there were maybe plans to cycle back to it that didn't come to fruition because life got in the way. Tyraline, as shitty as it is, died so that Caroline could sleep with Klaus because there was no way she was ever going to be able to get with that man while she was dating Tyler, and we needed a reason for her to not be with Tyler. But Baramy dies just
for
because the show was
nothing.
like, I have no interest in this ship anymore.
So insane to me. They died for
And I don't know whether
nothing.
Stephen R. McQueen wanted to leave the show or whether the writers decided we've got a lot of characters, a lot of stuff to do, and with Elena gone, why is Jeremy here? He's here to be her damsel baby brother, and he's aged out of that, and if she's gone, why would he stick around?
But it's
We're not going
like-
to keep him around for Bonnie's sake. We don't care about Bonnie. So we're ending the relationship.
The thing is that, like, I think one happened after the other, and I think it's Steve R. McQueen decided afterwards that he wanted to head off and do something else because in season 6 nothing was happening for Jeremy. Jeremy spends all of his time in season 6 grieving Bonnie and kind of moping around, kind of drunk. Everybody's judging him or feeling worried about him. He doesn't do anything actively towards the plot, which is strange given he is the only one present of a supernatural archetype that has weight when it comes to dealing with vampires. I guess because in season 6, the threat is witchcraft. But if all the vampires can be agents of change in this season, why not him? He still has a reasonable degree of strength. He has weapons. He's aware of the supernatural. Why are they so hesitant to try and find a way to fit him? I guess to make space for Enzo and whatever he's got going on.
Oh no.
Because
Enzo
that's
really
what it is.
is replacing Jeremy at every level.
That's what, because after this, Enzo becomes a main character and Jeremy's gone. And it really is just like, yeah, we wanted another vampire.
Enzo becomes a main character and we lose not just Jeremy, but also Tyler.
Right. Because they're like, we've got nothing to do with these guys.
Is the show saying Enzo is worth 2 leads?
Ooh. Ooh. I mean, out of story, good on you, Ian Somerhalder, for fighting on behalf of both these actors, frankly, Kat Graham and
Michael Malarkey.
Michael Malarkey. In a real life perspective, I'm like, respect you for that, my guy. Story-wise, kick that man out. Give my girl Bonnie something to do. It's crazy. It's silly.
But yeah, I have vented, I have ranted, I have cried. My beloved ship. A ship which was happening when I entered the show, mind you. It's like all the relationships that were going on when I started watching this show.
All
Don't
died.
make it past season 6. It's Elena, it's Tyraline, it's Jeremy.
Yeah.
But Bonnie gets to say her final farewell to Elena. She floats some feathers in the make-believe shared psychic space that they're in. And it's like, oh, it's so sad because the story wants you to believe that these two will never see each other again in all likelihood. It's a shame also because when you're watching this, at least when I was watching it, I was like, I don't want viewers, and I wasn't aware of the racism of it all because season 6, I was aware of the racism of it all,
Sure.
but I wasn't as aware as I would be later on in life. But I was like, I know that there are going to be some fans who will decide to hate Bonnie in universe for Elena's absence.
For Elena's absence, yes. Absolutely. In fact, I told you I forget what it was online, that was like bringing back Bonnie from the dead as opposed to some other characters was a mistake. And that filled me with a searing hatred in my heart that I've not known in my life. So I certainly believe there were plenty of people who were upset at a fictional character, Bonnie Bennett.
Yeah.
Because I guess Elena, who they also hate.
Yes,
wasn't
Elena,
present
who they
anymore.
also hate.
I guess at least Elena's white, right?
And I guess because some of the Elena shippers might have been afraid that Bayman would actually come to fruition. It was apparently something that Ian Somerhalder was down for. He was like, listen, I'm happy to do that. But the showrunners were like, no, they're best friends.
Even that's a stretch, but better that, I suppose. But you know what? At least Elena, quote unquote, sacrificed for Bonnie this time. I don't think she had to do a lot of heavy lifting. I don't think it was a conscious choice, but you know.
I mean, she's already asleep. It's like, what do
Right.
I say as Elena? Do I say, no, Bonnie, die?
Die! Kill yourself so I may live. No, you'd be insane. I guess if we were ever going to have a tangible moment where Elena sacrifices for Bonnie, it's only if the story makes it a foregone conclusion.
Bonnie, of course, being Bonnie, does say to Elena, I'm so sorry when they meet in the psychic space.
Girl!
She's like, I'm really sorry. And I'm like, I don't know why you're apologizing. This is crazy.
What did you do?
And Elena's like, it's not your fault. We'll both get everything we want. We just can't have it at the same time. And then she finally says, you spent your entire life making sacrifices for me. Now it's my turn to do it for you. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And you know what? It's not even exaggeration. It has been her entire life. Her mother walked out of town because she was tired from taking away a vampire who was after you.
Oh, it's so bad. Her whole
She
life.
was 3.
She was 3 years old.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about Bonnie season 6. Other than that, it's downhill from here.
It's hard to fathom how we could go further down.
For the first time in 2 seasons, Bonnie is not ending the season depowered or weaker than she was earlier on. So that's nice.
That's nice.
Will she be depowered again? Stick around and find out. You were going to say something, was it?
No, I was just it occurred to me to be like, I had said that her birthday, I thought, and now I'm not so sure, is the day that she was going to kill herself, her birthday.
It might have been.
The first time that Bonnie celebrates her birthday on screen is in season 6, and it's the day she's going to commit suicide. So that's the note we're leaving this one on.
Where better to end than that? If you have any questions or thoughts, you can mail us at animalattackpod@gmail.com. You can tweet us at animattackpod. That's at ANIM Attack Pod, and the link tree is in our bio with all of our other online stuff. But until next time, when we finally wrap it up with Bonnie, part 4,
until
season
our final
7 and 8.
main episode.
But until then, we bid you adieu.
Cheers.